Stuff, but it will be a tough day, though, for many people who are struggling across the UK. They have to rely on food banks to get by as the cost of living crisis continues to bite.
Has he been? Check the house to see if Santa popped by overnight. GB News can exclusively reveal that Father Christmas and his reindeer were due at Heathrow Airport just after midnight.
Oh, there you go. Well, as ever, you can join in any of our chats by emailing gbviews@gbnews.uk. Right, well, morning, everybody. Happy Christmas.
Morning.
Hope you're all keeping well. Yes. Well, I mean, I'm sorry, I didn't get the memo here.
Yeah. Well, I thought we discussed this yesterday that we're going to go dressing.
What we discussed was that we wouldn't do this.
I thought we said we would do this.
OK.
Well, we've got our wires crossed.
Well,
I thought you were going to wear sparkles, so I thought I should wear sparkles.
When have I ever worn sparkles? Anyway, I hope you're all having a lovely Christmas morning, everybody, and make sure you do send us your pictures of your Christmas trees and your... I'm obsessed with pets today.
Yes,
Christmas pets.
We want pets, don't we? We want dogs who are up and very excited by all the parcels laying around, festive cats. What else do people have?
Absolutely. All of that stuff. gbviews@gbnews.uk. Get it coming in. Let's share the moment together, people.
Yes, and if you're up prepping veg, and Patrick didn't believe me that this is a thing, but people do get up early and prep.
If you're prepping veg right now, you've got a problem.
No, you don't. People do it. They get up at 6 and prep their veg. So if that's you, share it with us. We'll be doing it together. gbviews@gbnews.uk. We're going to share it on. We're going to have lots of fun. We'll share as many as we can throughout the programme.
Absolutely.
But Merry Christmas, everyone. And we're going to be talking about Santa lots this morning. But first of all, we're going to talk about the royals, because King Charles is going to make his first annual Christmas speech today at 3 p.m, as you learnt yesterday.
At 3 p.m, specifically at 3 p.m. It will mark the first occasion in which a king delivers a televised Christmas message.
Yes, royal commentator Rafe Hadel-Mancu told GB News viewers about how monumental today's address will be.
This is a speech of profound historical significance. It's 90 years, actually, since the very first speech King George V delivered in 1932, so important for that event in itself. Also 70 years since the Queen's first Christmas speech was delivered in 1952, and the King is only the third king in history to have delivered a Christmas speech. His great-grandfather, George V, his great-uncle, Edward VIII, didn't reign long enough to give a speech, but then his grandfather, King George VI, did up until 1951. So it's amazing to think of 90 years, almost 70 of those was just our own Queen delivering those speeches. And this will, of course, be the first televised one. An inspired decision, I think, to have it in St George's Chapel, Windsor, obviously where his parents are now lying at rest together, with his mother's committal service only taking place a few weeks ago, really, in September. And I think it would be inconceivable if he didn't pay tribute to her extraordinary reign and legacy, which culminated, of course, in the glorious Platinum Jubilee, which we saw over the summer, the perfect cherry on the cake of a life of service. You know, when the Queen gave her her last Christmas message was actually a tribute to her late husband who had died. Her first Christmas message was a tribute to her father, who had just died. And there she also pledged herself to the country and said that she will carry on his traditions. And I think we can expect the same thing from the King. Yeah.
Oh, will you be watching at 3 p.m?
Well, I'll be driving, actually. I'll be driving back to Manchester, so I'll have it on the radio.
GB News Radio.
GB News Radio, cheeky little plug. But yeah, a momentous occasion, though, isn't it? Because it's not just the first time that it's King Charles, it's also the first time that it's a televised king, ever.
And they were quite impressed the last time we did a speech, after his mother died. People were saying he did a very good job, so I think he should do quite a good job today.
Yeah, well, apparently, as Rafe was saying there, of course, it is the only occasion where he actually kind of writes it himself, free from all the political spin and everything. So it is very much just King Charles, which would be quite nice to see,
in his own words, yes. And I've got lots of questions about the royals today because, you know, with everything going on with Harry and Meghan, I wonder how much they'll talk about it at the Christmas dinner table. You know, like the relatives, the family drama. I mean, will they avoid it, or will it be something that's a topic of conversation?
Well, I mean, Harry and Meghan won't be there, so they can talk about it as much as they like,
Speak freely, yeah.
Which I think will be quite good, actually.
Yeah.
Can you imagine?
We'll have to ask Pandora later. We've got Pandora Forsyth coming on later, who is going to run us through everything royal. And also Cameron Walker, our royal reporter, will be live with us as well, so we can ask all of these questions. And Prince Andrew as well, apparently being kicked out.
Well, they definitely won't be talking about that.
No, well, they definitely won't be talking about that. But apparently he's been kicked out, the office and staff, so...
Well, I think that's fair enough, though, isn't it, really, in balance? I think, you know, not really got much work going on, doesn't need staff.
No, it's a fair and valid point, yes.
Absolutely. Well, look, today is really all about you, as well as, of course, the King, as you can see there.
Yes.
But we do want to hear from you. We will be smattering today's programme with your pictures, your Christmas pictures. So I did this show last year, and I pitched for Christmas pets, and it popped off.
Yes, you got the public talking. We're going to do the same thing today. GBNews, GBNews.uk. Do keep them coming in, and we're going to share as many as we can. And as we were saying, it was the first time today that a King's speech will be televised here in the UK.
Well, listening to the Queen's speech on Christmas Day is a tradition that many people participate in worldwide, and many will be tuning in to hear our new monarch, won't they?
Yes, and the royal family have posted a video of the Queen's very first speech back on Christmas Day in 1957.
25 years ago, my grandfather broadcast the first of these Christmas messages. Today is another landmark, because television has made it possible for many of you to see me in your homes on Christmas Day. My own family often gather round to watch television, as they are at this moment, and that is how I imagine you now. I very much hope that this new medium will make my Christmas message more personal and direct. I hope that 1958 may bring you God's blessing and all the things you long for. And so I wish you all, young and old, wherever you may be, all the fun and enjoyment and the peace of a very happy Christmas.
Oh, bless her.
It's quite sad, isn't it, watching her now? And this is what I was saying yesterday, wasn't it? That I don't think many people are going to realise we've lost our Majesty. It's going to hit home today at 3 p.m.
You know, my overbearing thought when I look at stuff like that is how lucky I feel to have had her. To have had her for that long.
Patrick, that's very nice to say.
No, seriously, that's it. Look, OK, you know, if it didn't hurt, then we wouldn't have loved her.
No, it's true.
Would we?
And I don't think many people realise how much we loved her until we lost her. I mean, I was at Windsor for about a week after Her Majesty died.
I cried in the office.
Me too.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't think I realised what an emotional impact it would have on me or how much I really did love her. But I think that's the same for many people. People were shocked, weren't they, about how much it affected them. But, yes, really, really going to be quite significant, I think, later when King Charles gives his speech at 3 p.m.
Yes, indeed. Right, well, we've got loads for you today. Let's bring you up to date with what's going on, shall we?
Yes, a murder investigation is underway after a woman was shot dead at a village pub on Merseyside. 3 men were also taken to hospital with gunshot wounds after the incident at the Lighthouse Inn in Wallasey Village on the Wirral just before midnight. The woman was later pronounced dead.
Good grief. Right, well, the Prime Minister has been urged to drop 2 child benefit caps to lift thousands of children out of poverty. A Scottish National Party member, Kirsten Oswald, says that Rishi Sunak should reserve his decision to back the 2-child limit. And, as well, it comes as households with more than 2 children, where universal credit or child tax credit is claimed, no longer receive additional funds.
Irish Premier Leo Varadkar says he hasn't formed a view on whether the use of drugs like cannabis should be decriminalised or regulated. It's after the Justice Committee recommended the decriminalisation on the possession of drugs for personal use. Mr Varadkar says he intends to establish a citizens' assembly on drugs policy early next year.
Yeah, well, we brought you a little bit on this yesterday, actually, but at least 28 people, sadly, now have died in the US as the country grapples with a brutal winter storm. Blizzard conditions have left almost 500,000 homes and businesses without power. More than 3,000 flights were cancelled on Saturday, with some airports closed completely. New York's governor has declared a state of emergency as the state is being battered by hurricane-strength winds.
Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has offered a defiant message of hope to his people this Christmas, vowing to never back down as his nation remains under siege from Russia. Hours before Zelensky's address, it was delivered 10 months on from the start of the invasion. 10 people were killed and 55 were injured in Kherson city as a result of Russian shelling.
Yes, well, the Duke and Duchess of Sussex have dismissed an apology by the Sun for a column by Jeremy Clarkson as nothing more than a PR stunt. A spokeswoman for the Duchess said that the newspaper had not contacted her to apologise for the column published last weekend, which has become the most complained about on record, receiving more than 20,000 complaints.
Ongoing strike action from Border Force officials and some national highway officers could cause travel disruption as people travel to see their families on Christmas. Travellers heading abroad are also being warned of delays as Border Force officials continue to walk out. The military has stepped in to replace striking workers at UK airports. Now, yesterday we had lots of fun, didn't we? We were asking everyone to get in touch with their Christmas tree pictures. And Declan has reached out to us with his Christmas tree. He says, hello, Ellie and Patrick. Hopefully we can get that up for you now.
Be nice, wouldn't it?
Ooh.
Oh, that's weird. I thought I was looking at myself then in real time, and then I realised it was a picture.
It's a different outfit as well. I don't look like that today.
Yeah, well, you certainly don't. No, I've kind of come as I was, actually. But Declan, thank you very, very much. Yes, the more the merrier when it comes to Christmas tree pics.
Yeah, I like that a lot. And he says, here is my effort, although Bosco the dog is too tired. Merry Christmas to you.
That is a lovely dog. That is a lovely dog.
Yes. If we could just keep the dogs coming, please, that would be fabulous. You've got a bit of that as well,
please, yeah, please. Look,
festive
OK,
pets.
we want to see all of your festive pets. Now, last year when I was doing this show, we even managed to get a Christmas tortoise.
Tortoise?
Right? Yeah, or that.
Tortoise?
And... Tortoise. Anyway, right, and so the wackier the better, basically, OK? So GBViews at GBNews.uk, keep those views coming in, and pictures, people. Happy Christmas, everybody.
Yes, and we'll share as many as we can throughout the programme. The email address is just there for you. Now, Christmas dinner is one of the most important traditions of the day, pulling crackers, pigs in blankets, sitting down with family. But for many people this year, the only way that they will eat today is with the help of their local food bank.
Yeah, well, our North West of England reporter, Sophie Reaper, has this report from a food bank in Greater Manchester.
Christmas dinner in a plastic bag. That's the reality for many Brits this 25th. With the cost of food skyrocketing by 16.5% since last July, many people have had no choice but to turn to food banks this Christmas.
I was embarrassed at the beginning to start off with, and now I just feel I need to come anyway because it helps me. It is very hard when you've never had to do that before, and now you do, but I'm very grateful.
This food bank is run by Fran Statten. With the help of some volunteers, she's able to support those who are struggling most.
She's a godsend. She's so kind, and she's helped me and thousands of people, so I just can't thank her enough.
There are now over 2,500 food banks around the UK. Volunteers here see around 50 households every single week. But with a steady stream of donations from the local community, they're able to support everybody who needs their help.
We are so grateful for the donations that we get at this food bank. We have been blessed with the amount of the money that we've received, with all of the actual donations of food, of toiletries. Everything that we're given is so greatly appreciated by us at the food bank. But we do need for it to continue because we are finding that more and more people are coming on a weekly basis. And obviously for us to be able to help those people, we need the donations to be able to do that.
As the cost of living crisis continues to bite, the support they offer here is vital, especially at this time of year.
The thing with Christmas is it's such an emotional time of year. It invokes lots of, sad memories for families as well as happy memories. So for them to come here and knowing that we can give them the food items that they need, it just gives them reassurance that we're here to provide for them, and we'll give them what we can.
For some today, the greatest gift of all will be a full stomach. And thanks to food banks like this one, their Christmas wish will come true. Sophie Reaper, GB News.
Yeah, it's going to be really hard for lots of people, isn't it, who are struggling with the cost of living, do let us know if you've got a different kind of Christmas this year. If you've perhaps bought fewer presents, or maybe you've bought second-hand presents, or maybe you're doing something different than Turkey.
I mean, if I'm being honest, I'm hiding behind the cost of living crisis for why I haven't bought people presents, but actually it's laziness. And that's
Did you not go shopping yesterday?
Didn't go in the end,
Oh,
no. Did not go. No, I decided... you know what, Ali? I walked out of here, right, and it was like 10 a.m, I was knackered, and I thought I could go to Oxford Street, right, or I could go home and go to bed. And that's what I did. A choice was made.
A choice was made.
A decision was made, and it was bed. Anyway, right, you've already been getting in touch. Can I just say, Bert and Ernie are two lovely-looking dogs, by the way. Thank you very much for bringing those to our attention.
Yes.
We've got little Christmas paws. We're going to be getting your Christmas animals throughout the course of this day, but some of you have already been getting in touch.
And we'll share some of those photos as
including from my homeland, Cyprus. Yes. Happy Christmas in Cyprus from Justin and Lynn Carlson. Not a very Cypriot name, but, you know, splitting hairs.
Yeah, in Paphos.
Paphos, yes. Yes.
They say, wishing everyone a happy and peaceful Christmas and New Year from sunny Paphos in Cyprus. Keep up the good work. AJ Henderson's been in touch. Merry Christmas, guys. Thank you for keeping me entertained this morning. Can't wait to watch the festive cats bits. We will bring that to you, AJ.
Yeah, should we just front up to how ropey the start of the show has been? we are still waking up. I'm sure you are as well, OK? So we will endeavour to up our game, OK?
Yeah.
We will endeavour to up our game. But it's Christmas morning,
It
everybody.
is Christmas morning, and we're having fun, ultimately, aren't we?
We are.
We're going to try and just share a bit of festive joy.
That's the problem, to be honest with you.
That's the problem. We keep forgetting we're on the telly, don't we? And Shep, I believe.
Shep, yes.
Yes,
well done, Shep.
everyone's in bed, turkey's in the oven. Told you, people are up
Already?
cooking. I'm up watching the best show on TV. Oh, you're very good. Have a great day, guys. Thanks for continuing to put on a great show. Well, there you go. That's very kind.
Well, there you go. Look, thank you very much, everybody. We do hope we can, like, brighten your Christmas morning a little bit. But what have we got coming up? Well, what's your favourite Christmas song? What was yours again?
Driving home.
Oh, good stuff. There
Which
we go.
I told James outside, and he said that was a really bad choice.
Oh,
So
well,
there you go.
keep it light, James.
Yours is Fairy Tale of New York.
Fairy
isn't
Tale
it?
New York, yes, I feel like...
Yeah, which is a classic. I feel like that's everyone's favourite.
Well, join in. Send us your favourite Christmas songs. Email in gbviews@gbnews.uk.
Looking ahead to today's weather, in the UK is looking mild but windy with sunny spells and showery rain, more persistent in the southeast. Let's take a look at the details. Taking a closer look and starting off in the southwest, here we can expect frequent blustery showers, especially across Cornwall, though some sunny spells in between and highs around 12 Celsius. Meanwhile, a spell of persistent rain is set to push across southeastern England as we head towards lunchtime, turning heaviest around Kent and Sussex. Heading back to the west and across Wales, we can also expect a scattering of showers. Eastern parts have the greatest chance of staying dry. A drier picture for the West Midlands. A few showers will edge in during the afternoon, but for many it'll be dry with bright and sunny spells. Blustery but relatively mild. Looking across northeast England, and here there'll be something of a mixed bag. Around Yorkshire and Lincolnshire it'll be mostly dry with sunny spells, although showers will likely form further north. Also some showery rain for southern Scotland this lunchtime. Drier for a time further north, but cold air will feed in, bringing sleet and snow showers later in the day. Meanwhile, across Northern Ireland, it will turn pretty wet as we head through the afternoon as a band of shower rain pushes southeastwards with some heavier bursts and blustery winds. The changeable pattern continues through the end of the day with showery rain for many and snow showers for Scotland. And that is how the weather is shaping up for your Christmas day.
We are GB News, and we'd like to say thank you to each and every one of you for bringing us your conversations, for helping our great nation find its voice. We are here for you on radio, television, and online, across England, Scotland, Wales, and Northern Ireland.
It's not the BBC, you actually get your facts right.
We are proud to be GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Monday to Thursday, 9 p.m. till 11 p.m. Join me, Dan Wootton. I'll bring you the sharpest takes and hottest debates.
Do you not believe in prison?
I don't believe in prison.
I'm completely stunned.
I guarantee you there'll be no spin, no bias, no censorship.
I actually was personally quite offended by it.
And no reason to go to bed.
So I guess they've always been quite woke.
That's Dan Wootton tonight on TV, radio and online. Monday to Thursday from 9 p.m. till 11 p.m. on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Hello there, it's Eamon Holmes here from Breakfast on GB News. We're not just on your television and your screens, you know.
We're on DAB plus digital radio, so you can listen to your favourite shows on the move.
If you've not yet listened to GB News Radio, it's very simple. We're on your radio player and tune-in apps, on your smart speaker, phone or tablet, or online at gbnews.uk.
Take us with you wherever you go. GB News Radio.
You never have to miss a moment of the People's Channel.
Join me every Sunday at 6 p.m. for Gloria Meets. In exclusive interviews, I'll be finding out who our politicians really are and what they really think.
It's something that you would never want anyone to suffer.
I didn't know what channels there were. I didn't think I'd be believed.
I must have weighed about 7 stone and I'm 5'8".
My instincts was to sort of cover this up. I mean, clearly that was a mistake.
Join me every Sunday at 6 p.m. on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Welcome back. You are watching and listening to Breakfast with Patrick and Ellie.
You are indeed right. I believe we are delving into the inbox, are we, Carl?
We are.
Carl has been on. So, this is moving. OK, all right. So we asked you, didn't we, to send in pictures of your trees. Preferably if you can get Ellie and I in the shot as well, if you're watching us on the TV, that would be nice. That's an ego thing more than anything. And animals, and that appears to be, I think, a cat.
It is, yes. And the message reads, Merry Christmas to all the GB News team. Attached is my cat, Phoebe, enjoying her Christmas bauble filled with catnip. That's her exercise done for the day.
Can we just do a whole show of this?
Yeah. Easy.
Why not? There's no news about, right? It's Christmas. Happy Christmas, everybody. And, just keep sending in your animals, really. Have we got another one? Have we? Yes. Yes, Michelle.
Yes, Michelle.
Michelle says, morning, Ellie and Patrick. Merry Christmas to both of you. Merry Christmas to you, Michelle. And here's our 10-month-old...
Shih Tzu.
Thank you very much. Well done. And it's called Remy.
Oh,
by the Christmas tree. That is a happy-looking dog. And he says as well, you can just see our 11-year-old cat asleep. Where? Yes. I've got it. I've got the cat.
Oh,
yeah.
And Remy's kind of posing for the camera there. I like that.
It's a very photogenic dog,
yeah.
isn't it?
Great tree as well. Top points for that. Rupert, oh my goodness, this might be my favourite one so far, says, good morning and happy Christmas from our furry friends. Amazing. Is that all reindeer antlers they've got on?
What you can see there is, right, just behind the camera, there's someone with a bit of food.
Yeah, chicken.
Right, and they're all just waiting.
That is a great photo. I love that.
I love that a lot. Right, Alison says, Merry Christmas from the carol singers pictured here. It's Ronnie and Reva. Fantastic names for dogs. By the way, the name game for pets so far already. We're 20 minutes in. It's strong. It's strong. Thank you for a fabulous year on GB News and have a fabulous Christmas and New Year. You are very welcome. Thank you for you, to be honest with you.
We have such wonderful viewers and listeners, don't we? It's like a real community. I mean, we just said bring some pet pictures and...
Straight away.
It's
straight away.
6:20 in the morning. It's fabulous. And I did also want to shout out Edward, who's tweeted us this morning, saying, happy to be spending my Christmas Day morning with you both. I'm spending Christmas alone, so it's nice to have a wonderful partnership to make me smile when I'm feeling alone. Thank you for everything.
Well, you're not alone.
Nice.
You're not alone, Edward, because you've got us.
Yes,
happy Christmas. And if you're in the Paddington area, feel free to pop on down. We could do with a bit of support.
we could.
Anyway, right, what's your favourite Christmas song, people? So we've been asking GB News viewers. This is what they've told us.
What is your favourite Christmas song?
Silent Night.
All I Want for Christmas Is You.
Christmas in New York, or, Christy McCole sings it. That's my favourite.
The Irish one.
That's my favourite.
Well, I haven't got a favourite one, but I'm up here in London today, so I'm going to see my favourite West End singer. Do you know who that is? Carrie Ellis.
I actually don't know. Sang by Justin Bieber. He has a few good Christmas ones.
I think
It's a wonderful time of the year. I think by what's his name, Paul? Not what's his name? Williams. I can't remember his name.
Can I just say, I think as a rule, right, it's not your favourite Christmas song if you can't remember what it's called or who it's written by.
It's fine.
Right?
I don't think he had one. I think that's the answer.
No.
Yeah.
I like the fact he's trying to busk it anyway.
Yeah.
You know?
My personal favourite was that girl saying anything by Justin Bieber.
Anything by Justin Bieber.
That will do as
There
a Christmas song. That's like my sister. That's her favourite in the universe is Justin Bieber.
Just anything, literally
anything by
anything.
Justin Bieber. That's his fan base. They're just anything he does, he can do no wrong.
I don't want to bring the mood down, but I am just going to say I think Justin Bieber has written the world's worst Christmas song.
No.
Well, because it is rubbish.
Oh, dear.
It's not a classic. Anyway, sorry, Bieber. I know he watches.
Yeah.
I know he watches.
He's watching you right now, and he's not happy, let me tell you.
No. Right, OK, I believe... I'm getting something in my ear now, which... I believe we've got Driving Home for Christmas,
which is my favourite Christmas song. Have we got this? To have Fairy Tale of New York?
We do have Fairy Tale of New York, which is there. Yes, we're off to an absolute flyer this morning, ladies and gents. Let's have a listen.
Well, we've got the video for Fairy Tale of New York, which looks great. Maybe in the next hour we can share our favourite Christmas songs with you. But do let us know what your favourite Christmas tune is. One of our guests yesterday said that she likes carols, and that's a really good shout. You forget about the carols.
Oh,
But that should come in the rankings. Do you have a favourite carol?
Ding Dong. No, that's not
Ding
a carol.
Dong Merrily.
That's not a carol.
Yes,
Is it a carol? Is it a carol? Yes,
Yes.
a carol. No, I'm thinking hymn. I'm thinking hymn. I
Oh, a
always get
hymn,
mixed up.
yeah, hymn. Yeah, that'd be
Okay.
good. I like Once in Royal David City.
Is that because you had the solo at primary school?
I did.
Did you actually?
Yeah, once upon a time. Yeah, I can't get that high now, especially
No.
not today.
Well, there we go.
But no, yeah, great songs. Let us know your favourite Christmas song. We will try and share ours as well once we fix the sound.
Well, eventually, look, it's a work in progress today, people. OK, it's a work in progress. We're moving on now. The National Homelessness Charity opened up a number of hotels this week across the country to give accommodation to thousands who need shelter this Christmas.
Yes, Crisis Charity has dealt with the high demand by providing accommodation, specialist medical support and financial support to those in need. Our national reporter Thea Chikumba has the story.
What is your favourite Christmas song?
Silent.
Well...
We'll try that again, shall we?
Yeah.
So Thea Chikumba has been talking to Crisis Charity, who are the leading charity for homelessness.
One thing I will say about
Mm.
this is, just while we wait for that, actually, which is that it's all very well and good. Look, obviously, we're having a bit of a laugh here because, you know, it's Christmas morning and everything's going wrong, so why not? Why not laugh about it? But for a lot of people now, if you are watching at home or you're listening on your radio, you're watching online or something like that, Christmas, I'm aware, can be a lonely time. And I know that everyone's, you know, out and about and seeing family and stuff like that, but I think it can really hammer home for people sometimes that it's not always the happiest time of year.
No.
So if you are feeling alone, then do feel free to email us in and have a chat with us. You've got us.
Yeah, we're here. We're here for the next few hours.
Absolutely, absolutely.
And we can chat to you.
Well, I believe now, third time lucky people, Thea Chikumba's package about homelessness at Christmas is ready for us. So let's take it away.
It's been a year where we've seen high levels of inflation and an increasing cost of living, causing households to spend 1.5 times their income on the necessities of life, according to the homelessness charity Crisis. This is one of a number of hotels across the country where they'll accommodate people who've become homeless.
We see people of all ages, all backgrounds, and more people who just homelessness happen to them really quick. Yeah, the big difference this year is the cost of living crisis really is driving homelessness numbers up. And particularly we see people just can't pay their rent. Housing benefits have been frozen for 3 years, whilst rents have gone up 12–15% in some areas. So it's a recipe for disaster, really, and that's why we're seeing so many people come to us for help.
The increasing price of energy, rent and food has forced more people into poverty, and the charities say if things don't change, they estimate 300,000 households will be pushed into homelessness next year. Millions of people across the country have faced unsustainable debt alongside the increased cost of living. Now, Crisis are offering up to 6,000 people an opportunity to find somewhere to stay this Christmas, but the challenge for them is to make sure those people don't find themselves back on the streets after the new year. Working on the front line, Jason has worked with the charity every Christmas for 19 years. This year's no different, as he'll be working alongside other medical professionals to meet people's needs.
A lot of guests, it's the only time in the year where they'll access healthcare. That's because they don't feel they can do because they're homeless, living on the streets, or they don't know, they don't know how to because things change when you haven't got a home. But also sometimes when people go into hospitals, GP practices, they don't get the best care what they deserve because people see somebody who's homeless, they don't see the person. So for us, it's a very, very different feel. We give people the time. If it takes 2 minutes to sort a guest out, that is fine. If it takes 2 hours, that is absolutely fine. And we see a range of health conditions as well.
Last year, 75% of people who received accommodation in hotels like this didn't return to the streets, something they're hoping to replicate this year. The Age Combo.
OK, lots more to come for you, including the top stories today and our two fantastic friends, Andrew Eborn and Rubina Khan. They're going to be joining us in the studio for the newspapers. But first, Patrick Christie's gets wiped out.
What the heck is this? It's a sucker punch. It's time to knock you out.
Right. We can all agree that the big red balls went really well, so
How does anyone do this?
If I could make being lazy into an Olympic sport, I'll win a gold medal. There are so many choices that I can't even begin to make. Like staring at a menu in a restaurant, looking like it's in a foreign language.
Get it!
Monday to Thursday nights on GB News. At 6, it's Dubes & Co. 7 o'clock, Farage. At 8, join Mark Stein. And at 9, Dan Wootton Tonight, followed by Headliners. On TV, radio and online. This is GB News.
We are GB News, the People's Channel.
Why not take us home with you by visiting the GB News shop at gbnews.store. You'll find all the official merchandise, a really good present actually for yourself, your friends or your family.
We ship across the UK mainland at no extra cost. GB News, the People's Channel.
Here on GB News Live, we'll be keeping you in the picture, finding out what's happening across the country and finding out why it matters to you. We'll have the facts fast with our team of reporters and specialist correspondents. Wherever it's happening, we'll be there from 12 noon on TV, radio and online. GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Monday to Thursday on GB News, it's Bev Turner Today from 10 a.m. We're going to be here for you, our GB News family, to keep you up to date, but also make you smile.
The guy went from puberty to adultery.
And I can't wait to bring a few of my own opinions.
I have no time for cultural totalitarianism.
We'll engage in passionate, but always polite debate, with your thoughts and opinions at the centre of it all. Only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Hi there, it's Stephen and Anne.
At breakfast from 6 a.m, you'll always be caught up with everything you need to know, the latest headlines, opinions and debates.
We'll bring you the good news and the bad, but most of all, we're here for you.
Remember, send in your views and let us know what you would like us to talk about.
That's because we're your news channel. And every morning at 6 a.m, it's breakfast on GB News.
Welcome back and Merry Christmas. You are watching and listening to Breakfast with Patrick and Ellie.
You are indeed right. OK, so we are going back into the inbox. Karen's been on. Thank you very much, Karen. And I believe we can see whatever the heck Karen has brought for us any minute now, maybe. There we go. It's a dog. Lovely stuff, Karen. Yes, so we've been asking for festive pets, haven't we?
Yes, we have. And what a cute one this is. She says, good morning and Merry Christmas from my pet Barnaby.
Oh, Barnaby.
I like the name Barnaby for a dog. Great name.
It's a strong name, strong name. Debbie says, this is Nala, apparently. Merry Christmas. Oh, Nala. With
Merry
little Christmas hat.
to all at GB News, says Debbie. Thank you, Debbie. Merry Christmas to you as well. Nala is very cute. I'm going to say that much.
Indeed. Julie says, Happy Christmas, Ellie and Pat. This is freaky, by the way, because they keep popping... So we have a screen in front of us, right? So they pop it up and it makes me think that this is me now, but it's not. It's a picture, isn't it? So, Merry Christmas, Ellie and Patrick. My cat's out playing, but this is his own Christmas tree. There we go.
What, your cat has its own tree? Gosh. Oh, is that the little one there? Oh, that's nice.
Oh, there you go.
It's nice to be involved. Chrissy's been in touch. She says, this is Bullseye. Oh, there's a great video here. He saw his stocking last night, Christmas Eve, and sat by it all night. He wouldn't go to bed. That's my kind of dog, yeah.
Sounds like me, huh?
Smart, gorgeous dog he is. And he absolutely is. Bullseye. Very clever dog.
Well, happy Christmas to you and Bullseye. Right, OK, so apparently we've got to do some work today.
We do.
Apparently there's news. There's all sorts. I mean, the news doesn't take a day off. Well... we're going to whiz you through some of that news because the Mirror's website is leading with the royal festivities we can expect today, with expectations of lavish celebrations behind closed doors, which is exactly what I would expect because it's the royal family.
Yes, it makes sense, doesn't it?
Yes.
The Daily Mail is also running with the royals and last night's Christmas Carol service. They say Princess Charlotte was the star of the show.
Oh, there you go. Right, The Independent are focusing on Ukraine this Christmas with the headline, The Fight to Save Lives on Ukraine's bloodiest front. There you go.
And it is Christmas Day today, if you hadn't noticed. There's no papers to go through. Usually we have a big stack of papers in front of us, but not this morning. As Patrick says, the news doesn't stop. So there are top stories that we can talk about, and joining us this morning to go through them is lawyer and futurist Andrew Eborn and author Rubina Khan. We're very pleased to have you with us.
Happy Christmas,
Good morning, good morning.
Merry Christmas. Thank you for joining us. Rubina, let's start with you, shall we? And that quite awkward video of Rishi Sunak. Tell us what happened.
So Rishi Sunak visited a homeless soup kitchen and he had this very awkward conversation with a homeless man. And one of the things he said was, he talked about his finance background and he asked, are you in business? And I think the most touching of what the man's response was, I wouldn't mind, but I don't know. I'd like to get through Christmas first. And I think at that point, the Prime Minister should have realised what he was talking about and where he was. And what it shows, it's not just about a Prime Minister who's out of touch, but the fact that he doesn't realise, it appears from his conversation, the number of families and couples and people homeless in the UK at this moment. And I would just like to say, I mean, I'm from Tower Hamlets, East London, and on Christmas Day, I know neighbours in Poplar, Sister Christine, who runs a charity, will be delivering Christmas dinners for people who are lonely, who don't have access to food. And at that point, you remind yourself of the greatness of this country in terms of volunteering. He should have remembered that, our Prime Minister.
Yeah, I get what you mean. I think, look, part of me feels a little bit sorry for Rishi Sunak because, not because he's uber wealthy, right? Hear me out on that. but, you know, when he's so rich and his wife is so rich that maybe naturally he's a little bit out of touch, but I think he doesn't help himself. And it's stuff like that. We have seen him do things like not be able to use a tap. Yes. A tapping card. Yeah. And also just stuff like this. Andrew, Keir Starmer's Christmas speech?
Yeah, I think absolutely, and it is interesting. He used that sort of opportunity. But just on Rishi, though, you're absolutely right about doing that sort of thing. It was the Lady Sarah Hussey moment, wasn't it? Sort of, where are you from? And people getting it wrong all the time and work on that sort of basis. And I do feel sorry for them. Look at that. They've got to try and make small talk, so trying to make that make sense. Be a bit more generous. Talk about being generous, though. You're right. Keir Starmer, he say, what a rotten year we've had, and it's all the Conservatives' fault. We've had three Prime Ministers, so it's rather like buses. You have a Prime Minister, three come at once. And he's used this. He's basically to say, this is the opportunity where we deserve a break at Christmas. He also used this Christmas message for praising Ukraine, saying that they're an inspiration to us all. And I have to say, just in the interest of balance, I always try and provide a bit of balance.
Thank you.
There are lots of people in Russia who don't want the war either. And I think that the struggle that they're having being forced into that sort of stuff is also tricky as well.
Can I ask about this Ukraine stuff?
Yes.
Right? Now, I know that politicians, they're tripping over each other both sides of the Atlantic to go, you know, to put the focus on Ukraine. And we've just spoken about homeless people in this country. And now, this isn't about me going on some rant about, oh, we should be, you know, not spending money on Ukraine. No. But if I was really in dire straits in this country, I think I might be a little bit miffed at the constant tirade from Downing Street about, we're with you, Ukraine, we're with you. Well, you know, we should be at food banks, shouldn't he?
I think, as Andrew said, there's a balance to it, the way we look at things. And I think it's really important that we do stand by Ukraine, because this is part of being British. This is part of being able to stand up. And we have to stand up to Russia's invasion of Ukraine. But as I said, I think Andrew's totally right of providing that balance. But if I could just go back to that issue about our Prime Minister and going to the homeless unit, I think he needs to be more in these places if he's really truly going to understand.
Well, can I just counter that by saying he is running a country?
Well, if he's running a country, that's fair enough, but he's the Prime Minister. He can, and I agree with you on one point that it's not always his fault. It's the briefing that he gets as well. And it's also important for him to realise that. And by him being with more ordinary people, people with struggles, I think he will see a different...
Yeah, you're absolutely right. If you're going to be inspirational, make sure you're properly briefed. So what happens is, you've got, as part of being a Prime Minister, of course you've got to run the country, but you've also got to be seen. And in order to be seen, you go and meet different people in different situations. And his team should have turned around and said, you're going to meet these people, here's a few words and so on and so forth that you might want to exchange rather than putting your foot in it.
But Andrew, just on that front, if you do remember Rishi Sunak's other moment is when he went to visit a group of young people and they asked him, do you think about his Coke incident?
Yes, that was a poignant.
And I just had to remind everybody of this. I mean, on a lighter note, it's the way he said, yes, I enjoy Coke. Yes, I love Coke. And it was, you realise you're saying it to young people.
Yes.
You should be...
He had to correct
himself.
Yeah,
he had to correct himself.
There was a similar incident with McDonald's. Do you remember that?
Oh, absolutely.
Your favourite thing to have at McDonald's, and it was something that was been off the menu for like 5 years.
Oh, really? Yes.
Or something.
My favourite thing from McDonald's is lark's tongue in aspic, he said. Absolutely. So you work on that basis.
I believe we actually have the video of this awkward exchange yesterday, so let's have a little listen to this.
Right, that's that. That's the cutlery. Let me get. We've got the economy out. Well, that is exactly what I'm trying to do. Exactly what I'm trying to do. There's the business. What do you have? Do you work in a business? Do you want some? No, I'm homeless.
Sorry, actually, you know, now I've seen that again. The thing is, I just wonder, and you know, I'm not slamming Rishi or anything like that. But what I am saying is, he's clearly used to hanging around with a load of chaps from the city, and the only topic of conversation is what you do.
That's
for a
the go-to line.
No, you're in business.
Yeah. But
he's at a.
Where are you from? He could have said. He could have done the Lady Sarah, exactly the Lady Sarah moment. So it's that sort of problem. It's small talk, and what I loved is one of the papers last week gave a guide to small talk about how you should do it and so on and so forth. The inoffensive questions. And I go back to what I was saying beforehand. People get briefed on these things. He should have been properly briefed to turn around and say, here's what you can talk about. Do not ask them.
Can I just say, is there not a bigger picture here, which is that you shouldn't have to be briefed on how to make small talk with other human beings?
Well, you should be to avoid that sort of situation.
I know, but this is what I'm saying, which is I think it's a damning indictment of where we are in politics generally, and from both sides, from all sides really, which is like the total dehumanisation. Why can't we just have someone normal? You know?
How are you? How's your day?
Yeah.
It would be fine.
Yeah, I see that came across really normal. You should go to politics.
You should, fantastic. Rishi's new advisor in the new year, Ellie Costello.
Rishi.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Hello. Right, what we got next? Cost of living, is it?
Yes, Rubina, cost of living
yes,
on BBC.
I mean,
it's going to be a tough year for many, isn't it?
It is, and absolutely. And I'm again reminded of Sister Christine and the work she does, but also just around where we're living as well. There's an increase of a lot of young people who are going to food banks on behalf of their families. And I think what we need to remember is the dignity of families, the cost of living. It really brings that human sense of shame to many families that they have to go and use the food bank. And I've known families who've gone to food banks but have actually tried to hide the fact that they're going there just because of that shame, and to hide it from their children as well, to make them feel as though it's special. Christmas is going to be special. You also have to look at the number of people who are now shopping at charity shops to be able to provide the presents for their families. And I read something where I think, yes, the House of Commons, they have ordered 1,500 puddings and 159 turkeys. Perhaps they should distribute that to people who really, really need it.
It's going to be really hard Christmas for so many people. I was in a food bank a couple of weeks ago, and the lady there was saying basically what you're saying there, Rabina, that these are working families where both mum and dad are working, but they're on 0-hour contracts or minimum wage, living wage, and they can't afford to feed their children. They're going to food bank in secret to try and put food on the table, which is quite a scary thought.
It's totally scary. And one of the charities I'm involved with is called UK Harvest, which is a food redistribution charity. And Camilla is our patron, and brilliant in terms of raising money and awareness. But we need to talk about these issues. What I love as well, the #1 at the moment for Christmas is Lad Baby. This is the 5th year in a row that he's done it. A wonderful group called Mark and Roxanne Hoyle. And what they do, the money is raised for food banks. It's the Trust, and it's making people aware that there are these issues. So he does these little wonderful things about I love sausage rolls and all that sort of stuff to make that make sense. But he's won it, so all credit to him, raising in a fun way, because you can have fun whilst also raising issues, is the whole issue, the scandal of people needing the choice between heating and eating. The more that we talk about this, the more we can shine a spotlight on it, the more we can find solutions.
OK, right. Andrew, the King's speech.
Oh, come on.
Hopefully something a bit lighter. It's Christmas Day.
It is Christmas Day.
Rishi Sunak mugging himself off somewhere. We've had cost of living crisis. Let's just talk about something nice. Come on.
Absolutely. So this is the first speech it's going to be since 1951. Can you believe that? When King Charles' grandfather, King George VI, gave a speech. Obviously, for the last several years, we've had Her Majesty 70 years doing Christmas speech. And I think for all of us on this table, it is the only speech we've known from a monarch in our lifetime. 3 o'clock, round the telly watching that sort of basis. What I loved is that George V gave the first Christmas speech originally, and it was written by Rudyard Kipling, can you believe, who wrote the Jungle Book. So I'm the king. Well, not of the swingers, I'm just the king. So you could work on that sort of basis. We talk about what he's going to celebrate, obviously, his mother's life. The Queen's first speech that she gave, she celebrated her father's life, and the last Queen's speech that she gave, she celebrated her husband, Prince Philip's life. So I hope that Charles, who will be speaking, I think, at 3 o'clock, we'll all be tuned in, will be celebrating a fantastic 70-year reign that we enjoyed at the Jubilee. I mean, you were all down there just in the summer. So an extraordinary year to preside over us. And I think he's coming to his own. People were always worried about Charles, weren't they? What's he going to be like as a monarch? I think he's really getting into the role quite well, don't you?
People received him quite well, didn't they? That first speech that he gave after his mother passed, they said he chose exactly the right words in that moment. So I'm sure we're going to see similar today. But I think you're right, Andrew, that it is going to be emotional. He's going to reflect on Her Majesty, and it's going to be emotional for people watching as well.
Yeah, no, certainly I agree with you, Ellie. And I think from what I've read, he is going to concentrate on his own faith. He's also going to talk about embracing diversity and making it a stronger country. And I think from I mean, I'm not saying that this is what he said, but I think this is where he will go to, and from his own work in terms of reaching out to diverse communities, I think that will be there, and that will resonate with many people across the UK.
It'd be interesting to see if he mentions Harry and Meghan.
Oh, I hope he does. I hope he mentions, because the Queen, and obviously she would hate a divided family. It's like most heads of the family want there to be reunited. No doubt he'll be plugging the book available on January the 10th in all good bookshops.
Well, apparently this was recorded before the final 3 episodes of Now, you may recognise this voice, actually, from one of those documentaries.
Was it you?
Are you?
I am in it, yes. They used my voice.
Oh, what did you say? It wouldn't just be your voice.
Possibly repeat it. I said that Meghan was only focused on tea parties and tiaras.
Great.
But the interesting thing is, I actually don't remember saying that. I don't know when I said it, but I did, and I was watching it, and...
So you must be so upset, Patrick, that Jeremy Clarkson's knocked you off the Meghan...
Well, I'm waiting my royalties, of course. Hey. Right, so, Rabina, I believe you want to talk to me about a multicultural Christmas.
Yeah, I mean, there's not very much on it in here, in the Retail Gazette. It's about Sainsbury's, Lidl and Tesco Christmas not resonating with black communities and in terms of their stereotypes. I'm not quite sure where the actual adverts are there. But what I would say is that for all retail, we need to look at it in an economic terms, because the more you resonate with all communities, those communities will shop in those shops. And if we look at it, black and ethnic minority communities contribute to up to £25 billion worth of the British economy. If we look at the curry and the kebab industry, that's about £7 billion. And so if you resonate as a business, as a company, you will increase your revenue.
What do you want them to do? What should they do to resonate more?
Well, in terms of Sainsbury's, I'm not sure what the adverts are there, but the Sainsbury's that I know, which is quite near our home, one of the things that they do, and Tesco's does this as well, during the month of Ramadan, they have a special store, they have a special shelf to encourage consumers from the Muslim community. You also see it through during faith periods as well. And so the more you do this, you actually, economically, it's much better. It's better in terms of revenue, income for companies.
Yeah. And you're damned if you do and damned if you don't, aren't you, on that sort of basis? People never get it right. It's either too multicultural or not enough. Yeah. And I think sometimes we have to call it out. Sometimes you have to say, look, they're trying to make it balance. We should get rid of prejudice. We should be blind to prejudice and turn around and say, look, they are retailers. They're working on the basis. They want to appeal to everybody. What's the best way of doing it? You might remember the early Benetton adverts, which basically had people from every colour, creed, religion, so on and so forth, to try and touch every base on that sort of premise. But people would turn around and say, well, you're trying too hard, or you're not trying enough. What is the balance? How can they get it right? Because you can guarantee...
Well, potentially, dare I say, and call me a radical here, but it might just be to look at the census and look at the percentages of various different cultures and creeds and just represent that in adverts.
Alternatively, alternatively, work back and say, how do you want to sell to the different people? So there are maybe different things that appeal to different parts of society. So
I think for me personally, it has the opposite effect if you can tell that people are just like shamelessly crowbarring.
Okay.
Because I just don't. I think it loses its impact, right?
I agree with you. I agree with you.
I mean, just looking at this, I'm reminded of my own childhood. When I came to this country in the mid-1970s, I was the only child of colour in the school that I went to. I was brought up in Kent. And I remember in 1975, 1977, when I first came, there was a young girl in my class, and she asked me if I was a gollywog.
Right.
And I didn't know what a gollywog was. And the reason I didn't know what a gollywog was because I came from Bangladesh. I didn't understand what racism was. And when she asked me what the gollywog was, I didn't know. I went home and I tried to look for what this gollywog was. And you only looked... I think it was a few days later, I looked on the jam jar and I realised what a gollywog was. And I went back and I took this jam jar and I still remember it as a child, saying, I don't look like this person. You're comparing me to this image, and I don't look like that. And that occurred to me. That is my lived experience. And when I think of that, I was reminded of the Retail Gazette article.
Well, just a very little quick thing. I absolutely 100% appreciate the point you've just made. Apparently, I literally legally have to do something now, which is apologies for the use of that word, but it was, of course, in context. Yeah, I know. Right. Otherwise, I get shouted at. Right? So there we go. Not again, though. Right, OK, so yes, what else have we got? Anything else?
Well, the sad passing of the faithless singer Maxi Jazz, who was aged 65. He was dance music's poet, and he was known as Maxwell Fraser, his original name. Club Classic was Insomnia. I know you sing it every morning that you get up. But they headlined the Pyramid stage. They were the pioneers of stadium dance music. And this has been a year where we've lost too many people, much too young. You know, Terry Hall.
It's not as bad as 2016, though, can I just say? 2016 was the year when basically it was just relentless. I remember because I was working a national newspaper, and it was just every single day there was someone famous who popped the clogs. But anyway.
Who died in 2016?
George Michael, for a start.
It was, absolutely. And he was knocked off the #1 spot this year. It wasn't last Christmas.
Think about when that was, right at the end of the year, and we had a year of it. Anyway, so carry on.
No, but exactly that sort of thing. It's been a terrible year, maybe not as bad as 2016, but we've lost a lot of people in a very young age, and lots of them tend to be in the sort of media side, which is why they're getting a lot of exposure. But there are lots of people, and you look at the death rates and so on and so forth, it has been quite a tragic year. So it is difficult. And I always think whenever we celebrate Christmas, we want to be very jolly about it. There are lots of people who will be spending Christmas the first time without one of those loved ones. And actually our heart goes out to them as well.
Yes, of course. Lots of people finding it difficult today. I believe we do actually have a video of Maxi Jazz that we can share with you now.
But now I keep myself pet, deeper still. The night I write by candlelight, I find insight, fundamental movement. So when it's black, this insomniac, take an original tack, keep the beast in my nature under ceaseless attack.
It reminds me of the good old days.
And he died really young as well, just 65.
There's no age at all. No age at all.
No.
Maybe our combined age together, but it's still no age at all. He was also, I should say, he was also a fan of Crystal Palace. So all the Crystal Palace fans will be singing along to that one today. And an associate director of Crystal Palace as well, I seem to remember.
All right. Well, thank you very much for picking your way through the news for us. You'll be back in a load
That's for the next hour, Andrew, Rubina, thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Right, well, more than 100,000 Ukrainian refugees have come to the UK since the war began, and many will be celebrating Christmas abroad, away from friends and family.
Well, Moscow said there was no prospect of a Christmas ceasefire after nearly 10 months of fighting. For the Ukrainians who suddenly had to call the UK home, many are desperately trying to hold on to their culture and traditions over the festive period, as Alice Porter reports.
We put it in the water. For Ksenia, Christmas is usually a time for family to come together. But after fleeing the war in Ukraine 7 months ago, this year it will just be her and her mum.
At Christmas, all the family gets together. It's like tradition. But now I think its tradition will be maybe only by video call if it will be electricity in Ukraine. Having lost her brother and cousin in the war, Ksenia says she's just grateful to be alive. You have no money or, I don't know, some credits. It's just so small things when you understand that you have the peace in your country. You have healthy, close people that you really love. Your mother, your father, your brother, your friends. You're not texting anybody with the question, how are you? Are you alive?
No, you're Eastern Orthodox, so you'll be celebrating Christmas on the 7th of January. Traditionally, what does Christmas look like to you?
There's have to be like 12 dishes, like this 12 disciples. It's meat with fish. It's a lot of like conserve this food, like these vegetables. Ksenia and her mother Victoria made me some traditional Ukrainian food to get into the festive spirit. It's a Ukrainian dish named sirniki, similar to pancakes if cottage cheese is really... Oh gosh. Food is one of the many ways which Ukrainians are expressing their culture abroad. Refugees in Budapest have been performing traditional dances outside the parliament. But for those still in Ukraine, Christmas trees are defiantly being put up in Kyiv. Andrei Detia is a local resident.
A Christmas tree? Actually, it's just a small piece of joy for our people, even in such sad, dark times. It's powered by a generator, which shows us all that the war continues, that there are power cuts. But the Russians will not be able to take away our holiday.
Despite losing family to the conflict, Ksenia is defiant that the Ukrainian spirit will prevail. Yeah, it's war, it's terrible, it's really terrible. But from other hand, we're still alive. We still have the small fire in the hearts because it's the most important thing, to save this fire, even if it's terrible. And I think it's one of the most important things to our people.
Every morning from 6 o'clock, we'll wake you up with GB News Breakfast with all the stories you didn't know from the night before.
So whether it's serious news, entertainment, or your own views from all over our great nation, we're here to kick off your day with a smile.
And the national media should be reflecting and reporting what's happening here.
You will notice the northwestern accents.
Whether you're with us on TV, radio, or online, every morning, it's breakfast from 6 a.m. Hope you can join us. We are GB News, right across the nation. You can get us on television, on radio, on digital. We're absolutely everywhere.
Amazing! You see, amazing!
You remind me of me in the European Parliament. But here's the most important bit. We are not part of the mainstream establishment. We think and speak just like you do. We are the People's Channel.
Magnificent. That's really, really thoughtful.
Come and join us on GB News, the People's News Channel.
My name's Tom Harwood and join me 9:30 a.m. every weekday for The Briefing, your one-stop shop for everything you need to know about what's going on in politics today.
I wonder if this is a deal that might need to be like the biscuits in this factory, twice baked.
Is there not an opportunity here to win out against the extremes?
Tom Harwood, GB News.
What are you going to do about it?
Things should have been done differently, and they certainly are being done differently.
Don't miss it. The Briefing with me, Tom Harwood, 9:30 Monday to Friday on GB News.
Join me, Nana Akue, Saturday and Sunday afternoons on GB News. Expect fiery debate and passionate discussion as me and my panel tackle some of the biggest topics hitting the headlines. It's a place for everyone's opinion. No one gets cancelled, but no one gets an easy ride.
Oh, she's on it today!
Be ready for conversations that are fierce, frank, and of course, fun. Every Saturday and Sunday afternoon from 4 p.m. on GB News, the People's Channel.
Happy Christmas, everybody. Now, Father Christmas is very busy at the moment, apparently. The Santa tracker has him currently over the US West Coast. Well, there we go. Hey, right, well, good morning, everybody. It is just gone 7 o'clock. It is, of course, Christmas Day, and this is your Christmas Day breakfast on GB News with me, Patrick, and Ellie.
Here are your top stories this morning. Celebrating a life of service, King Charles will reflect on the loss of his mother and her legacy when he gives his first Christmas message today. And in a return to the festive tradition, the royal standard will fly high above the family's Sandringham estate.
And it will be a tough day, though, for many people who are struggling across the UK, who've had to rely on food banks to get by as the cost of living crisis continues to bite.
Has he been? Check the house to see if Santa popped by overnight. GB News can exclusively reveal that Father Christmas and his reindeer were due at Heathrow Airport just after midnight.
Well, there you go. Right, well, as ever, you can join in any of the chats that we're going to have here today. GBviews at gbnews.uk. Some absolute stellar ones so far in that inbox. We want your Christmas trees, we want your veg prep, we want your festive animals, all of that stuff. Keep it coming, people.
Yes, Merry Christmas, everyone, and thank you for choosing us this morning. Now, our top story, King Charles will make his first annual Christmas speech today.
Well, it will mark the first occasion which a king delivers televised Christmas messages, and royal commentator Rafe Hadelman-Koo told GB News yesterday, this is yesterday, we're going back in time, people, about how monumental today's address will be.
This is a speech of profound historical significance. It's 90 years, actually, since the very first speech King George V delivered in 1932, so important for that event in itself. Also 70 years since the Queen's first Christmas speech was delivered in 1952, and the King is only the third king in history to have delivered a Christmas speech. His great-grandfather, George V, his great-uncle, Edward VIII, didn't reign long enough to give a speech, but then his grandfather, King George VI, did, up until 1951. So it's amazing to think of 90 years, almost 70 of those was just our own Queen delivering those speeches.
Wow.
And this will, of course, be the first televised one. An inspired decision, I think, to have it in St George's Chapel, Windsor, obviously where his parents are now lying at rest together, with his mother's committal service only taking place a few weeks ago, really, in September. And I think it would be inconceivable if he didn't pay tribute to her extraordinary reign and legacy, which culminated, of course, in the glorious Platinum Jubilee, which we saw over the summer, the perfect cherry on the cake of a life of service. You know, when the Queen gave her her last Christmas message was actually a tribute to her late husband who had died. Her first Christmas message was a tribute to her father who had just died. And there she also pledged herself to the country and said that she will carry on his traditions. And I think we can expect the same thing from the King.
Well, as you just heard, today marks a historic event as it's the first time that a King's speech will be televised here in the UK.
Well, listening to the Queen's speech on Christmas Day is a tradition that many people participate in worldwide, and many will be tuning in to hear the new monarch as well, won't they?
Yes, and we've managed to get a small video of Her Majesty's very first speech back on Christmas Day in 1957. Let's have a little listen.
25 years ago, my grandfather broadcast the first of these Christmas messages. Today is another landmark, because television has made it possible for many of you to see me in your homes on Christmas Day. My own family often gather round to watch television, as they are at this moment, and that is how I imagine you now. I very much hope that this new medium will make my Christmas message more personal and direct. I hope that 1958 may bring you God's blessing and all the things you long for. And so I wish you all, young and old, wherever you may be, all the fun and enjoyment and the peace of a very happy Christmas.
Do you know what? Watching that makes me realise how much I miss her.
Yeah.
It's so sad, isn't it?
No, look, absolutely, and it really does hammer it home, really, doesn't it? And you spent a very long time in Windsor, actually, didn't you?
Yeah, I lived there. A bit like you here.
Yes.
I lived in Windsor.
Yes,
outside
indeed.
the castle. And it really struck me, actually, in that week after her death, just how many people just kept coming to lay flowers, and you'd think it would kind of ease off, and it
I
never
actually
did.
bumped into you there.
We did, yeah.
Yeah.
We bumped into each other, didn't
outside of work, yes, indeed. I actually went to lay some flowers.
we?
And
You left the building, yeah.
boom, there's Ellie.
Yeah,
exactly.
But it was amazing, and actually, loads of GB News viewers came up to me that day and said they were just so happy that we were there. And we were marking the occasion, and we didn't move from that spot, and we were everywhere. So
I think for me
massive loss.
that clip at the end there, where she kind of like just looks away, as if she's like finished her speech and she just looks at the like, was that all right? You know, and there was something quite childlike, despite the fact that obviously she was very regal by definition, but there was always a bit of a twinkle in the eye.
Yeah, there definitely was, and you can see the human side of her in that, can't you? Just a little bit of nerves at her first Christmas message, and she just got so very good at it. But we miss her so very much. I'm sure you do as well at home. Do let us know how you're feeling about that. How are you feeling about the King's speech at 3 p.m? That's going to be quite different, isn't it?
Yes.
Views at gbnews.uk. Lots of you have been in touch. We're going to show some more pet pictures throughout the morning, because you've all been sending in your pet pictures. But Craig says, hi, just want to wish everyone at GB News a very Merry Christmas. Thanks for being here. You are all appreciated. And I want to extend that as well, because there's a big team behind that wall.
There is.
Who have been working really hard overnight and the early hours of this morning to put this show together. So they're amazing. They're a very good team.
Absolutely. Well, wherever you are, whatever you're doing, I hope you're having a wonderful time with your families. Make sure you get those pictures coming in to us, gbviews at gbnews.uk. We want to hear from you. We want to see you as well. But Christmas dinner is one of the most important traditions of the day. Pulling crackers, pigs in blankets, sitting down with family. But for many people this year, the only way that they will eat today is with the help of their local food bank.
Yes, our North West of England reporter Sophie Reaper has this report from a food bank in Greater Manchester.
Christmas dinner in a plastic bag. That's the reality for many Brits this 25th. With the cost of food skyrocketing by 16.5% since last July, many people have had no choice but to turn to food banks this Christmas.
I was embarrassed at the beginning to start off with, and now I just feel I need to come anyway, because it helps me. It is very hard when you've never had to do that before, and now you do, but I'm very grateful.
This food bank is run by Fran Statten. With the help of some volunteers, she's able to support those who are struggling most.
She's a godsend. She's so kind, and she's helped me and thousands of people, so I just can't thank her enough.
There are now over 2,500 food banks around the UK. Volunteers here see around 50 households every single week. But with a steady stream of donations from the local community, they're able to support everybody who needs their help.
We are so grateful for the donations that we get at this food bank. We have been blessed with the amount of the money that we've received, with all of the actual donations of food, of toiletries. Everything that we're given is so greatly appreciated by us at the food bank. But we do need for it to continue, because we are finding that more and more people are coming on a weekly basis. And obviously for us to be able to help those people, we need the donations to be able to do that.
As the cost of living crisis continues to bite, the support they offer here is vital, especially at this time of year.
The thing with Christmas is it's such an emotional time of year. It invokes lots of, sad memories for families as well as happy memories. So for them to come here and knowing that we can give them the food items that they need, it just gives them reassurance that we're here to provide for them, and we'll give them what we can.
For some today, the greatest gift of all will be a full stomach. And thanks to food banks like this one, their Christmas wish will come true. Sophie Reaper, GB News.
Well, many of you will be celebrating the Jewish holiday of Hanukkah, or however else you pronounce it, Chanukah, is that right?
I go for Hanukkah.
Hanukkah, there you go.
Hanukkah.
Right, OK, fair enough, there you go.
Well, tonight marks the 7th night of Hanukkah, which will end tomorrow on Boxing Day.
Well, the celebration commemorates the rededication during the 2nd century BC of the Second Temple in Jerusalem, apparently.
And joining us now is Jonathan Sacerdotti to tell us more about this special celebration. So, Jonathan, what is the meaning behind Hanukkah?
Well, Hanukkah is a celebration of light over darkness, and specifically it looks back to a victory that Judah Maccabee and his fighters had against assimilation in Israel and Jerusalem specifically. The Jewish temple in Jerusalem had been seized by Antiochus IV, Epiphanes, who had stopped Jews being able to practice their religion there. And he fought back. It was really an extraordinary victory, because over 3 years they fought a tiny army of these people from the countryside who beat the massive Syrian army. And in respect of that, Jews since then have reflected on this holiday as one where we stand up for what we believe in, for our religious belief, our traditional values, our traditional practices, sometimes things that aren't really that fashionable today, against the powers and forces of over-assimilation.
And what have you got here in front of us? As you said, it's about bringing light into darkness, and you do light a candle every night of Hanukkah,
We
is
do.
that right?
There are 8 candles to be lit, so there's 8 candles here on the Hanukkah. And the reason we do 8 candles is when they did rededicate the temple, when they managed to reclaim it, there was only 1 jar of oil left, purified enough to light the eternal light that they kept lit all the time on a menorah, which is a bit like this with a different number. And that candle, that oil, lasted for 8 days instead of the 1 it was supposed to. And in respect of that miracle, this is why we light the candle every day for 8 days. And the 9th one here is the one we use to light the others. So it's quite a nice festival. It doesn't have, as it's not a major Jewish festival like Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur, Sukkot, Pesach, there are fewer restrictions on what we can do. So we're allowed to drive, and we're allowed to use electricity and work. All of those things are forbidden on other Jewish holidays. So really it's a lot of the light stuff, a lot of the fun stuff. We also eat a lot of donuts because they're fried in oil, and that's a tradition that we eat fried foods. We play with these things called dreidels. It's a little spinning top, and you can gamble for this one, depending on which letter.
It's a bit like a dice.
Yeah, kind of. It's got Hebrew letters on it, which stand these days for Nes Gadol Haya Sham, which means a great miracle happened there, specifically Jerusalem.
Oh, that's amazing. And when the family come together to light the candles, is that a nice moment of the evenings in Hanukkah? What do you do when you all come together to light the candles?
Absolutely. Well, we say a blessing over the candles that God has commanded us to light these Hanukkah candles. And we also sing a song called Ma'otso Yeshuati, which is it's a bit like a Christmas carol for Jews, if you want, where we praise the fact that God is the strength behind Jews, and that has several verses, and people run out after the first usually. So that's also very nice. There's a lot of games and songs if you want to play with the kids and stuff. And these days people also give presents, I guess, because there's a bit of a rub-off from Christmas on Jewish people.
Yeah, well, can I ask what the present situation is like with Hanukkah?
I think there's a lot less pressure on us.
Really?
Yeah, well, I say that, but I don't have kids.
You don't find yourself wandering around a Primark at midnight or something like
Amazon
that?
Prime, mate. That's what.
Amazon Prime. Well, with the strikes, yeah, exactly.
Absolutely. Well, so no. In all seriousness, Hanukkah is a light festival, very nice. People do get together every day in their families. Sometimes you have a lot of Hanukkah work parties if you work with a lot of Jewish people. I was in Downing Street at Rishi's Hanukkah party the other day, which was very nice. Gosh. And it's nice that the Prime Minister, now we have a Hindu Prime Minister, holding a Jewish festival celebration with a giant Christmas tree out in Downing Street. And as he and the Chief Rabbi commented, that's a really nice symbol, I think, of some of the multiculturalism that does work in the UK.
Absolutely.
Jonathan, I wanted to ask you about, you know, it's really interesting there where you're talking about the start of Hanukkah and about standing up for your faith, for your traditions, for your culture. And I wanted to ask you about something that happened 2 days ago, which is a group of Jewish youngsters who were the victims of an anti-Semitic attack in Oxford Street, and they've actually returned to the scene, haven't they, to bring light into the darkness, as you say. It's almost putting into action Hanukkah, isn't it?
That's right. It's very nice that they were able to go back there. It was organised by Chabad, who are a Jewish organisation, and they took those kids there last year to Oxford Street, just dancing. They'd hired a bus, they were out in the street dancing, and they actually got assaulted by a group of guys who threw things at them and shouted anti-Semitic abuse. The shocking thing, of course, is that the police have stopped looking for those suspects, despite there being plenty of CCTV footage of them. You'd think people who attacked Jewish children on Oxford Street in this era would be easy enough to find, but they haven't done. But anyway, in light of that, they went back to celebrate this year, no incidents, and they got to show that light overcomes darkness.
Oh, well, thank you very much for taking the time to come into this year and bring some light with you as well.
Merry
Absolutely.
Christmas to all the viewers.
Well, there you go. Thank you very, very much.
And happy Hanukkah.
And happy Hanukkah, of course. Yes. Right, OK, we've got loads more to bring you, but we are starting with the latest headlines for you. So we're going to go to Liverpool now. So a murder investigation is underway after a woman was shot dead at a village pub in Merseyside. 3 men were also taken to hospital with gunshot wounds after the incident at the Lighthouse Inn in Wallasey village on the Wirral just before midnight. The woman, unfortunately, was later pronounced dead.
At least 28 people have died in the US as the country grapples with a brutal winter storm. Blizzard conditions have left almost 500,000 homes and businesses without power. More than 3,000 flights were cancelled on Saturday, with some airports closed. New York's governor has declared a state of emergency as the state is being battered by hurricane-strength winds.
Indeed. Well, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has offered a defiant message of hope to his people this Christmas, vowing to never back down as his nation remains under the siege from Russia. Hours before Zelensky's address, delivered precisely 10 months on from the start of the invasion. 10 people sadly were killed, 55 injured in Kherson City as a result of Russian shelling.
The Duke and Duchess of Sussex have dismissed an apology by The Sun for a column by Jeremy Clarkson as nothing more than a PR stunt. A spokeswoman for the Duchess said the newspaper had not contacted her to apologise for the column, published last weekend, which has become the most complained about on record, receiving more than 20,000 complaints.
Well, the Prime Minister has been urged to drop the 2-child benefit cap to lift thousands of families out of poverty. Currently, households with more than 2 children and where universal credit or child tax credit is claimed no longer receive additional funds.
A leading charity says demand for its pet food banks is growing amid the rising cost of living. The Edinburgh Dog and Cat Home supplies pet food banks around Scotland and helps those who find themselves in pet poverty. It helps more than 2,000 dogs and cats monthly with supplies.
Well, happy Christmas, everybody. Now, Christmas is a time to share with loved ones and embrace the warmth of what the festive season is all about, all by taking part in years of tradition we've built up over time.
Yes, 'tis the season for mince pies and bright lights and sparkly dresses. But where
Makes one of us.
I don't know what happened
It's a different show.
Yeah.
Very different show.
On different wavelengths today, I think. We misread our notes yesterday. But where did Christmas first begin? And why do we watch pantomimes every year? Why do we have the traditions that we do? Well, we're joined now by historian and licensed lay minister for the Church of England, Martin Whittock, who's going to talk us through where our Christmas traditions come from. Well, good morning to you and Merry Christmas. Thank you for joining us.
Good morning and a very happy Christmas to you too. I hope you notice I'm also wearing my wrapping paper tie as well.
Well,
good, yes, there you go.
Glad
You
someone's made the effort.
Well, excuse me, this is relatively festive, right? This is relatively festive.
It's like a paisley tie, Martin.
It's also not mine, to be fair, actually. I did find it in the change rooms earlier, but there we go. Right, OK, so... Well, I mean, I was going to ask, where did Christmas start? But I think I know. Is that a stupid question? Talk to me.
Yeah, well, not entirely, although there obviously there's a clue in the name. But basically, although Christmas is really important for Christians, I'm a Christian, and for Christians, this is the point at which we believe God's Son came into the world in order to bring the world back to God, so we would have forgiveness. So this is absolutely crucial. This is the birth of Jesus. But what's interesting is, in the New Testament, we don't actually know what time of the year it took place. It's just not mentioned. And so for about 400 years, the church didn't celebrate it as a specific time. But in the 4th century, at about the time when the church was becoming more popular in the Roman Empire and the government was becoming much more sensitive and reactive to Christianity, and in fact, the first Christian emperor had come to power, it was decided that something needed to be done about this. And this particular time of the year was chosen because it's a particularly dark time of the year. It's a time of the year when there were very often festivals of light and celebration to kind of pick people's spirits up, as it were. One of them was called the Saturnalia in Rome, and there were lots of other celebrations in other communities in Northern Europe. And so the 25th of December was chosen to celebrate the birth of Jesus. But we don't actually know when he was born, and certainly there's no evidence it was actually on the 25th of December. But it soon took off from there. We know that by the time in this country of Alfred the Great in the 9th century, you couldn't be made to work, even if you were a slave, in the 12 days after Christmas. And interestingly enough, the very first mention of Christmas by that name is in 1038. That's pretty late, but we know that Christians across Northern Europe, and certainly in this country, had been celebrating it for centuries. Only in this country, they tended to call it middle winter, mid-end winter. But the first use of the word Christmas, 1038. It's definitely there, but it's also attracted to it a lot of other traditions as well, because clearly people were already celebrating things at this time of the year. What the church did was it Christianized those, and throughout the Middle Ages we see lots of things appearing that we'll now understand as Christmas traditions. So, for example, the Franciscans in the 13th century, they give us the nativity play and the nativity scene. We hear about people singing carols, for example, although it should be remembered, a carol is a song that accompanies a dance. It's not necessarily about Christmas. But those appear in the Middle Ages as well. We hear of churches being decorated with boughs of greenery to pick people's spirits up at a dark time. Not everybody approves of this. In the 17th century, Christmas is banned. So between 1645 and 1660, the Puritan government banned Christmas. They say, well, there are too many traditions associated with it that aren't biblical. It fights its way back, and then it gets hit again by the Industrial Revolution. So in 1833, there's a Factory Act, and it says that the only 2 days that workers can get off work are Christmas Day and Good Friday. So that really hammers the 12 days of Christmas. No more feasting and celebrating for 12 days. But in the 1840s, it fights back again. Wow. Albert and Victoria have pictures of themselves by a Christmas tree, bit of a new innovation. People say that's a good idea. Dickens publishes A Christmas Carol and says, isn't it time that we actually make Christmas a time of giving, and made it much more central again? And lots of our traditions come in at that point. Carol singing as we now know it, Christmas cards as we now know it. Santa Claus comes across from the Dutch inhabitants of New York, and we call him Father Christmas in his red and white. So a lot of the traditions we associate with Christmas appear in the mid-19th century, but it's going back, if you like, to medieval traditions that had gone into decline in the 17th and 18th century.
Oh. Martin, absolutely fascinating there.
You've just whizzed us through Christmas. You've just whizzed us through Christmas. Well done.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Martin. And let us know, what's your favourite Christmas song? We're asking everyone today.
Martin. Hello? Are you there? Is he
Martin?
frozen?
Yes,
No? Are you there? We couldn't. I tell you what, we couldn't shut you up before, and now all of a sudden, what's your favourite Christmas song?
Oh, wow. My favourite song is a carol, and it's O Little Town of Bethlehem. And I love the line in it where it says, the hopes and fears of all the years are met in you tonight. And it's that idea as a Christian that at this point in history, the whole of history focuses on, because for me, it's the most important event in history, God's son born at Bethlehem. So the hopes and fears of all the years are met in the Bethlehem tonight. That's my favourite song. And it's a carol, O Little Town of Bethlehem. And I was singing it only last night.
Oh, and do you dance to that carol? You said you had to dance to a carol.
Well, that's a very good question. I have to say,
You have to get up now.
no, because although in the Middle Ages a carol was something you danced to, since the 19th century, when a lot of these carols were collected in the 1860s, 1870s, it's become associated with a Christmas song particularly. So now a carol is singing. So when I was at Midnight Communion last night and I was singing O Little Town of Bethlehem, you'll be relieved to know that I was not dancing in the aisles. It wouldn't have been a problem if I was, but I wasn't.
Well, you got yourself out of that one, Martin. And who's cooking today? Is that you?
It's a joint enterprise, I have to say. Last evening it was me cooking getting the spuds ready, doing the parsnips and doing the Brussels sprouts, which I do enjoy Brussels sprouts, and planning it out. But my wife and I will do it as a joint enterprise today. But at 10:30 we will be at church where I'm leading a service celebrating the birth of Jesus. Then it's home, and then it's into that turkey, and it's into that duck, and into the roast potatoes, and then we're going to celebrate like everybody else.
Oh, Martin, well, that sounds wonderful. Have a very Merry Christmas, and thank you for joining us this morning.
My pleasure. Happy Christmas, everyone.
Happy Christmas. Yes, fantastic. Good to see. I don't think I've ever seen anyone as that passionate about Christmas.
And the history of Christmas.
The history of Christmas.
Knew everything.
Everything. Right, OK, more to come today, including a friend of the channel, Aidan McGee. He's going to be giving us the latest, everything you need to know sports-wise.
Yes, don't go anywhere. Lots coming up in the next hour. But first, let's have another look at another Challenge Christie's clip.
You can all see, ladies and gentlemen, that is Challenge Christie's yet again just knocked out of the park. You really are going to have to start challenging me at some point, ladies and gentlemen. It's getting a bit too easy, this, frankly. But look, the whole time I've been here at this wonderful pottery workshop, there's been something on my mind. Oh.
I'm Mark Dolan. Join me at 11 on GB News for Headliners, in which I'll be joined by two of the UK's top comedians discussing tomorrow's papers. If it's an important story, we'll cover it, but we'll have some fun along the way. Headliners, the late-night paper review that won't send you to sleep like the others will. 7 nights a week at 11 p.m. on GB News.
Hello, I'm Michelle Dewberry, and you can join me every weekday 6 till 7 on Jubes and Kerr. Me and my panel will get stuck right into the day's events, and I can tell you, in fact, I can warn you, expect some robust debates, some strong opinions and perspectives from both sides of the fence. It's about you at home as well. I love to read out all of your comments, or at least as many as I can. So join me, Michelle Dewberry, Monday to Friday, 6 till 7 on Jubes and Kerr.
I'm Mark White. As GB News Home and Security Editor, I cover those key issues that are so important to you. Our authorities, our communities doing all they can to combat violent crime. With the public services under unbearable strain, why are we still failing to control our borders? Defence, the first priority of any government, has been continually hollowed out. Can we trust our politicians to protect the armed forces? Join me, Mark White, on GB News.
We are GB News, the People's Channel.
And right across the United Kingdom.
You can find us on Sky Channel 512.
Virgin Media Channel 604.
Freesat Channel 216.
Freeview Channel 236.
And YouView Channel 236.
You can also take us with you on DAB Plus Radio.
With the GB News app and at the website gbnews.uk.
We're absolutely everywhere. Come join us on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Happy Christmas, everybody. Welcome back. You're watching and listening to Breakfast with me, Patrick, and Ellie.
Yes, and all of you have been getting in touch with your trees, with your Christmas pets, with your dinner prep.
All sorts.
And we're going to share some with you now. This is from Dean, who says, good morning and Merry Christmas from Billy the Cockapoo.
Oh.
Very, very sweet. And a good tree behind you as well. I'm just capturing a little
I tell you what, that looks like it's a lovely house.
Yeah, it looks cosy, doesn't it?
It does. I bet you're having a wonderful Christmas.
Yeah,
Good
Dean,
stuff.
Merry Christmas to you. Thank you for sending that in. Sally says, good morning, Patrick and Ellie, my boys, Jax and Max. Great names.
Hang on a minute. We've got...
are sending you their tree.
Got us on the telly. And as well, now, that's an interesting tree. Absolute whopper of a star. The tree's a bit flat, is it? A real tree? No, as in sideways flat, not like flat.
Oh, I get what you mean.
The tree
I was about to say it's the busiest tree I think we've seen this morning.
Yeah, it's busy, but I'm just wondering... Anyway, right, OK. Well,
I'm enjoying the decorations throughout the room. I mean, top points reference there. Yeah,
yes,
very, very good. I'm impressed with that. And Brian says, Merry Christmas, Ellie and Patrick, from Jock and his family in Durban, South Africa. Oh, look at Jock, he's so cute.
Jock looks happy.
Has he got stockings on his...
Mum's dressing me up again.
Oh, that's a great photo. I just love the pet pictures, it's great.
Oh, absolutely. Right, well, Gemma says, this is Lucy and Jack, our border terriers. Have a great day. Yes, happy Christmas to all of you, to Lucy, to Jack and to Gemma. Fantastic stuff. Keep the pets coming, people, OK? Christmas, of course, is all about family, but we like to see... You can't go wrong with an animal picture. Happy Christmas. People.
No, you really, really can't. And loads of you getting in touch on email as well, so thank you so much for that. John says, dear Ellie and Patrick, great to see you both on the telly this morning, having lots of fun. I've been watching GB News all year and I love it. Have a lovely Christmas. Thank you, John, and Merry Christmas to you as well. And Joe says, come on, Patrick, jacket off. Christmas jumper off.
Well, I don't know, you see. I always like to keep an air of professionalism, I think. An air of professionalism.
Yes, it's very good. And
I'm not very professional.
You made a very good point earlier that if anything very serious happens, he's dressed for the occasion and I am not.
This is it. I have to fill in, you see, people, OK? I mean, touch wood, it doesn't happen. It's Christmas after all, but if something serious breaks, then he's got to go and get changed, right? And I could just sit here and break the news.
Yeah, and I'm going to have to swap outfits with the producer outside.
Yes.
We've got an emergency backup, haven't we?
Absolutely. Yes, indeed. Right, OK, so what is your favourite Christmas food? We've been asking GB News viewers, and this is what they told us.
What's the best Christmas food for you?
Probably potatoes.
How do you do your potatoes?
Mashed, definitely mashed.
Let me think. Mince pies. Christmas food isn't my favorite. Anything Christmassy I don't kind of, like much. So, I don't know, the pudding?
Christmas pudding?
Yeah.
Probably. I don't like Christmas pudding, so I won't be having that.
Oh, they do these little sausages rolled in bacon. I think it's an English thing because we don't do it in Australia. So, yeah, probably that.
And what are you guys going to do on Christmas Day?
Well, just eat. Eat.
My favourite is an Australian trying to explain a pig in blanket.
A pig in blanket, yeah, exactly. Yeah, I love that, though. I love that. Anyway, well, since we've been talking about Christmas food... Aidan McGee. Aidan McGee is with us, the housewife's favourite. He's been hanging around again. He's not gone home, actually. He just spent all evening here. And, yeah, there we go. And so, Aidan, what have you got for us today, then?
What, Christmas-wise or presents-wise you're talking about, or football?
Well, anything really.
First of all, I think we need to discuss the jumper.
Yeah, see, that's what distracted me, actually. So it's the first time I've really looked your jumper in the eye.
OK, there you go.
Can we get that on a... Yeah, there you go.
So what have we got here, then? So you're a Celtic fan?
No, I don't know. Queen's Park Rangers, not Glasgow Rangers.
All right, whatever, mate.
Think Toby Young. Think Toby Young, who does he support?
So apparently Toby Young supports...
You mentioned him on TV the other day.
Yeah, only because someone writes the scripts for me. I don't know who Toby Young supports. I will read anything.
We're in action tomorrow. We're in action tomorrow away to Cardiff. I'll get to that in a minute. But no, someone said to me the other day, what about your Christmas jumper? I said, I only wear it about once a year, something like that. But obviously, when else would you wear it? It's silly, isn't it?
Of course. I mean, that makes sense.
Exactly.
Do you wear this every Christmas day?
Yes, I do. Yeah, I do. I've worn it on other channels as well. I mean, this isn't a debut. This isn't a debut. This isn't exclusive for GB News. But no, I wear it later today, but if it gets too hot in the house, I find that you need to take it off and wear something else, maybe just an apron. I bought an apron in for later on, actually.
This got weird quick, Aidan. What's going on in the world of sport, mate?
Lionel Messi, listen, the story doesn't end with Lionel Messi. We saw that storied World Cup and everything he achieved. Come on, try to be serious now. Come on.
Festive.
He had a great World Cup, as you know. It looks like he's staying at PSG in France. His contract expires, due to expire at the end of June this summer. He's going to sign a contract for an extra year with the option of another year after that. So it could take him up to the age of 37. Now, I fancy that Paris Saint-Germain have probably realised that actually during the World Cup he's proved that he's still a trophy-winning, top-level performer. With him in their side, they're probably more likely to go and win the Champions League now. It gives him the opportunity to do that. You look at Cristiano Ronaldo, his next move, he might earn good money, but he's not going to get a chance to add to his collection of medals in terms of Champions League.
Do you think Ronaldo regrets everything? I mean, he obviously was actually playing for Manchester United, and then he did that interview with he who shall not be named, and then all of a sudden he's going to Saudi Arabia. I mean, it's not really the move that he wanted, and he will have been offered, surely he will have been offered to every single Champions League club, and clearly none of them fancy him, do they?
They didn't fancy him. No, I think, look, you invite Cristiano Ronaldo into your club at your peril, in the sense that, yes, he still delivers a high level of performance, but you're probably going to have to adapt the way your team plays. You're also inviting now a circus. He is so famous. He's got more Twitter followers or Instagram followers than the Pope. You know.
Really?
Yeah, he has.
That's a damning indictment of where we are as a world.
Well, I don't know. I think, to be fair to the Pope, and I like to be fair to the Pope.
Yeah, you always are fair to the Pope.
I know. I think he probably attracts an older viewer.
A bit niche.
Yeah, it's a bit niche.
Yes.
It's an older. They're not necessarily keyed in with social media, whereas Ronaldo's followers probably are. So, I don't think it's necessarily a comment on their popularity. However, in terms of Messi, though, getting back to that could take him up to 37. There've probably been doubts in the last couple of years since he went there. He didn't really want to go there, I don't think, because Barcelona, because of their financial situation, had to let him go. They've not come back in for him, by the way, because it was talk that Juan Laporta, the new director of football there, would bring him back to Barcelona. They've not actually come in. So he's another one who, again, Messi to a lesser degree, you invite that circus into your club because it's just... Yes, he's not the kind of guy who chases individual records in the way that Ronaldo does, but there's still the speculation, there's still the scrutiny.
Do you think it's finished now, the debate about the greatest of all time?
No, see, I'm one of those people. I was explaining this to Anne Diamond, actually, last week. I don't believe in the greatest player of all time. I don't believe that such a thing exists in a team sport. You can be the greatest goalkeeper.
I think, to be honest with you, mate, what I really mean is who's better, Ronaldo? That's what I mean.
Yeah, let me say,
I'm a United fan.
I know, I always preferred watching... I thought Ronaldo was a more explosive player, more dynamic, but just for the beauty of the game, I preferred watching Messi. But I don't believe that in a team sport, you can be the greatest in your generation, or greatest ever if you play tennis or if you're an individual sport, but I'm not sure you can do that within the context of a team. And I think, because you put Messi out there on his own, he'll get thrashed 100-0. You put Ronaldo out there on his own, he gets thrashed 100-0, probably even more, 1,000-0, even if he's playing for 90 minutes. Depends how good the opponents are.
Is it confirmed that was definitely his last World Cup?
No, not necessarily. I mean, nobody said anything. I mean, but it just seems unlikely at the age of 39 that he would play another World Cup. I suppose they were waiting to see what his hunger was like. I mean, yes, the World Cup was one thing that he needed to achieve. He's done that.
Yeah.
If you've done everything, you've won everything, how's your hunger after that? I think that he wants to win the Champions League with a different club, and that's what motivates him here. It's owned by the Qatari royal family as well, PSG. They did the deal during the World Cup. Which probably explains why he wore that big gown, because it was whoever pays the piper calls the tune, I guess.
Absolutely, yes. And the Premier League obviously returns as well. Arsenal are sitting pretty... It's easy to forget, isn't it, because the World Cup kicked off. But actually, Arsenal, I think they're 5 points there. They could go 8 points clear, couldn't they?
Yeah, that's right. They've got West Ham tomorrow night. Difficult game because it's a local derby, 8 o'clock kickoff. Now, with Arsenal, they haven't won it it'll be 19 years. If they do it this year, it'll be 19 years since they won the league under Arsene Wenger, the Invincibles. You remember that as a United fan. They were your adversaries for many, many years.
Yes, I do.
In terms of their mentality, all their opponents around them know if they're brittle or not. They've still got a young team. Yes, they're getting stronger mentally, psychologically, but they fell away badly last season when their rivals Tottenham reeled them in that last sort of half dozen games of the season. The question is, Patrick, do they believe they can win the title? They've lost their key player, one of their key players, Gabriel Jesus, who got injured at the World Cup playing for Brazil. Are they going to go into the transfer market and get a replacement for him? Manchester City, they've got 8 games in 3 and a bit weeks coming up soon, but their squad is so strong. Yeah. Maybe they will just gently reel in Arsenal. And as I say, their opponents all around them know that there could be still a question over their psychology. Also, we've got a break in the season. What do we see at the start of the season? Every time we get new fixtures coming in, we see teams throw up freak results. So, Arsenal were a victim of that in the last 20 or 30 years, many, many times. We could see some freak results tomorrow because there's been a break. It doesn't necessarily mean that because West Ham, for example, have lost 5 of the last 6 games, they're going to play poorly tomorrow night, so we'll see.
No.
Now, Aidan, my question to you is on the theme of Christmas. And yesterday we were talking about your festive menu.
Yeah.
You said you bring in tasters. And
Yeah.
you come in empty-handed.
No, hang on, wait. Listen, I've brought in some cocktails. I'm going to be making them later on. Towards 9 o'clock. Pardon?
What's wasted on me?
No, not really. I've got a virgin one for you. I've got the virgin. It's called the Virgin Magique. Magique spelled Magee-K.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, and I've got the berries royale for you and I. I'm going to be making it later on. I brought my apron in. Believe it or not, I was preparing it last night.
But you are going to remain clothed.
Yeah.
I'm remain clothed. No,
we do have quite an aggressive HR department here.
Why do you think me wearing an apron means I'll discard all the other clothes?
I've met you.
No, yeah, I said... No, but I said I wear an apron above my other clothes.
Shout it out, and it's got nothing to do with full frontal nudity on Christmas morning, Aidan. Right, OK, loads more coming your way, plenty more to come on this Christmas breakfast. But now, fans of Friday Night Feast, here we go again. We'll know that I love a challenge, OK? So I used to do a show called Friday Night Feast, and basically I used to get set mad challenges by you wonderful people, and here is me skydiving.
Well, I think we can all agree that wasn't Patrick's finest moment. He thinks it's all over, but it's not. We've got another surprise in store for Patrick. He's about to go all the way up.
We are GB News, and we'd like to say thank you to each and every one of you for bringing us your conversations, for helping our great nation find its voice. We are here for you on radio, television, and online, across England, Scotland, Wales, and Northern Ireland.
It's not the BBC, you actually get your facts right.
We are proud to be GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Monday to Thursday, 9 p.m. till 11 p.m. Join me, Dan Wootton. I'll bring you the sharpest takes and hottest debates.
Do you not believe in prisons? I don't believe in prisons.
I'm completely stunned. I guarantee you there'll be no spin, no bias, no censorship.
I actually was personally quite offended by it.
And no reason to go to bed.
So I guess they've always been quite woke.
That's Dan Wootton tonight on TV, radio and online. Monday to Thursday from 9 p.m. till 11 p.m. on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Hello there, it's Eamon Holmes here from Breakfast on GB News. We're not just on your television and your screens, We're on DAB plus digital radio, so you can listen to your favourite shows on the move.
If you've not yet listened to GB News Radio, it's very simple. We're on your radio player and tune-in apps, on your smart speaker, phone or tablet, or online at gbnews.uk.
Take us with you wherever you go. GB News Radio.
You never have to miss a moment of the People's Channel.
Join me every Sunday at 6 p.m. for Gloria Meets. In exclusive interviews, I'll be finding out who our politicians really are and what they really think.
It's something that you would never want anyone to suffer.
I didn't know what channels there were. I didn't think I'd be believed.
I must have weighed about 7 stone and I'm 5'8".
My instincts was to sort of cover this up. Clearly that was a mistake.
Join me every Sunday at 6 p.m. on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Welcome back. You are watching and listening to Breakfast with Patrick and Ellie, and Merry Christmas to you. Thank you.
Merry Christmas, everybody.
For joining us. Yes, lots of you getting in touch. We're going to share some of your views and news with you. Alan and Linda have been in touch. They said, Happy Christmas to you all at GB News. Ellie looks glittery, but where's Patrick's Christmas tie?
Well, this is a Christmas tie. This is a Christmas tie. It's got all the colours of Christmas. What do you want? What do you want? The baby Jesus?
Yes, they do. That's exactly what they want.
Okay,
You're
fair
upsetting the public. That's the second person.
To be honest with you, that's like water off a duck's back, that for me now. You're upsetting the public. Yes, I exist.
Oh, this is a nice one. This is from Christine in Surrey.
Oh.
Good morning to you. She says, hello, team. I just wanted to say a big, huge thank you. I'm elderly and I live alone.
Oh.
And today I'll be with my big children later on. I love your channel. And thank you to all the GB News team. I watch your channel most of the day unless I have to to nap. You lift me up when I'm alone, and you are the best news channel. I want to thank you and wish you a very Merry Christmas. You all work so hard.
Oh,
thank you so
well, happy
much.
Christmas. Happy
That's
Christmas.
really lovely.
Yes, absolutely.
Really, really nice. You've got a few as well, haven't you?
I do indeed. Yes, well, we've been asking as well what your favourite Christmas song is, all the usual stuff, right? OK, so Linda's been on. Linda says, morning, my favourite Christmas song is White Christmas.
Yep, it's good.
And the film is on TV, apparently. There you go, apparently it's on TV today. It always makes me cry. Yeah, I think you sound a little bit like me, actually, when you watch things. I get overly emotional.
Do you?
Yeah.
Does it touch you?
I'm a blubbering wreck.
Yeah, so
Yes.
am I, actually. Yeah, so am I. We're going to be the same with the King's speech a little bit later on. Yeah. That's what Lee's said. Lee's been in touch. Morning, Ellie. Morning, Patrick. Merry Christmas to all of you at GB News. Like you, I'm looking forward to the King's speech. But I'm also going to be reliving the loss of our dear late Queen. Always a reassuring and calming presence. Charles is going to follow his mother and be reassuring, calming and compassionate. And then we need to get his son's book out of the way in the new year. I think lots of people will agree with you there, Lee. But Merry Christmas to you. And we're watching in Portsmouth. It's a lovely part of the world.
Yes, indeed.
So, yeah, keep them coming in. Keep your pictures as well of your trees, your pets, your dinner prep. Patrick can believe that people were up prepping at 6 a.m.
I couldn't believe that at all. I mean, at this point, are you doing veg really right now? Seriously?
Have you ever cooked? Do you cook?
OK, excuse me, I'm a dab hand in the kitchen, actually. I think you're fine. Yes, it's gourmet. Yeah, I mean, yet to receive a Michelin star, but I'm all right. I can put something in the microwave and do it for just the right amount of time.
Oh, you're an expert.
I am.
Well, these things do take time. So do keep them coming in. We're really enjoying hearing from you this morning. Now, there are no papers today because it is Christmas Day, but there are still lots of stories around because, as you said earlier, the news doesn't stop on Christmas Day. So let's have a look at some of the newspaper websites for you.
Well, the Mirror's website is leading with the royal festivities we can expect today, with expectations of lavish celebrations behind closed doors, as it should be, by the way. They are royalty, after all. They're not going to have live, laugh, love on the wall, are they? It's true.
The Sun are once again turning to the royals, calling Kate a perfect princess during the Westminster Abbey carol service. Well, I'd like to be called a perfect princess.
Well, we can. If you're that desperate, I'm sure I can speak to someone and make sure that that's in the strap at the bottom.
Patrick and the perfect.
Could someone make that happen? Like the world's worst children's story ever. Right, OK. The Daily Mail is also running with the royals, and last night's broadcast of the Christmas carol service at Westminster Abbey, they say Princess Charlotte was the star of the show. Well, some will say the perfect princess.
Yeah. Differing opinions there. The Independent are focusing on Ukraine this Christmas with the headline, "The fight to save lives is the bloodiest front."
Yes, indeed. Sorry, I appear to have developed an insatiable cough in the last 30 seconds, which is making for great TV and radio, but there we go. Time now, though, to go through some of the other news as well. And joining us this morning is lawyer... Now, sorry, I've got to ask this. I thought it last time and I didn't. You know what's coming now. Is lawyer and futurist Andrew Eborn. Also, the equally as exciting as well, author Rabina Khan. What's a futurist?
I thank you. I knew you were going to say that, and that's what futurists
like
do.
living in the future, isn't it?
We basically say, people will say history repeats itself, and the reason history repeats itself is because we never learn the lessons from history. So what we do, we look at patterns in history and predict the future. And Ellie and I have sat on this very place for the last, 18 months. So ever since last year we were here as well.
You're a futurist.
And we predict things. So, for example, if you look at my webpage, Octopus.tv, on the 19th of November, I predicted the World Cup and all the results and everything else and the shenanigans and so on. And it was correct. Argentina won. I predicted about Japan and about the other bits and pieces. But also what we do, we look at also in politics and things like that, because people never learning from their mistakes. So Rishi Sunak, for example, not learning from Lady Hussey about things that you should be speaking to people about. I also knew that Patrick was going to be here, so I've got a jumper for you, Patrick. Here we go. Oh, come on. No, this is good. Do you see what I've got here? There we go.
I hate Christmas. I love
it's the Grinch.
Oh.
Well, can I tell you something, though? I was with Aidan in the green room, the posh green room. He was sharing around his cookies, and he said, "Is that a pistachio nut?" And I said, "It's not that's the Grinch. It's not a pistachio nut at all." But anyway, there's an I hate Christmas, but we do love Christmas.
No, well, I won't wear that because I absolutely love it. Right, shall we do some news? Now, you've been sitting there very patiently while we learnt all about futurism. What's going on in the news?
Well, yeah, I do have to just say the Grinch has always reminded me of Tim Curry. I don't know what it was. I think it's the Home Alone movie.
Yeah, I see that.
And I was looking at that, I was thinking, oh, Tim Curry.
Let's have a look at the King's speech, shall we? So 3 o'clock today, we've had lots of viewers saying it's going to be a really emotional one, but it's also significant, isn't it? Because it's the first time we're going to see the King's speech televised.
Yeah, absolutely. And the King's speech is going to be delivered from St George's Chapel, Windsor, and it is the exact place where the world saw the Queen's coffin. That was the last time that they saw the Queen's coffin. I don't think the King's going to sway away from the tradition of the Queen's speech. And I think we need to remember the Queen also, she wrote her own speeches, and it was also from the help of her husband, the late Prince Philip. And I wonder whether or not he would have that kind of connection with Queen Consort Camilla, whether or not he would go to her in writing his speech. Will it be solemn and will it be reflective? I think it will be, because in this time of the cost of living, the Ukraine war, all the things that are happening, I think it will be very solemn and reflective.
Andrew, how do you feel about the idea that the King is going to have a lavish coronation? I mean, a lot of people say, oh, he should reflect the cost of living crisis. I think, no, screw that, you're the King. Stack the gold high.
That's exactly what they say in palace stores, actually, with those exact words.
Yeah.
I think you're right. You look at the pomp and ceremony, which we do better than any other country in the world. And if you look at the audience figures for the Queen's wonderful celebration for her Jubilee and what happened there, and the way that we commemorated with her passing, the way that we do that, it's absolutely... The royal family are one of our biggest tourist assets. So you're right. You don't want a budget coronation. We want somebody that unites the country. We need to celebrate the good, and we're talking about some positive stories. At the moment, the world is dominated by negative stories, by war and famine and pestilence and all that sort of stuff. We need to have some positive stuff. I think looking forward to the coronation is something we can all do. And it's interesting, it coincides with a certain birthday as well for one of Harry's children. And it's interesting they picked that date.
Very, very interesting. Andrew, let's have a look at the Santa tracker.
Oh, I love it. And GBNews, they've got their own little Santa tracker, I believe. I don't know if you've got a video of it, but what I love is he's a bit late, isn't he? I'm trying to work out time things around the world. This is what Patrick's going to give me for Christmas. He's going to give me a virus. Thank you. A COVID Christmas from Patrick. It's going to go. Oh, here we go. There's Santa. Look at him go.
Where is he now? Can we see where he is?
Well, I think he's just over Bognor Regis. If I recognise him.
Bognor Regis isn't that bleak.
I think he's in the west coast of the US. Las Vegas, does it say up there, I think?
Santa's gone to Vegas.
Santa's gone.
We'll never see him again.
Never see him again. I love it.
But Santa's been spending rather a long time over Vegas, it would appear, actually, hasn't he? Yeah, Santa's having fun.
Is he running a bit late?
He is. I'm trying to work out the time differences because where are Christmas Eve? We're already. What's the time now? 7:51.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what. It's still last night, so it would be America. So anywhere 8 hours behind us would be good. So California, he'll be there. I reckon the Californians will be looking forward to their raisins and better weather. I hope Santa's going to bring them.
Yes.
Well, yeah.
Yes, that's true, actually. I mean, we were talking yesterday about strikes, not being able to get anywhere, but at least we're not dealing with that.
Well, you're right. I talked about the Grinch that stole Christmas. Yeah. It's been the Lynch that stole Christmas this year, hasn't it? Talking about strikes.
Absolutely, yes. I'm not looking forward to my final... Well, I am looking forward to it because then it means I get to go home, of course. But either way, though, it's a 4-hour drive, so, you know. There is that...
today?
Yeah, after this.
And then you're coming back tonight?
No, I'm going to come back tomorrow.
OK.
Yeah.
That's a lot of driving for you.
It is. That's the fact. Anyway.
Busy.
News. Go on,
well, I do have to say on the Santa tracker that 92% of children aged 8 and younger believe in Santa. And I think that is...
They should, 100%.
That is something wonderful for children to have that belief, even amongst all of this gloom, and it's there. And I think it
magic,
just gives... it's magic.
Yeah, it truly is. Let's have a look at a huge loss in the music world, shall we, Rabina? This is in the Telegraph, on the Telegraph website, because they're on the newspapers today. It's Maxi Jazz, who's died at the age of 65.
Yeah, Maxi Jazz, a DJ born in Brixton. He died, and it's, I didn't know this, but he was a Buddhist as well.
Really?
So it is a major loss. But another major loss was the Specials Terry Hall, who passed away. So it's important to remember all of these people and to remember them in, as Andrew said, in a positive light. And I'm sure there'll be a lot of singing, and I'm sure there'll be a lot of dancing, and we just need a DJ. So maybe.
Oh gosh.
That's what it's saying. It's no age, is it? 65. It's so young.
Very young.
Yeah, such a loss. Andrew, let's have a look at this on the BBC website.
Yes.
It's a little bit different. It's about bison.
It's a great story, and you know the difference between a buffalo and a bison. Well, you can't wash your hands in a buffalo. I thank you. But what bison are superb. There's a European bison herd has been joined by a bull. Can you believe it? At Wilder Blean Woods, and a bull's been introduced to the herd near Canterbury, Kent. And there are basically 3 female bison, which are once indigenous in Britain, but they've been extinct for thousands of years. They were introduced in July. Now, one of them came over from Ireland and found out she was pregnant. That's what happens if you go and party in Ireland. So she came along, but they've now introduced the bull, and it's been a bit delayed, the bull. So it's supposed to come over in August, but couldn't fill in the paperwork and didn't pass the test.
Brexit for you.
That's Brexit for you.
Yeah.
But he now has joined this herd, and they're hoping for great things. Now, the great thing about bison is they're really good for the environment, because what happens is they graze on non-native conifers. You didn't know this, did you? Non-native conifers, and basically it helps the environment. It basically creates paths for other animals to use. What I love about bison as well is 283 days gestation period, about 9 months. And what they do, they're born standing up, which is brilliant. And within a few hours, they can run around and gamble in Las Vegas with Santa and work on that sort of basis. So this is a great positive story for Christmas. Bison being returned to this countryside.
Of bison fat.
Thank you. Was that good?
We got them all in.
Yeah. Bisons are known as ecosystem engineers, apparently.
They are. That's exactly what they are.
Yes.
Who knew we knew?
They study a lot.
They'll get you 150 grand a year on the NHS. Right, OK, plenty more to come on our Christmas Day breakfast show, everybody. We've got loads coming your way. Make sure you keep emailing in pictures of your festivities as well. We want to hear from you, don't we?
Yes, we do. But first of all, let's get the weather for you. Looking ahead to today's weather, in the UK is looking mild but windy with sunny spells and showery rain, more persistent in the southeast. Let's take a look at the details. Taking a closer look and starting off in the southwest, here we can expect frequent blustery showers, especially across Cornwall, though some sunny spells in between and highs around 12 Celsius. Meanwhile, a spell of persistent rain is set to push across southeastern England as we head towards lunchtime, turning heaviest around Kent and Sussex. Heading back to the west and across Wales, we can also expect a scattering of showers. Eastern parts have the greatest chance of staying dry. A drier picture for the West Midlands. A few showers will edge in during the afternoon, but for many it'll be dry with bright and sunny spells. Blustery but relatively mild. Looking across northeast England, and here there'll be something of a mixed bag. Around Yorkshire and Lincolnshire it'll be mostly dry with sunny spells, although showers will likely form further north. Also some showery rain for southern Scotland this lunchtime. Drier for a time further north, but cold air will feed in, bringing sleet and snow showers later in the day. Meanwhile, across Northern Ireland, it will turn pretty wet as we head through the afternoon as a band of shower rain pushes southeastwards with some heavier bursts and blustery winds. The changeable pattern continues through the end of the day with showery rain for many and snow showers for Scotland. And that is how the weather is shaping up for your Christmas Day.
Monday to Thursday nights on GB News. At 6, it's Dubes & Co. 7 o'clock, Farage. At 8, join Mark Stein. And at 9, Dan Wootton Tonight, followed by Headliners. On TV, radio and online. This is GB News.
We are GB News, the People's Channel.
Why not take us home with you by visiting the GB News shop at gbnews.store. You'll find all the official merchandise, a really good present actually for yourself, your friends or your family.
We ship across the UK mainland at no extra cost. GB News, the People's Channel.
Here on GB News Live, we'll be keeping you in the picture, finding out what's happening across the country and finding out why it matters to you. We'll have the facts fast with our team of reporters and specialist correspondents. Wherever it's happening, we'll be there from 12 noon on TV, radio and online. GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Monday to Thursday on GB News, it's Bev Turner Today from 10 a.m. We're going to be here for you, our GB News family, to keep you up to date, but also make you smile.
The guy went from puberty to adultery.
And I can't wait to bring a few of my own opinions.
I have no time for cultural totalitarianism.
We'll engage in passionate, but always polite debate, with your thoughts and opinions at the centre of it all. Only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Hi there, it's Stephen and Anne.
At breakfast from 6 a.m, you'll always be caught up with everything you need to know, the latest headlines, opinions and debates.
We'll bring you the good news and the bad, but most of all, we're here for you.
Remember, send in your views and let us know what you would like us to talk about.
That's because we're your news channel. And every morning at 6 a.m, it's breakfast on GB News.
Father Christmas is currently very busy. The Santa tracker has him just over Las Vegas.
And he will be staying there for a month. Anyway, good morning. It is 8 o'clock. This is Christmas Day. I love the fact that Santa's in Vegas.
This is Christmas Day.
Hey, welcome to Christmas, everybody. This is your Christmas Day breakfast on GB News with me, Patrick, and Ellie. Here are your top stories this morning.
Yes, celebrating a life of service, King Charles will reflect on the loss of his mother and her legacy when he gives his first Christmas message today. And in a return to a festive tradition, the royal standard will fly high above the family's Sandringham estate.
Indeed. Now, it'll be a tough day, though, for many people who are struggling across the UK. They've had to rely on food banks to get by as the cost of living crisis continues to bite.
Has he been? Check the house to see if Santa popped by overnight. GB News can exclusively reveal that Father Christmas and his reindeer were due in at Heathrow Airport just after midnight.
Oh, gosh, there you go. Right. Well, as ever, you can join in any of our discussions by emailing us, gbviews@gbnews.uk. Look, really, there's only one story in town today. It's Christmas. So get the pictures coming in, get the Christmas trees coming in, get the food coming in, and, of course, as well, festive animals.
Now, today marks a historic event as it's the first time a King's speech will be televised here in the UK.
Well, listening to the Queen's speech on Christmas Day is a tradition that many people participate in worldwide, and many will be tuning in to hear the new monarch.
And the royal family have posted a video of Her Majesty's very first speech back on Christmas Day in 1957. Let's have a listen.
25 years ago, my grandfather broadcast the first of these Christmas messages. Today is another landmark, because television has made it possible for many of you to see me in your homes on Christmas Day. My own family often gather round to watch television, as they are at this moment, and that is how I imagine you now. I very much hope that this new medium will make my Christmas message more personal and direct. I hope that 1958 may bring you God's blessing and all the things you long for. And so I wish you all, young and old, wherever you may be, all the fun and enjoyment and the peace of a very...
Oh, bless her.
I just got cut off there, but it is very emotional to see her like that, isn't it?
Well, it is indeed, yes, absolutely. Yes, the kind of the first Christmas night of the Queen, isn't it?
Yeah.
But it'll be interesting to see what King Charles has to say about 3 p.m. In fact, not about, at 3 p.m.
At
today,
3 p.m, as you were told yesterday.
As I was told in no uncertain terms, that is when it is, because apparently when, well, obviously we had the Empire, apparently that was when most people around the globe were able to see it.
Tune in, exactly.
Yeah, there you go. You learn something every day.
Every day's a school day, isn't it?
Every day's a
That's what we
school
learned
day.
yesterday. Well, I'm very pleased to say that joined in the studio now by Suzanne Baum, who joins us now. What do you make of listening to the Queen there and watching her? It's really quite emotional, isn't it?
Yeah, it is emotional. And actually thinking back over the year, me and you last year did this show, or we did it by Zoom because it was still COVID.
COVID was still raging, wasn't it?
And I remember I wore red, you wore red, and obviously the Queen wore red. So actually looking back now at that, I just can't even believe how quickly the year's gone since we did this last time.
I know, I can't believe it. And it's going to be such a loss, isn't it? Is it something that you would do, tune in at 3 p.m. and watch?
Yeah, I mean, we've always done that every Christmas at 3 p.m. and I'll be doing it again at 3 p.m. today just to see what the King's going to say.
Yes.
I think we've got maybe 10 minutes of the King.
Wow.
10 minutes
quite long,
of King.
isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, it's interesting as well that it was recorded before the final 3 episodes of Harry and Meghan's Netflix docudrama.
Yeah.
Don't get me started on that. Okay. Get me started on that.
Can I get you started on something, though? Because there's there's a little Selfridges bag there.
Oh, yes. Well, OK.
You didn't have to bring me a present.
This is actually for Ellie. I've been in this business for 25 years. I know how hard working in the media is. It's not all this, you know, glamorous in front of the camera. You work hard. Sorry. This is for you. Happy Christmas.
Thank you.
Happy Christmas.
I will be bringing you some wine.
Oh, this is so kind.
No,
Thank you.
I know what it's like. It's hardcore
and it's been a tough year for so many people, hasn't it, really? I'm not saying I'm one of the worst at all, but it's nice to have a little present.
Well, I'm actually a beauty journalist as well, so this is something that...
Hang on a minute, we
can share if you like. It's pure Himalayan salt mushroom face massager.
Well, I actually asked for that. I asked for it, and, you know, there you go.
Thank you so much, Suzanne. That's such a nice treat. It's my first present. Thank you so much.
It's a pleasure.
We'll
yeah,
pop that there. What a nice treat. Thank you.
Oh.
Yeah, so I've been interviewing people all year, and it's been sort of a rollercoaster of interviews and stories and lots
You've
of
been
things.
busy, haven't you? You've been really, really busy. So what do you have from the world of showbiz for us today, Suzanne?
So I think the one thing that stands out for me is Beth Mead, because I think having won Sports Personality of the Year, I just think she's fantastic. And I'm the celebrity editor on Women's Fitness as one of my jobs, and we did a big female sports feature. And then with Beth winning, I just think it's, like, brilliant. I think it's, like, gets women's sport at the forefront. She was the first female footballer to win. And I just think it's fantastic for grassroots football and, yeah, that was brilliant.
And for women's sports as well. And it has been a great year for that, hasn't it? Let's talk about Harry and Meghan, shall we? Because we got distracted by the presents.
Yeah.
What do you make of them on Netflix?
The thing with me is, and I probably go against a lot of your viewers, I'm very against people that slate them. I hate all of that. I find the Twitter trolls, I find the people that attack them, I don't like it. So I thought it was a fantastic docuseries.
Oh, what?
Oh, no, you're one of the people...
I know it's Christmas, but I'll let you get away with a couple of... What was... Go on, tell me what was so great about it.
I'm not having an argument about this. I'm saying about what I think.
OK.
I don't argue, I'm afraid, sorry. I
didn't get me a present.
Oh, no, sorry. I enjoyed this. I enjoyed the show. I think with Jeremy Clarkson's nasty comment afterwards, I think it's, you know, brought... It maybe even into a more positive way for them. Sorry, if you're not a fan. And sorry.
I'm not. I was in it though. I was in it. I was in the home. I don't like to go on about it. I don't like to go on about it. But yeah.
And I mean, I'm not a royalist. My father worked for the medical team that looked after Lady Diana. So when you know, I was brought up sort of following her story. So when she died in tragic circumstances, I was, you know, always followed what went on in the royal family. And sorry to say, I didn't like what's going on with Meghan and Harry, and I was one of the people that felt sorry for them. So do we want to move on? Because I'm probably driving you insane by saying this.
No, everyone's perfectly entitled to their views, absolutely.
I do think, Suzanne, that's a really good thing about, you know, being a British person as well. I mean, so many people love Diana, and you've got a soft spot for Harry through Diana. I think lots of people definitely feel that, don't they? Like a
and
protection.
I also think I don't like people attacking people, and I mean, maybe that's because I'm a lifestyle journalist. You know, I'm not a columnist. Well, I am a columnist, but I'm not someone that likes to rip people apart, because I think I just don't like that. So the minute people do that to people, I almost feel like I not stand up, but maybe as a journalist with a platform, I don't like any of that bashing.
Are you pleased that they've had their time to have their say? Because that's what it was all about, wasn't it? They just wanted to have their truth and tell their truth.
Yeah, and obviously Netflix did a great job with it. So, you know, when you've got Netflix behind you and however much money they were paid. So, yeah.
It was produced absolutely beautifully. It really, really was. We're going to talk about Love Island now.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
Love Island? I was going to... yeah, OK. So I'm not a fan of Love Island. I always was. This year I wasn't such a big fan, but I've got 3 kids, so I watched it with them. I was one of the people that was the first to go away with Davide, the winner on... He came out of the villa, then he got a contract with Boots. So I went away on the Boots press trip.
Oh, wow.
So they sat me next... Sorry?
Where was that?
That was not far. It wasn't. Actually, it was in Bristol. It was a lovely hotel in Bristol. So Boots sat me next to Davide, and I tried really hard to make conversation with him. So, I mean, we had a complete laugh because we both got drunk. There was a slight language barrier, I think, and I think in a room where there's like loads of journalists like this, but it was nice. And then I did an interview with Ekin Sue, who I thought was absolutely divine, a really lovely person. She was, you know, again, people slate them and people are horrible about them, but I thought individually as people, she was divine.
I think it's incredibly brave to go on anything like that, to be honest with you. I mean, because also you're at the mercy of any editing that may take place. You're not aware of it at the time because you're literally in a villa or in a camp or wherever you are.
Yeah.
And as well, you know, like, whether or not you think you're ready for it, you might not be ready for the fame that comes afterwards. And I've got a huge amount of respect for people who absolutely maximise that. Rylan Clark, I think. Is it Clark?
Actually, I just interviewed Rylan, yes.
There you go.
2 days ago.
But he's the definition of a bloke who's made the absolute most of what he's got, right? Because he was on X Factor originally, I think, wasn't he?
Yeah, and then when I worked at This Morning on the news desk, he was there.
Yeah.
And then I interviewed him a couple of days ago because I do the celebrity interviews for Ideal Home, so Rylan's our back page star because he's all into home interiors.
Yeah, exactly.
And I have to, if I can I talk about Bow Babe?
Yes.
Because she has been, I think for me, the one outstanding story of the year, because Bow Babe was always the nicest person I ever interviewed. Everything she did to raise money for bowel cancer charities was incredible. And I know Christmas was she loved Christmas. She was all about the sparkles and everything, so yeah.
And that's
we've got a video of Bow Babe here. Yeah, Deborah James. So every time I interviewed Deborah, she was divine, even when she'd come out of chemo and would meet and would drink. And she was, even looking at her now upsets me because Christmas was all about Deborah.
And she was just a beautiful soul, wasn't she? I think she's one of the people that really captured the nation.
Yeah, she captured the nation. You know, even her last days, she was, you know, bright and cheerful, and she, you know, she let us chat to her. And her husband Sebastian, I think, is, you know, to be a rock, and her kids are divine too. A really special family, and I know it's going to be hard for them at Christmas.
Really, really tough Christmas without her this year. But thank you so much, Suzanne, for coming in and taking us through the Showbiz world.
Pleasure.
And reflecting
Thank you for having me.
2022. Really good
Happy
to be with
Christmas.
us.
Happy Christmas. I shall be sending you wine.
Present in the post. Thanks, Suzanne.
All right, well, let's bring you up to date, shall we? And yes, sad story this, of course, because a manhunt is underway on Merseyside after a woman was shot dead at a village pub in Wallasey. 3 men were also taken to hospital with gunshot wounds after the incident at the Lighthouse Inn on the Wirral. Just before midnight, the woman was later pronounced dead.
At least 28 people have died in the US as the country grapples with a brutal winter storm. Blizzard conditions have left almost 500,000 homes and businesses without power. More than 3,000 flights were cancelled on Saturday, with some airports closed. New York's governor has declared a state of emergency as the state is being battered by hurricane-strength winds.
Yes, and Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has offered a defiant message of hope to his people this Christmas, vowing to never back down as his nation remains under siege from Russia. Hours before Zelensky's address, delivered precisely 10 months on from the start of the invasion, 10 people were killed, sadly, and 55 injured in Kherson city as a result of Russian shelling.
The Prime Minister has been urged to drop the 2-child benefit cap to lift thousands of families out of poverty. Currently, households with more than 2 children and where universal credit or child tax credit is claimed no longer receive additional funds.
And the Duke and Duchess of Sussex have dismissed an apology by The Sun for a column by Jeremy Clarkson as nothing more than a PR stunt. A spokeswoman for the Duchess said the newspaper had not contacted her to apologise for the column published last weekend, which has become the most complained about on record, receiving, get it, more than 20,000 complaints. Gosh.
A leading charity says demand for its pet food banks is growing amid the rising cost of living. The Edinburgh Dog and Cat Home supplies pet food banks around Scotland and helps those who find themselves in pet poverty. It helps more than 2,000 dogs and cats monthly with supplies.
Well, the Christmas season is typically a tough period for our military heroes who have returned from their deployment. To help fight this, the government has announced new measures to help end veterans sleeping rough by 2023.
Yes, the scheme, called Operation Fortitude, will enable veterans at risk of homelessness to access supported housing and wraparound specialist care in health, accommodation and education.
Well, joining us now is ex-SAS trooper, it's Big Phil. Oh, yes. Get in.
He's putting you to shame.
Oh, no, the thing is... Oh, this is gold. This is absolute gold. It is 8:15 in the morning, and, yes, Phil, for our radio viewers, what would you describe Phil's headgear as, Sally?
He's wearing a turkey upside down on his head.
Good grief. Right. Happy Christmas, mate. Happy Christmas.
Happy Christmas.
OK. So just tell us what's going on. So obviously homelessness amongst the veteran community is a massive problem, and the government might be doing something about it. Fill us in, Phil.
I really, really genuinely hope, Patrick, that the government get a grip of what's going on. Do you know what I mean? There's a lot of veterans out there suffering. There's a lot of falling through the net. It's about time we gathered them back in, prioritised them, got amongst it, sorted it right out. And, you know, part of the reason I'm wearing this hat is hopefully people will looking at this today. Yes, it's a good laugh, but I want to highlight this issue hugely because it's something that is massively important to me. I see it at the coalface. I've been out and visited people who are suffering, and it's about time it ended because nobody who served this country should ever have to suffer afterwards, ever.
No, Phil, you're completely right. And I know so many people will be watching and listening at home and thinking this is so, so important. And also so many people will be watching and listening and thinking, why hasn't this been sorted before? I mean, it's a huge issue in this country, isn't it? The homeless veterans, as you say, people who have served this country who now don't have a home of their own. So explain a little bit for us, what is Operation Fortitude and how is it going to work? How is it going to help these veterans?
Well, I'm hoping that people are going to seriously get about and amongst the community, identify where the problems are and do something about it. And when I say do something about it, I mean actually prioritise veterans and prioritise not just their housing, but their health, their welfare, their mental health, the whole thing. And, you know, I would hope that, you know, between the government, the armed forces themselves and the veteran community, there's enough people there who can actually grip this situation and get it turned around and sorted out as a matter of priority.
Yeah, indeed. And sometimes, Phil, I can't help but feel as though we've got our priorities a bit skew in this country. And, you know, we see people who've served Queen and now King and country, who've maybe lost limbs, who've got, you know, mental health issues potentially as well as the physical issues on top of all of that. And they just don't seem to be treated particularly well, Phil. And I think, you know, veterans are, I think, a forgotten area of our society, aren't they?
I don't think they're so much forgotten. I think some drift away. And they drift away because they're allowed to drift away. I would like to see a voluntary probation system within the army whereby when people leave, they feel they've got a handrail for eternity. OK, not just 5 years, not just 5 minutes, but actually that if they have a wobble in their life, they can put their hand out and the system that they help support will then support them. Now, if you was a prisoner and you did 25 years in Nick, all right, you'd have a probation system that would keep an eye on you for the rest of your life. Now, I'm not saying that you would have to use that if you were a veteran, and so it wasn't something that was forced on you, but it's just something nice. It's a safety net. Now, when you're in, you have a safety net. You have this thing underneath you, the MOD, the government, everybody's behind you. But the day you leave, you've got nothing. There's no safety net. And that's why blokes and women, they sort of like drift away from the scene. And if they don't keep themselves abreast of what's going on, they can very, very easily get lost. And when the demons kick in, and when the dreams knock on the door, and some of these people live with horrendous stuff, OK, that's when you lose them even further. So I'd just like to see something put in place. I'm willing to go and talk to the MOD about it, and hopefully I will next year, OK, talk to the very top brass and put some ideas across that can actually sort this problem out, and we'd put it to bed for good.
And Phil, Christmas itself is particularly hard, isn't it, for veterans, especially those who have returned from deployment. There are, in fact, still soldiers who are stationed abroad. There are some in Estonia, I believe. Rishi Sunak was meeting them just a few days ago. But for those who are at home for Christmas, how difficult is this time of year to readjust to civilian life after, like you say, that they've seen just the worst things imaginable?
Any situation that provokes emotion, Christmas in particular, provokes emotion. It's a very strong emotional time of year. And that can wake the demons up in some people, okay, because it's opening up all their inner sort of like feelings and emotions, and it can be an extremely difficult time. And that's when people need the most support.
What's your message to veterans this Christmas?
Hey, I love you all. Thank you ever so much. And goes without saying, thank you for your service. But look, if you are suffering, let somebody know. Don't drift away from the system. Check in on a buddy. Tap in on someone you know. Tell anyone. But don't drift away from people. Don't hide it away. Don't think you can cure it with a few beers down the pub, all right? Get in touch. Talk to people. Be positive. Try and find something that claws you back on the ladder to recovery. Because you're only one decision away from getting back on that ladder, and that decision is with you.
Phil, just something a little bit different now, actually, before we let you get going, is throughout the course of this show, we've been playing clips of various different challenges that I've done when I used to do a show called Friday Night Feast, and we do challenges. And, Phil, there was a rather interesting incident that you and I had, actually, where Phil, for those of you who don't know, Phil decided that he was very kindly going to help us do a challenge, which was for me to basically get kidnapped by the SAS, right, which was terrifying. The only problem was, Phil, wasn't it, is that we were doing it in some marshland in Colchester, and someone called the police because they thought that you were kidnapping me, and the police arrived as I was shooting a gun into a field dressed in full military gear, Phil. I mean, that was a good day out, though, mate.
It was a great day out, and how you're not doing 25 years right now is an absolute travesty.
Absolutely. Well, look, happy Christmas, Phil. Good luck to you, and I hope Wendy's all right as well. Take care.
Yeah,
and
take care, both of you.
And top marks for effort as well, Phil.
Yeah.
Absolutely spot on. It's going to be a better
Cheers to that. Cheers to that.
See you later. Take care.
Oh, what a guy. I'm a bit jealous, actually, to be fair.
It'll be you in a few hours, don't worry.
Maybe. We'll have to wait and see.
Oh, it's so true what you're saying, though. I think that's going to really resonate with so many people at home. Just completely agree with so much of that. Lots of you have been in touch. Keep them coming in. It's keeping us company, isn't it? We're talking about lots of things. We're talking about pets, trees, dinners.
Yeah, well, loads of stuff. And a fantastic array of dogs and pets have been sent in to us as well. So well done, everybody, for sending those in. We're going to get some of them on the screen very, very shortly. We have a team full of people out there who are beavering away to make sure that we get your pictures out there on the TV. And there's a lot of love, Ellie, for what you're wearing.
Oh, really?
Yes. And can I just say, right, so yesterday, and Ellie will dispute, recollections may vary, Ellie may dispute this. We did have a chat yesterday about what we were going to wear on TV today, and I made the point, ever the professional, look at me, that if some big serious news breaks, I can't be wearing a Christmas jumper.
Well, you didn't actually say that till this morning. It was a bit too late, wasn't
it? OK. Either way, though, you turned up as a rather fashionable bauble.
Well, so my version of events was, we sat here yesterday and I said, what are you going to wear tomorrow? And you said festive.
No.
So I took this as festive. You took pinching a tie from the changing room.
I think this belongs to Mark Longhurst.
No, that's a Tom Harwood tie for sure.
Tom Harwood?
Yeah. He's a
Gosh.
funky tie kind of man.
Anything this tasteless could be draped around Tom Harwood, but there you go. Anyway, right.
You can't say that. You just claimed it was Mark Longhurst.
That's true, actually. Sorry, Mark. OK, happy Christmas, everybody. We're moving on. Right, OK.
Fun fact, you know, every day is a school day. So yesterday, Patrick learnt that the King's speech is at 3 p.m. It has been that way for 90 years. Don't know how you missed that. Anyway, Lindsay's been in touch saying she wanted to let us know that pigs in blankets are known as kilted sausages in Scotland.
Oh, you love it. Oh, that's fantastic.
How fabulous is that?
Kilted sausages. That's exquisite, actually.
Kilted sausages. I'm going to change that now. It's going to be known as a kilted sausage.
As a kilted sausage.
And I'll share one more. This from Jacqueline, who says her favourite song is The Christmas Song by Nat King Cole. I hope people know what that is, because I don't. And then she says, for Christmas, it's very simple this year, very traditional, putting up our trees with decorations. But this year, for the first time, it's a live tree.
Good, good.
And it's going to be chicken instead of turkey.
Yeah, exactly that. I mean, as well, people paying 150 quid for turkeys. Just get a chicken.
Where was that?
Morrison's.
I love that you just know that off the top of your head.
Well, people kept sending me pictures about it. You know, have you seen this? Yes, I've seen it. Right, OK, anyway.
Yeah.
Right, GBviews at gbnews.uk. Keep those views coming in. We will get some of your pictures on the screen at some point, I am reassured. But we've got loads more coming your way. We've got absolutely loads. Oh, here we go. Another clip here. Here's me going for a flip in a river.
Relax your shoulders. Relax your shoulders, relax your shoulders, relax. Yes! Chest up, chest up. There you go, relax. Smile. Come on, think about the key points, okay? Relax your shoulders, relax, head up.
Every morning from 6 o'clock, we'll wake you up with GB News Breakfast with all the stories you didn't know from the night before.
So whether it's serious news, entertainment, or your own views from all over our great nation, we're here to kick off your day with a smile.
And the national media should be reflecting and reporting what's happening here.
You will notice the northwestern accents.
Whether you're with us on TV, radio, or online, every morning, it's breakfast from 6 a.m. Hope you can join us.
We are GB News, right across the nation. You can get us on television, on radio, on digital. We're absolutely everywhere.
Amazing! You see, amazing!
You remind me of me in the European Parliament. But here's the most important bit. We are not part of the mainstream establishment. We think and speak just like you do. We are the People's Channel.
Magnificent. That's really, really thoughtful.
Come and join us on GB News, the People's News Channel.
My name's Tom Harwood and join me 9:30 a.m. every weekday for The Briefing, your one-stop shop for everything you need to know about what's going on in politics today.
I wonder if this is a deal that might need to be like the biscuits in this factory, twice baked.
Is there not an opportunity here to win out against the extremes?
Tom Harwood, GB News.
What are you going to do about it?
Things should have been done differently, and they certainly are being done differently.
Don't miss it. The Briefing with me, Tom Harwood, 9:30 Monday to Friday on GB News.
Join me, Nana Akue, Saturday and Sunday afternoons on GB News. Expect fiery debate and passionate discussion as me and my panel tackle some of the biggest topics hitting the headlines. It's a place for everyone's opinion. No one gets cancelled, but no one gets an easy ride.
Oh, she's on it today!
Be ready for conversations that are fierce, frank, and of course, fun. Every Saturday and Sunday afternoon from 4 p.m. on GB News, the People's Channel.
Welcome back. You are watching and listening to Breakfast with Patrick and Ellie.
You are indeed. Happy Christmas, everybody. Now, it's been a year to remember for some and to forget for many, especially in British politics. No one can deny that. So we decided to review the year through the most iconic pictures of the last year.
Well, it's been a tumultuous year in politics. I think we can all agree on that. 3 prime ministers, 4 chancellors and hundreds of official visits. The year is nearly over, but there have been many memorable moments captured by the cameras. Joining me in the studio now is Chief Political Photographer of the Press Association, Stefan. It's good to see you.
Yeah, nice to see you,
Thank
Ollie.
you for coming in. We're going to look at some photographs now from the year. I think it's important that we remember, my goodness, so much has happened during the year.
I know. Who'd have thought we'd be where we are now at the start of the year? I mean,
my goodness, exactly. Well, the first photograph we're going to look at is a photograph of the then Prime Minister, Boris Johnson. He's on a plane. Where was that to?
This is on the way to India, and I picked this picture because the Prime Minister, whenever he goes on foreign trips, always briefs journalists, talks to them. They have a huddle, they call it, on the plane. But in the past, in the 20 years I've been travelling with the Prime Minister, I've never been able to photograph this. And his people said, yeah, you can take a picture this time. And it just makes this great picture. But, you know, all the journalists are very much listening. But what was important is when this picture went out on our wire service, and I tweeted it, it got so much interaction, especially from people from India and journalists from India, because they said, I wish our Prime Minister would see this, because he doesn't speak to the media directly. He would never hold a briefing like this with journalists so close and talk to them direct. And so I thought that was very important.
And you know what? A lot of people say our Prime Ministers are very managed now, and I just said it today about Rishi Sunak, actually, when he was in Northern Ireland, and it's very tightly managed. And of course it's tightly managed, but I think this shows, actually, that our politicians are very much in touch with journalists.
Oh, completely. And I'm like you, I've moaned about it in the past, about access, you know, and control.
Yeah.
But actually, there's not many people, you know, this is, you know, he's very accessible.
Yeah.
And to have journalists, and they can ask about anything at all, you know.
And I think it's very interesting. There's no notes in front of Boris.
No.
He's just talking.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Chatting to the journalists as well.
Yeah.
And your second photograph is of Boris as well.
Well, this is on said trip to India. This is in Ahmedabad, the first place we went. And this is just a classic Boris picture, isn't it? I mean,
absolutely.
You know, he was good value for photographs for us. And this is arriving at a university. And it's kind of a welcoming ceremony, but just this would only happen to Boris. They wrapped his head in a turban, but it just kind of got all mangled. And he just goes with it, you know? I mean, anybody else would have been ushered out of the way, I think, by advisors. Oh, no, this is going wrong. Let's try and get the photographers out of the way. But, I mean, he just thrived on it.
He loved it. And I think that colour from Boris will be sadly missed, I think, because a lot of people enjoyed
he was quite unique.
The fun side of him as well.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, exactly. So the next picture is a totally different picture, and it's the contest between Liz Truss and Rishi
Sunak. The first contest we had through the summer, if you remember. And this is when it was announced who'd won the campaign at the beginning of September, that first contest. And this is the announcement when it gets announced by Sir Graham Brady of the 1922 committee who's won. And they said, now I remember photographing in 2019 Jeremy Hunt and Boris Johnson, if you remember, sitting at the front in exactly the same situation. And when it was announced that Boris had won, he got up, shook hands with Jeremy Hunt, and it was quite a feisty campaign, that one. But they shook hands, and he got up on stage and made his acceptance speech. What was quite noticeable here is they kept his chair in between them, oddly, and there was no interaction.
Was that Graham Brady's chair? I presume it was.
It wasn't, actually. He came straight on stage.
Okay.
And so it was just, nobody sat there, and they just didn't look at each other at all. I mean, certainly Liz Truss didn't look at Rishi Sunak. And when
she would have known then that she had...
Yeah, they're told before. And then when she got up to take the stand and make her speech, she didn't turn to shake his hand at all, and I thought it was very noticeable, you know, because it'd been quite a...
Spiky, I called it.
It had, yeah, exactly.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, let's look at this picture, the next picture that you've brought in for us, and there's Therese Coffey standing in the rain.
Well, this is just quite a fun picture, because this is we're waiting for Liz Truss. This is the following day, so she gets announced as leader of the Conservative Party on I think it was a Monday. Tuesday, she goes to see the Queen, comes back and comes into Downing Street to make her first speech on the steps of Number 10. But just before she arrived, it absolutely threw it down. Torrential rain. Her staff, and if you amazed, Theresa Coffey was her sort of campaign manager.
Yes, and Deputy Prime Minister.
Yeah, absolutely. And it just, the skies opened to the point at which I think they told Liz Truss to go around the block a few times to wait for the rain to ease off.
This poor chap on the right, he looks completely soaked, and he's just standing there ramrod straight. The next photograph we're looking at is a joyous photograph. It's one of Liz Truss when she's out and about during her short tenure.
Well, quite. I think I only did 2 visits with her. This is during the Conservative Party conference in Birmingham to a building site. And everything seems quite good. You know, if you remember, the relationship between her and her Chancellor started to break down after that. But this is just one of those great photo ops that we wait for, you know, on these visits.
And the next one is one of change, Rishi Sunak and the 1922.
Exactly, yeah. Now, if you remember, all the votes, each time somebody was knocked out of a campaign, Sir Graham Brady would announce it in one of the committee rooms in the Houses of Parliament. The day that I think all the candidates dropped out on the second campaign and just allowed Rishi to take it. And I talked him into letting me in to do a picture of them all in this committee room. And they're so grand, and it was just that was the first picture of him as Prime Minister.
Goodness me. And your last two pictures I enjoyed because the first one is of President Macron walking towards the new Prime Minister. My goodness.
He actually broke into a jog. Yeah.
So keen to see him.
No, absolutely. This is at the COP summit in Sharm el-Sheikh, and it was our first meeting as Sunak as Prime Minister. And he came around the corner, and they literally sort of, well, Macron certainly ran towards...
absolutely brilliant.
More to come, including a discussion about multiculturalism this holiday as well. Yes, you wouldn't want to miss that on Christmas, would you? But we've got some views as well. I believe people have been getting in touch.
Yes, lots of you getting in touch. This is from Peter, who says, in the religion that I was born in, we do not celebrate Christmas, but I do enjoy the time off. I watch films and especially watch GB News. Well, thank you very much, Peter, for choosing us, even though you don't celebrate Christmas, but we're glad you're enjoying the coverage anyway. John says, good morning, guys. It's nice to see your happy faces live this morning. I still haven't made it to bed. I've been up all night wrapping presents for the family.
Wrapping presents? Yeah. Sorry, I'm going to be... That's not going to wash with me, mate. You're right. Hang on a second. You can't kid a kidder. Who was that?
John.
Right, John. Right. We all know the truth, John. No. You haven't been up all night wrapping presents, mate.
John's been working hard.
OK, whatever.
He's hoping to get a quick nap before the kids wake up. Possibly wishful thinking. Have a great day, guys. Well, Merry Christmas to you, John. And hopefully you got all those Christmas presents wrapped. It takes time. You wouldn't know because you didn't finish your shopping.
No, I didn't finish my shopping. But I think, you know, for me, I'm bringing the gift of myself to my family. I know, all right? Yeah, all right. Anyway, look, loads of you have been getting in touch. Thank you very, very much. I am reliably informed that at some point there might actually be some pictures that you've sent in. We have asked for it a few times. Christmas trees, pets, etc. Hopefully, they will be coming your way very shortly.
Yes, I'll just share one more here. Sarah says, morning, Ellie and Patrick. Thank you for starting my day in a positive way. I've recently moved down a few doors down from my two gorgeous grandsons. Currently waiting for the message to say they are up, and then I can go around and watch them unwrap their gifts from Santa. How lovely. And that's from Sarah. So, Sarah, I hope that they wake up soon and you can go have a lovely Christmas morning with your grandsons. But Merry Christmas to you, and do keep them coming in.
Keep them coming in, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you're having a wonderful Christmas, whatever it is that you're doing. But yes, well, we've got loads coming your way. OK, all right. I believe that we have another clip now of one of my challenges from Friday Night Feast, and I think this is me committing a robbery.
Yeah, he did a pretty good job, for a newbie. He was really good.
Yeah, and he bonded with Lilo at the end.
Made it work.
Yeah. Right, everyone, if we just grab the leads and we're going to walk the goats out now. We're missing one?
Guys, right, look, I know this isn't right, OK? I know this isn't right, but I've fallen in love with Lilo. We're off to a rocky start. I thought Lilo wanted to kill me at one point.
Patrick, come back with Lilo!
No, back off, I'm having her. Come on. Come on, Lilo. Come on, Lilo. Come on. We're breaking you out of here. I've only got a one-bedroom flat, but I'll let you sleep on the sofa. Come on! Freedom!
I'm Mark Dolan. Join me at 11 on GB News for Headliners, in which I'll be joined by two of the UK's top comedians discussing tomorrow's papers. If it's an important story, we'll cover it, but we'll have some fun along the way. Headliners, the late-night paper review that won't send you to sleep like the others will. 7 nights a week at 11 p.m. on GB News.
Hello, I'm Michelle Dewberry, and you can join me every weekday 6 till 7 on Jubes and Kerr. Me and my panel will get stuck right into the day's events, and I can tell you, in fact, I can warn you, expect some robust debates, some strong opinions and perspectives from both sides of the fence. It's about you at home as well. I love to read out all of your comments, or at least as many as I can. So join me, Michelle Dewberry, Monday to Friday, 6 till 7 on Jubes and Kerr.
I'm Mark White. As GB News Home and Security Editor, I cover those key issues that are so important to you. Our authorities, our communities doing all they can to combat violent crime. With the public services under unbearable strain, why are we still failing to control our borders? Defence, the first priority of any government, has been continually hollowed out. Can we trust our politicians to protect the armed forces? Join me, Mark White, on GB News.
We are GB News, the People's Channel.
And right across the United Kingdom.
You can find us on Sky Channel 512,
Virgin Media Channel 604,
Freesat Channel 216,
Freeview Channel 236,
and YouView Channel 236.
You can also take us with you on DAB+ radio,
with the GB News app and at the website gbnews.uk.
We're absolutely everywhere.
Come join us on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Welcome back, everybody. Happy Christmas. You're watching and listening to Breakfast with Patrick and Ali.
And you've been sending us more pictures of your Christmas Day celebrations, your trees and your pets. We're going to share some with you now. This is from Tom, who says, good morning and Merry Christmas. Here's a picture of my tree. We're just having a quick look here, Tom. Now, what's that on the top?
I'm not sure. So the issue is, right, is we've got very small screens here, so
we have to kind of squint, don't we? Is it a lunchbox?
I can't see what that is. It's Bruce Willis in Die Hard. Very obviously, duh. Right, OK, well done. That might be tree of the day so far.
So good.
You know what I did? I thought, because it's really far away, this TV screen. I was like, just look a little bit like. But I was like, I've not got the bottle to actually say it. Anyway, right. Good morning, Merry Christmas. He says, here's a picture of my tree, which includes, of course, Bruce Willis off of Die Hard. Now then. We've got you on there, Ali. Now then, Vanessa says, Merry Christmas, here's a picture of my cats and my Christmas tree. Again, I'm not sure whether or not I'm losing it here, don't. But is that a tree behind a tree? Have you wallpapered your house to look like a Norwegian forest? I mean, that is effort. No, well done, Vanessa. What? She has. I've not gone mental, have I? She has done that. Well done, Vanessa.
I think that's exactly what she's done.
That is effort.
It's a Norwegian fir pine.
You know that Vanessa's probably got a husband who just at least at this time every year he goes, you know what? It's not worth the hassle. She's wallpapering the front room again. There she goes. Yeah, good stuff. Right, Rosie's been on. Rosie says, good morning, Ali and Patrick. Morning.
Oh, look!
Oh.
Wishing you a very Merry Christmas from Mark, Tara and Rosie.
You need to let us know who's who there,
yeah.
To be fair.
Oh, here's Jock again.
Jock again, still very angry. He looks like Vanessa's husband, doesn't he? Oh, she's putting the hat on me again.
Stop. Anyway, that's given us a good giggle. We've enjoyed that, so thank you. Please keep them coming in. Your pet pictures and your tree pictures. I'm enjoying your commentary.
I love it. I do a show all of this. Anyway, not to diminish, of course, the two cracking studio panellists that we have in the studio right now. Happy Christmas to all. Joining us now this morning is lawyer and futurist Andrew Eborn and author Rabina Khan. And you're going to take us through, so there's no papers today, but there is online news, right? Who wants to start? Ladies first.
Oh, all right, the cost of living.
No,
that'll bring us down.
Oh, I wish I hadn't done that now.
Happy Christmas.
I think Christmas Day is about celebration, and I think the Christmas Day today we should be celebrating all the volunteers and the charities out there, the food bank workers, people going out, and then particularly on this occasion that everyone deserves a Christmas appeal to Swansea, who have been distributing hampers, and these hampers have got, they're a value of about £50. They've got a roast in there, they've got roast potatoes, all the veggies to go in there, and I think when we think about cost of living, we also have to celebrate that unique sense of people coming together, communities coming together, people rallying together, and I think that's the spirit of Christmas. And that's
there's nothing that unites people more than a common enemy.
Yes.
And the cost of living crisis is a common enemy. If we re-look at the way we think about food, re-educate people, basically half the world's starving, but there's enough food to feed everybody. So look at food redistribution. I mentioned earlier the charity I'm involved with, UK Harvest, and others was about educating people about food. Lad Baby at number 1, talking about food banks, so people aware of it, so people can work out there is help out there. We are all in this together. We're on the same ocean, not on the same boat, but on the same ocean. Try and make people aware of what is possible, what help is there available at this time of year, I think is important.
Definitely. Andrew, let's have a look at quite an awkward exchange today, shall we?
Poor old Rishi. And you tend to find that the politicians like to get down with the people. They make inappropriate comments, and you can tell it's like from Theresa May dancing to Dancing Queen, all that sort of stuff. When they try and deal with ordinary folk, it doesn't always turn out very well. So this was an unfortunate exchange with Rishi. He went to a homeless centre, and basically it was an excruciating exchange, they said, because he was asking them if he's going to get into financial services when he visited the centre. And the man replied, said, would you like to get into that? He said, I wouldn't mind, but I don't know. I'd like to get through Christmas first. And it rather reminded me, I was saying, about the unfortunate exchange that Lady Sarah Hussey had. You might remember.
Susan.
Sarah was her sister. She had an even worse exchange. But Susan Hussey, you're right. The exchange that she had, asking, where are you from? And I always say it's about intention. If it's about what do they actually intend when they're trying to do this, they're trying to liaise with people and so on and so forth, it's ill-advised or maybe no advice at all. So learn the art of small talk, learn what you can say without putting your foot in it. I don't think Rishi intended to cause offence. It was naive.
I've got a feeling we might have a clip of it, do we? No, we don't. Well, I'll tell you what, that was wishful thinking.
Let's go back to Bruce Willis on the Christmas tree.
Yes, but I mean, it does sound a little bit like, look, you know, I don't want to sound like I'm bashing Rishi or anything like that, but I mean, that is an absolutely terrible question to ask at home. So, are you in business? Are you going to get into business? And it doesn't help when it comes to the idea that he's a bit out of touch, I think, does it?
Yeah, he's certainly out of touch, and I think he should remember the homeless man who died on the streets next to his dog in Hull. If you remember, he put his dog to bed the night before. It was outside Costa. In the morning, he was found dead. And I'm sure he must have read about this story, but it's the sensitivity in going to this place. And we talked about advising. Well, who were the advisors and why wasn't he briefed? And should he not have this understanding?
Does it need advising, though?
Well, for some people, I mean, for example, as we've had this discussion about Rishi Sunak in terms of his interaction, and some people are born into wealth. There is no, we don't, need to.
He wasn't born into massive wealth.
But it's the interaction of understanding the people that you have put this £2 billion household homeless budget forward. Well, who are the people? They are.
I do get that. The one thing I would say, just to counter it, is, everyone's capable of, a poor turn of phrase. Goodness knows I am. I mean, I've done at least 55 of them already today. But, everyone's capable of, a little bit of a faux pas. I'm not sure it necessarily translates as though he doesn't care or whatever, but it could do. Anyway, there we go. What else we got?
Well, I think, but just on that point very briefly, it detracted from the main message. And he was there to pledge $2 billion to tackle homelessness and rough sleeping over 3 years. That was the really positive thing on that sort of basis, which was a shame. In terms of other stories, we were talking about the King's speech and what's going to happen. This is going to happen about
ticking on the King's speech.
3 o'clock to make that make sense. It's happening very, very soon, isn't it? He'll be limbering up in St George's Chapel, which is an appropriate place because it's where both his mother and father laid to rest. It's the first King's speech we've had for over 70 years. And every time we talk about the King's speech, we're always reminded of the movie, the 2010 movie, which we were talking about in the Green Room, and that wonderful one with Colin Firth and Geoffrey Rush and that sort of side. What I particularly like, looking at the King's speech story, is the fact that the very first King's speech was written by the person who wrote The Jungle Book, Rudyard Kipling. And I always think, I'm the king, the king of the swingers. And they worked on that sort of basis. But it's going to be interesting. He will undoubtedly pay tribute to Her Majesty the Queen, who served us brilliantly throughout her life. In her very first Queen's speech, she praised her father, who died at a very tender age, and in her last Queen's speech, she praised her husband. I'm sure that Prince Charles will be doing the same about his mother.
Yeah, I think it's going to be very emotional for lots of people not seeing Her Majesty at 3 p.m. and seeing King Charles instead. It's certainly going to be different. Rubina, should we have a little look at our Santa tracker, see where Santa is in the world?
Is he still in Vegas?
Is he still in Vegas? That's the question. Let's have a look.
Where is he?
No, he's in Alaska. He's moved on. Look at top left-hand corner. Look, tells you where he is.
I just thought your map knowledge was incredible. Ellie, you just got to show her any map at any time. She knows exactly where it is.
Okay. Santa's probably delivered all his presents, and all the families are waking up now to getting ready for Christmas dinner. They'll have Christmas lunch at 2 o'clock. Get ready for the King's speech. But it's really interesting, though, the number of people who are going to watch the Christmas films. I think there should be a tracker as to what films are going to be watched. And I'm reminded of Scrooge. And the Christmas Carol, all of those really traditional films.
Yeah.
And
Is that your favourite Christmas film?
I think it's because I was brought up in Kent. I was brought up in Rochester, so the Dickens Centre was just round the corner, the Dickens High Street. And I remember growing up, and my brother used to dress up as a chimney sweep, and we were part of one of the Scrooge's, the stories of Dickens. And I think that at that time you just have that feeling, and I think Christmas Carol, Scrooge, those are things that
It's
make
a Wonderful
Christmas.
Life. It's got to be one of the
That's my favourite.
ever.
I haven't watched
it. That's my favourite.
Oh, you must watch it. I took the whole family. I hired a cinema with the most glorious thing, the plumpest possible cushions that you could have, espresso martinis on the side. and we watched it. You will weep through that movie. It's one of the most touching movies you will ever see, and it's a message for our time about when you're on your lowest possible point, there is hope out there. And the difference that you will make to the world is tremendous. Go and watch it.
It's a classic. It's an absolute classic, isn't it?
It's an absolute classic. It really, really is. I believe that is time on that paper review, even though there's no papers. But thank you very much for your time. Joy to have you. Rubina, Andrew, thank you very much. Are you with us next hour? Do we have another hour?
I hope so.
I think you are. Yes.
Fingers crossed.
See you soon.
Yeah, absolutely. Unless they go on strike, everyone else is. Right, OK, now, one of the UK's youngest imams, Saba Ahmedi, and his wife, Melissa, will have travelled today to Manchester to celebrate Christmas with her parents.
Yes, Saba was raised as a Muslim, but his wife, Melissa, grew up in a non-religious family and converted to Islam 10 years ago.
Well, the couple believes that spending Christmas with Melissa's parents is an important gesture to their interfaith family.
Well, joining us now is Saba Ahmedi to tell us his story. Saba, welcome to the show. Thank you so much for joining us. So tell us about your plans for today.
So we travelled to Manchester a few days ago to spend Christmas Day with my in-laws. It's a celebration which they do, and I partake in their happiness. So today, my kids and Melissa have already gone to her parents' house because obviously the house got to be quiet, otherwise you would have had kids jumping all over me. But today's plan is to go over there, have Christmas lunch with them, and then swap presents, and it'll be a really nice time to have family come together. And what happens at Christmas Day, which is really nice, is my in-laws invite my parents over on Christmas Day, and then on Eid Day, when we have Eid, my parents invite my in-laws over here, and then we have Eid together. So it's really nice to have both families together at such a special time for each family. So that's the plan for today. As soon as the interview's done, I'll head over there to their house.
Oh, that sounds lovely. It's so nice that you can get those common themes in your celebrations, so togetherness and family and love. How do you explain to your children? How do they know what's going on, and how do you say, this isn't our religion, but this is something that we're doing today? How does that work?
Yeah, so obviously my children are raised in a Muslim household, but it's really important for me that they know what their grandparents do and what they celebrate and what's important to them. So, of course, in our house, we pray together, we read the Holy Quran, we go to the mosque regularly for prayers. So that education of Islam is there. But also when my in-laws come over, they know that they're not Muslim and they do certain things a different way. So it's nice to have that set up in my own house. But when they go to their grandparents' house, Nanny and Grandpa's house, then they know things are done a little bit different.
Saba, what do you take from Christmas?
So for me, a massive part of Christmas or the day of Christmas itself is within the community itself, we look out for those individuals who might be struggling. So this year, AMYA, the Ahmadiyya Muslim Youth Association, we've partnered with Maria Curie, and we've allowed people to nominate individuals who they think might be struggling or going through a tough time, cost of living and whatever. And we've prepared hampers to give to people in the UK today, spread over 22 different regions. And in that hamper, as we can see on screen, there'll be candles, food, toiletries, toys even, depending on who has nominated the individual, whether it's a child or an adult. So really, it's an integral part of Islam, is looking after the community and your neighbours. So that's something I'll be part of today. And I'm really excited to see people happy and spending time with their family and putting a smile on someone's face who might be going through a tough time during this festival.
Absolutely. Well, that's great stuff, Saba. Now, a little bit, slightly off topic. I can't help but notice that you're in Manchester. As soon as this show is over... Well, actually, that's not quite true. I've got to do another show after that. But then, want to. But then I'm coming to Manchester. Whereabouts are you?
It doesn't matter. I'm going to DM you. You've got to DM me. Let's go for a coffee. Yeah. Let's make it happen. When you come to the north, I feel like just the world is so much easier and so much chill. So
it's quieter, that's for sure, yeah.
And let's connect, and I'll see you on this side of the world.
Hey, good guy. There you go. Fantastic stuff. Well, keep up the good work. Great to hear from you, Saba. Thank you very, very much. And, yes, I hope you and your family have a wonderful day. Thank you very,
Yes. Enjoy your day, Saba. Thank you for coming on. Oh, what a lovely man.
Yeah, it's very nice.
Yeah, nice.
Very nice.
No, it's nice that he still takes something from Christmas.
Yes.
Together with his kids.
Well, you see, the thing is, when you asked that, what do you take from Christmas? And I thought, actually, what do I take? It's just presents and food. I mean, I'm religious, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But it made me think, even though that is my religion, actually, I'm very much a taker, although I'm an only child. And that really shows, by the way, in my personality, but also just the way I open presents.
The way you conduct yourself.
The way I conduct myself, and but also just the way I open presents, because I just do the very typical... I did it the other night. Well, for a start, I opened all my presents before Christmas.
Yes, you
so
did.
there's that,
That's true.
right? And then on top of that, the way I open them is I unwrap it, I look at it for a minute, go, that's nice, drop it, and just move on to the next one.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
See, I'm very theatrical with my present opening, which probably doesn't surprise you. And you have to do a big, oh, my gosh, this is amazing, thank you so much, even if you hate it.
Even if you hate it.
Yeah. Do you want to know the worst present I've ever had?
Desperately.
I thought you would. So this is about, 12 years ago, whenever the BlackBerry phones were huge. When was that?
Yeah.
A long time ago.
Yeah.
Anyway, I asked my mum for a BlackBerry phone for Christmas. She gave me a box. And then that box became another box, and I was ripping off all these layers. It was like one of those Russian dolls that just gets smaller and smaller and smaller. And there was no phone to be had, but what she'd given me was a little BlackBerry, like an actual...
Did you think it was funny, or did you think
it
that's
was really funny? And I did have a cry. Yes.
And actually, that crushed you, didn't it?
It did crush me, yeah.
Anyway, happy Christmas, one and all. More pictures have been pouring in of Christmas trees and pets.
Here's Jane's horse. Bandit.
What?
This is Bandit. That's his
We've
Santa
hit the
hat.
time of the show where people are sending in horse pics.
Oh, no, look, that's so cute. That's his Santa hat on Bandit. And Jane is actually directing the show right now, just so you know. So an extra special thank you.
And I'm just hearing, actually, that horse belongs to a woman who works in the gallery just behind us here, apparently. Apparently that's her horse.
That's what I just said, Patrick. That's what I just said.
Is that right?
Yes.
Is it? Sorry, it's hard for me to hear you when the lady whose horse it is keeps talking in my ear whilst I'm on the telly. Right. It's Joe, the producer's dad here. Here are Paul's fur baby. Oh.
Timmy and Frankie.
Timmy and Frankie. There you go.
Who are fine, thanks for asking. Oh, dear. Did we not ask how Timmy and Frankie were?
OK, all right. It's got weird, this show, hasn't it? It's got weird quick. Gary and Jeanette say,
wow, look at that.
Morning, Ellie and Patrick. Here's a photo of our dog Bounty getting in the festive mood, and he enjoys watching GB News. A dog of impeccable taste. She enjoys. Sorry, I misgendered your dog. Right. Craig says, my tree is too big this year. My vegetables are prepped. We have a choice of beef or chicken and Yorkshire pudding mix prepared in the fridge. Oh, we've lost it. Sorry, everybody. Ellie and I have absolutely lost it, I'm afraid. Thank you very much for all of your pictures.
The reason why he's saying that is because you said you can't believe anyone's prepping this early. So he's telling you Look, the menu. Oh, he's prepping.
You're prepping. Well done. Well done.
It's been prepped in the fridge. Oh dear, you're all making me laugh.
I cannot wait for my Christmas dinner. Oh my days.
We're delirious, aren't we? This is a nice one from Lindsay. Lindsay's emailed us and said, "Happy Christmas, GB News. Tuning into you has been one of the best things I've done all year. Maybe not today."
Maybe not today. Right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for yet another challenge, Christie's. Now this time. Well, this time I actually did almost kill myself.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I did. I did. And this is the reason why we now have a bloke called Colin who does our health and safety.
Yeah.
This is lawnmower racing, mate. Start the race. Let's have it! Yes! Oh! Yes! Oh! Yeah, I'm fine. Right, so I think we can all agree that there was only one winner in that race, and it wasn't me. But
we are GB News, and we'd like to say thank you to each and every one of you for bringing us your conversations, for helping our great nation find its voice. We are here for you on radio, television, and online, across England, Scotland, Wales, and Northern Ireland.
It's not the BBC, you actually get your facts right.
We are proud to be GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Monday to Thursday, 9 p.m. till 11 p.m. Join me, Dan Wootton. I'll bring you the sharpest takes and hottest debates. Do you not believe in prison?
I don't believe in prison.
I'm completely stunned. I guarantee you there'll be no spin, no bias, no censorship.
I actually was personally quite offended by it.
And no reason to go to bed. So I guess they've always been quite woke. That's Dan Wootton tonight on TV, radio and online. Monday to Thursday from 9 p.m. till 11 p.m. on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Hello there, it's Eamon Holmes here from Breakfast on GB News. We're not just on your television and your screens, We're
on DAB plus digital radio, so you can listen to your favourite shows on the move.
If you've not yet listened to GB News Radio, it's very simple. We're on your radio player and tune-in apps, on your smart speaker, phone or tablet, or online at gbnews.uk.
Take us with you wherever you go. GB News Radio.
You never have to miss a moment of the People's Channel.
Join me every Sunday at 6 p.m. for Gloria Meets. In exclusive interviews, I'll be finding out who our politicians really are and what they really think.
It's something that you would never want anyone to suffer.
I didn't know what channels there were. I didn't think I'd be believed.
I must have weighed about 7 stone and I'm 5'8".
My instincts was to sort of cover this up. I mean, clearly that was a mistake.
Join me every Sunday at 6 p.m. on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Merry Christmas, everyone. Santa's been busy overnight. Now, some of his elves are delivering a breakfast show to be proud of.
Yes, absolutely. This is what award-winning TV looks like, ladies and gentlemen. You might not think it, but it is. Anyway, good morning. It is... What time is it? 9 o'clock. There you go. On Christmas Day. Anyway, this is your Christmas Day breakfast with me, Patrick Christie's, and Ellie Costello. Right, shall we get cracking with some of your top stories? Serious faces. Go on.
Yep, these are your top stories this morning. Celebrating a life in service, King Charles will reflect on the loss of his mother and her legacy when he gives his first Christmas message today. And in a return to festive tradition, the royal standard will fly high above the family's Sandringham estate.
Yes, indeed. Right, and how expensive has Christmas been for you? With many people being plunged into debt and facing rising energy costs, this year may not have been as affordable as the last. But we will be speaking to an economist about this a little bit later on in the show. Also, look, people, we need a bit of help from you on this. Well, there's some stuff there about Christmas dinner. Yep, great stuff. But I want to know your best and worst presents. Look, you probably already opened some presents now, I would imagine.
I would hope so,
or given out some absolutely terrible ones. And it's that time of the show. Help us out a little bit here. Send them in, your best and worst presents, GBNews.uk.
Yes, and we're also going to be talking about the Christmas dinner and how nutritious it can be. The festive period can be a season on healthy eating, but perhaps we can make a few small changes to still enjoy the fun, but maybe to be a little bit healthy as well. More on that a little bit later.
No, I'm sorry, I refuse. I refuse. Stack it high. Stack the plate. Anyway.
Having said that, look, this is what I'm nibbling on behind my mug.
Yes. Well, Aidan McGee has gone to what would you say? Effort? Is it effort?
Yeah.
To make us rice cakes. So thank you very much, Aidan. Right. Anyway,
and
you too can send food.
You can't see that, but it's a label that says Ellie. Sorry.
Right. As ever, you can join our discussions. Email in if you really want to. gbviews@gbnews.uk. I do hope you're all having a wonderful Christmas, everybody. Right. And can I just say a massive thank you to Mark. Mark has sent in picture of the day so far. We're going to get it on your screens in a matter of moments, a little bit. It is his dog in the pub drinking a pint.
Stop.
The best of British.
Brilliant.
Well done.
Merry Christmas, everyone. And now our top story. King Charles will make his first annual Christmas speech today.
Yes, indeed. Right, OK, so it will mark the first occasion in which a king delivers a televised Christmas message. And we can speak very shortly to our royal reporter, Cameron Walker. Yes, happy Christmas, Cameron. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. Merry Christmas to both of you.
Oh, Merry Christmas, Merry Christmas. I hope Santa brought everything that your heart desired. But what's going on then? It's going to be King Charles's maiden Christmas speech, yes?
It will be, yes. It was recorded on the 13th of December, so last week, in the choir at St George's Chapel in Windsor. Now, that's very significant because that is where the late Queen Elizabeth II, was laid to rest just 3 months ago with her late husband, Prince Philip. So it's particularly poignant for the king and the royal family. I think this shows that perhaps in this speech, a lot of it is going to be dedicated to the life and legacy of his late mother. We've seen an image actually released of his speech that happened yesterday, and he stood up as well. Now, the late Queen, in the last few speeches she did in her during her reign, she was sat behind a desk, but in decades gone past, she was very much stood up as well. So King Charles is wanting to perhaps portray that he's energized and sprightly and ready for his new role as king. There's also a Christmas tree behind him, and all of the decorations on it, I've been well informed, are sustainable. So it's lots of lots of paper, lots of glass. There's also pine cones and natural materials as well. So lots going on there. I think he'll also be very mindful of the cost of living crisis. He has made a personal donation over Christmas to a fuel poverty charity, helping those with the cost of living crisis and bills. So I'm sure that perhaps will also feature. And of course, it's being broadcast right here on GB News at 3 p.m. today.
Cameron, can I just say, happy Christmas, obviously, and what our viewers and our listeners won't realise is that we have the pleasure in the office of working with Cameron.
Yes.
Most days he's in, swanning around, doing his thing, and you are always absolutely impeccably turned out. And today, it's Christmas Day. I don't know where you are. I think it's at Brighton. Presumably your family's there or something. And you've suited up for us, mate. Well done. Fantastic. We'd expect nothing less. Well done, Cameron. All right, OK, thank you very much, Cameron. Great to go. And I hope you have a wonderful Christmas, anyway.
Oh, you've had enough, have you?
What, is that enough? I think we've got to move on, haven't we? Sorry, Cameron, I don't know what's going on, really. It's Christmas.
I was going to ask him about Sandra, but never mind.
Oh, well, we're supposed to. Get him back on.
Well, no, we'll ask Pandora, because Pandora Forsyth joins us in the studio now. She's the host of the Daily Express's Royal Roundup, and I'm glad you're here, because Patrick got...
I think I've gone mad. Sorry about this, everyone.
I had questions.
I can't even blame it. I've not even been drinking, you know?
Well, Panda, you look stunning.
Oh,
you look
thank you.
beautiful.
Happy Christmas.
Thank you.
You're a bit like Cameron, just always impeccably dressed.
Oh,
so
stop it.
maybe it's
Thank
something
you.
about a royal reporter. You just have to look beautiful all the time.
Maybe.
So the question I was going to ask Cameron before.
Sorry, everyone.
Patrick got rid of him. What are the royal family up to today? How are they celebrating?
Well, it's going to be a lavish royal family Christmas day. I think it's the first time they're all coming together at Sandringham after COVID. And of course, it's the first Christmas with a new king. So he wants to impress the family. Fair enough.
Yeah.
And also the fact that it's a new king and obviously the passing of the late Queen earlier in the year. She was so into her traditions, and he'll very much be wanting to do the same thing.
Yeah, absolutely. And I don't know about you, but I don't want to see them tone it down.
No,
I don't want to see it toned down.
I think they'll be careful about what they release to the public because obviously a cost of living crisis.
Yeah.
We can expect some kind of nod to that, same as Cameron said in the speech just previously at 3 p.m. But within the walls, I can expect it will be very lavish today.
Yeah.
But it's the royal family.
Of course, yes. And so who are we expecting to be up in Sandringham?
So obviously the new Prince and Princess of Wales, all of their children. The King's, are very much an open invite for the family to attend. You've obviously got the Wessexes there, you've got the Princess Royal, obviously her husband, their children. But even though it may seem quite large from the outside, in terms of where they'll actually stay over, they might be staying in different cottages and stuff throughout the royal estate. But Fergie has been invited officially this year, which is different actually, because she does get invited to some things, but not for the whole day in previous years. But she has been invited. So that's maybe a face that we might see at the Christmas service with Prince Andrew, but that's not been confirmed.
Quite a big gathering then, Pandora.
Indeed.
Let's have a look ahead to the King's speech then at 3 p.m. So we had a little bit of a preview there from Cameron. What are you expecting in terms of tone? Because it is going to be the balance, isn't it, of him kind of paving his own way, but also reflecting on the life of his mother.
So at the forefront will be his late mother. We can expect that theme throughout. There will most likely be a nod to everything that's happening in the world right now, the war, the cost of living crisis at home. You can expect that, and also we know that he's very much a religious man, like his mother, as well. So we can expect lots of references towards faith, and not just the Christian faith, lots of faiths within the UK, as we know that he's very much backing and supporting of that with all of his different events that he goes to.
Absolutely. Got to ask. I take it they might not be talking about Harry and Meghan?
No, I think that subject probably is the elephant in the room.
Yeah.
I don't think that's probably the best idea.
No.
I expect that within the speech, obviously, he'll talk about the family as a whole. He probably will do a personal mention to the Prince and Princess of Wales and perhaps his wife. But other than that, I don't expect...
Hope so, wouldn't you, if you were Camilla?
Yeah, well, I'd be fuming if I didn't get mentioned, if that was my husband.
Yeah. He does have quite an outpouring of love, though, doesn't he, for Harry and Meghan? I mean, any opportunity he's had so far, he's always said they are loved members of the family. So do you think we'll expect that sort of thing today as well?
I don't think he actually will mention them specifically. I think he'll talk about the family as a whole. This was filmed on December 13th. So this was before the release of the 3 episodes. Later on, and there's also a book in January. So I think he has to play this quite carefully.
Yeah.
Should we talk about the Christmas Carol service, which I believe was last night?
Yes.
Some of the papers are calling Kate the perfect princess. Others are saying that Charlotte stole the show. What happened last night?
It was a very, very sweet service. I'm guessing you guys both watched it.
Yeah.
I've seen
I was gripped.
Very good, very good. Do your research.
They did the thing with the singing, didn't they? And it was Christmas and it's royals. Yeah, go on.
Yeah. So it was very sweet. We had a nice appearance from Craig David in there.
Oh, really?
Which was nice. Have yourself a very merry little Christmas, which was sweet. We also had a choir from a Ukrainian school in London as well. Again, a nod to what's been happening this year. I also spotted Dame Deborah's husband and their children there. So lots of people there who they've spoken about this year, and kind of reflecting on the past year. And we also saw all of the senior members of the royal family there together. So yes, it was nice. It was very Christmassy, peaceful, cute ceremony. Nothing too much of note, though.
And it's so nice to see them together and to see that togetherness after such a difficult year for the royal family, not only losing Her Majesty, but then obviously the Harry and Meghan
saga.
series, saga. It's an ongoing, it's been a difficult time.
It's very much shown a united front. And they're very much trying to keep that message going throughout, I think. So we can expect that as well today. A united front, everybody happy at Christmas. Let's put this quite difficult year at times, but also moments of great celebration with the Platinum Jubilee. Yes, we can expect
I think a lot of people might be quite happy to see the back of 2022, actually.
I think it was on the back end of the pandemic as well. So I think this year's been really tough.
feel
and the
ready.
cost of living crisis as well. It's just been really tough.
I think we're ready for the next chapter as a country.
I think they would be in agreement.
Yes.
Here's to a better year next year.
Indeed.
Thank you very much, by the way, for giving up a bit of your Christmas day to come here, hang out with me.
Thank you for having me.
You look beautiful, Pandora.
Thank
you so much
Thank
coming
you
in
so
and
much.
joining us on your Christmas day. Merry Christmas.
Thank you. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. Have a good rest of day. Right, OK. Well, more than 100,000 Ukrainian refugees have come to the UK since the war began, and many will be celebrating Christmas abroad, away from family and friends.
Yes, Moscow said there was no prospect of a Christmas ceasefire after nearly 10 months of fighting. For the Ukrainians who suddenly had to call the UK home, many are desperately trying to hold on to their culture and traditions over this festive period, as Alice Porter reports.
We put it in the water. For Ksenia, Christmas is usually a time for family to come together. But after fleeing the war in Ukraine 7 months ago, this year it will just be her and her mum.
At Christmas, all the family gets together. It's like tradition. But now I think its tradition will be maybe only by video call if it will be electricity in Ukraine.
Having lost her brother and cousin in the war, Ksenia says she's just grateful to be alive.
You have no money or, I don't know, some credits. It's just so small things when you understand that you have the peace in your country. You have healthy, close people that you really love. Your mother, your father, your brother, your friends. You're not texting anybody with the question, how are you? Are you alive?
Now, you're Eastern Orthodox, so you'll be celebrating Christmas on the 7th of January. Traditionally, what does Christmas look like to you?
There's have to be like 12 dishes, like this 12 disciples. It's meat with fish. It's a lot of like conserve this food, like these vegetables.
Ksenia and her mother Victoria made me some traditional Ukrainian food to get into the festive spirit.
It's a Ukrainian dish named sirniki, similar to pancakes if cottage cheese is released. Oh gosh.
Food is one of the many ways which Ukrainians are expressing their culture abroad. Refugees in Budapest have been performing traditional dances outside the parliament. But for those still in Ukraine, Christmas trees are defiantly being put up in Kyiv. Andrei Detia is a local resident.
A Christmas tree? Actually, it's just a small piece of joy for our people, even in such sad, dark times. It's powered by a generator, which shows us all that the war continues, that there are power cuts. But the Russians will not be able to take away our holiday.
Despite losing family to the conflict, Ksenia is defiant that the Ukrainian spirit will prevail.
Yeah, it's war, it's terrible, it's really terrible. But from other hand, we're still alive. We still have the small fire in the hearts because it's the most important thing, to save this fire, even if it's terrible. And I think it's one of the most important things to our people.
OK, let's bring you up to date with what else is going on today.
Well, a manhunt is underway in Merseyside after a woman was shot dead in a village pub in Wallasey. 3 men were also taken to hospital with gunshot wounds after the incident at the Lighthouse Inn on the Wirral. That was just before midnight, and sadly the woman was later pronounced dead.
Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has offered a defiant message of hope to his people this Christmas, vowing to never back down as his nation remains under siege from Russia. Hours before Zelensky's address, delivered precisely 10 months on from the start of the invasion, 10 people were killed and 55 were injured in Kherson city as a result of Russian shelling.
Yes, indeed. Now, at least 28 people have died in the US as the country grappling its brutal winter storm. Blizzard conditions have left almost 500,000 homes and businesses without power. More than 3,000 flights were cancelled, and that was on Saturday, with some airports closed. New York's governor has declared a state of emergency as the state is being battered by hurricane-strength winds. Gosh.
The Prime Minister has been urged to drop the two-child benefit cap to lift thousands of families out of poverty. Currently, households with more than 2 children and where universal credit or child tax credit is claimed no longer receive additional funds.
Yes, indeed. And the Duke and Duchess of Sussex have dismissed an apology by The Sun for a column by Jeremy Clarkson as nothing more than a PR stunt. A spokeswoman for the Duchess said that the newspaper had not contacted her to apologise for the column published last weekend, which has become the most complained about on record ever, which actually I think is quite an achievement. Receiving more than 20,000 complaints. No, you don't think it's an achievement? Fair enough.
A leading charity says demand for its pet food banks is growing amid the rising cost of living. The Edinburgh Dog and Cat Home supplies pet food banks around Scotland and helps those who find themselves in pet poverty. It helps more than 2,000 dogs and cats monthly with supplies.
Oh. Yes, people, it's picture time because more pictures have been coming in the last half hour. By the way, I've got the inbox in front of me here so I can see everything that comes in, and there are some absolute corkers in here. Let's see what our team have cherry-picked for us. What's this, then? So here's Linda's special Christmas decoration. Now, Linda, again, I want to emphasise that we are actually, despite being on TV, very far away from anything that looks like a TV. So from where I'm sitting... That looks like a Santa on a Union Jack cushion.
It does, yes.
Yeah.
GBNews. Very on brand.
Very on brand.
Is that a gold Bible? Or is that just something I'm saying?
Why not?
Gold...
Why not?
It's presents.
I mean, it might be a gold Bible, but that is a present.
It is a present, right. Next up, we've got...
Calvin got it for them.
Yeah. Next up, we've got Geraldine. This is her dog. We don't have a name for him. And that's his Santa hat. Very, very cute.
Oh, my God, that's a good little cutie.
It's the dogs in the Santa hats. It's very, very cute.
Absolutely. Nikki's been on. Nikki says, morning, Patrick and Ellie. And all the team, I've just unwrapped my first Christmas present from the best boyfriend ever.
Very nice.
Good stuff.
Love that.
There we go.
We've got the same here.
Well, there you are.
Same stuff.
I hate to break it to you, but maybe we have the same boyfriend because mine got me one as well.
We all have the same
there you
boyfriend.
go.
Yeah.
I don't know. No, maybe. Anyway, there we go.
How do you get that? Are they on the website? Is that how people get them?
We've got a GB News shop.
Do we? Well,
yeah.
There you go.
You can buy merch if you really want to. I should have told you all this before Christmas. It would have flown. In fact, we actually should have done that before Christmas. I don't know why we didn't, but...
Nice plug, though. I'm glad you got it in. So we do have a shop.
Yes, indeed. Right, OK. Neil's been on. Why not? Neil shared a photo of 2-year-old Welsh collie. Says, Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. Well, Merry Christmas to you as
he's
well.
next to the Nutcracker. That is so cute. That is lovely. And Molly Chorley from Lancashire says, Merry Christmas. Yay, look at that.
Excuse me, sorry. Yes,
Wonderful.
that is a cutie. And the dog's all right as well. Hey, there you go. Sorry. No, all right, whatever.
Go.
It's been a long day.
Honestly,
It's been a long day.
It's not even been that long.
No, it's not.
And you've still got longer to go, my friend.
Oh, I do. Right, OK.
Keep it coming in, though. We're enjoying that.
Keep it coming, people. Keep it coming.
Keep it coming.
I did especially enjoy the tweet that you read out earlier, which is just from someone that just says, this show is chaos.
This show is absolute chaos.
Absolute chaos.
Which it is. Christmas chaos. But anyway, it's part of the fun, isn't it? You know, like how Christmas is just quite chaotic anyway as a holiday. Like when the family comes together, it's just chaos. That's like us on this show. We're just kind of... That's the theme we're running with, so...
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. We're just going to go with it. Right, OK, well, how expensive has Christmas been for you? Well, with high energy bills and surging food costs, with 26% of people We'll be starting the new year in debt, apparently. Some people this Christmas will have struggled to afford Christmas presents or even their Christmas dinner.
Yes, we're joined now by Vicky Price, who's the Chief Economic Advisor at the Centre for Economic and Business Research. Vicky, first of all, Merry Christmas to you.
Merry
Thank you for joining us on your Christmas morning. So tell us how the cost of living has affected people's Christmases this year.
Well, the first thing to say is Merry Christmas to you too. I have been listening to your show now because I've been kept on for a while, and I had a smile on my face continuously. So well done. But you haven't said that I'm impeccably dressed, as you told others. So I'm really upset about
Wow. Strap yourselves in. I'm just going to have a look at the monitor now. You are impeccably dressed. Impeccably dressed. Well done.
Absolutely.
Well done.
For Christmas. Special effort for you two. But yes, it is a very expensive Christmas. There's no doubt about that. And it will be interesting, though, to see whether people are spending less, because the data for December suggests that people haven't gone out to the shops, and we've seen retail confidence improving. We've seen actually the output data that comes from the services sector doing quite well in December. It's not doing fantastically well, but it's doing slightly better than it did in November and in October. So obviously people have been holding off making any purchases until the very end. And of course, then we thought that due to the strikes, the rail strikes, people were just not going to go and shop, and maybe they did it, of course, by ordering things online. But we've had the strikes from Royal Mail as well. So one was beginning to wonder whether any of this would happen. But the data that's coming out suggests that perhaps December wasn't bad, and people have been buying the presents that they want to buy for their people that they really love. But of course, there is no doubt that there is a lot less money around. Cost of living issues are important. Real wages over the last year have fallen by something like 3%, just under 3%. It means that your incomes have suffered. And of course, looking ahead, taxes are also going up. And that is a problem, of course, for many households where the disposable incomes will be reduced over the coming year.
And Vicky, one of the most startling things in that introduction there was that 26% of people will be starting 2023 in debt. That's a really worrying figure, isn't it?
Yes, of course, very low interest rates have encouraged that. We've got to bear in mind, it isn't just here, it's happened everywhere. That debt increased very significantly during the COVID period, both on the public sector side and also private sector side, and loads of businesses which now find themselves in difficulty because, of course, interest rates have been going up, and they have accumulated a lot of debt, which was either given with lots of guarantees by the government, or they were feeling quite confident to borrow more because interest rates were so low. And what we've seen in the last few months was quite unexpected because, of course, of the war in Ukraine, which sent input costs up and generally led to fight against inflation by the central bank. So it's not an easy time. It's not an easy period when you look ahead. And that's why most of the forecasts have been downgraded for the coming year. There's an interesting piece, though, about employment. There's still quite high employment going on right now. So unemployment rate is very low. And there is a big incentive now by the government to say we're going to ease some of those input costs, particularly staff shortage and wages going up, by encouraging all these people who've moved out of the labour force to come back in. Well, that's great. The only problem is that what we're looking at now is that employment intentions and recruitment intentions are slowing down. And so this isn't quite the right time to encourage lots of people to come back, but let's see if they're successful.
Vicky, really, really good to have you on the programme this morning. Thank you so much for spending your Christmas morning with us. What are your plans now for the rest of the day?
I have loads and loads of grandchildren, hugely old from my side. In fact, I have 11. So you can just guess.
Yes, you're going to be busy, aren't you? Lots of presents.
Lots of presents, yes, indeed. Well,
Lots
good
of chaos,
luck.
which we can relate to.
Thank
yes,
you.
Thanks,
absolutely.
Vicky. Brilliant to have you. Merry Christmas.
Bye-bye.
Good stuff. Well, we've got loads more to come, including the latest in sport with our favourite friend of the channel. It's Aidan McGee. But before that, oh gosh, here we go. Here's another one of my challenges. So I used to wish I got Friday Night Feast, so I used to get challenged all the time. And this one apparently is football. So take it away.
To show him up when we were taking penalties. So he thought, why don't I go in goal? We've got a slight issue because the bright orange of these gloves has been attracting wasps. OK, so we'll see that. But yeah, so you've scored how many penalties was it again, remind me?
47 out of 48.
only chance is to hope that you miss. He's so good at penalties.
Monday to Thursday nights on GB News. At 6, it's Deems & Co. 7 o'clock, Farage. At 8, join Mark Stein. And at 9, Dan Wootton Tonight, followed by Headliners. On TV, radio and online. This is GB News.
We are GB News, the People's Channel.
Why not take us home with you by visiting the GB News shop at gbnews.store. You'll find all the official merchandise, a really good present actually for yourself, your friends or your family.
We ship across the UK mainland at no extra cost. GB News, the People's Channel.
Here on GB News Live, we'll be keeping you in the picture, finding out what's happening across the country and finding out why it matters to you. We'll have the facts fast with our team of reporters and specialist correspondents. Wherever it's happening, we'll be there from 12 noon on TV, radio and online. GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Monday to Thursday on GB News, it's Bev Turner Today from 10 a.m. We're going to be here for you, our GB News family, to keep you up to date, but also make you smile.
The guy went from puberty to adultery.
And I can't wait to bring a few of my own opinions.
I have no time for cultural totalitarianism.
We'll engage in passionate, but always polite debate, with your thoughts and opinions at the centre of it all. Only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Hi there, it's Stephen and Anne.
At breakfast from 6 a.m, you'll always be caught up with everything you need to know, the latest headlines, opinions and debates.
We'll bring you the good news and the bad, but most of all, we're here for you.
Remember, send in your views and let us know what you would like us to talk about.
That's because we're your news channel. And every morning at 6 a.m, it's breakfast on GB News.
Welcome back. You are watching and listening to Breakfast with Patrick and Ellie. Merry Christmas to you.
Merry Christmas, everybody.
And Patrick just used that advert break just to give total disclosure to you, to eat your Christmas curry.
Yeah, well...
9:28 in the morning.
Yes, well, yes, all right. Well, my body clock's a little bit off, so someone microwaved a curry and I ate it. Sue me. Right.
Oh, was it good?
Yeah, it was spicier than I wanted, actually. And I am actually really battling against that and will be for a while, so there we go. Anyway, right, what is your favourite Christmas film? We've been asking GB News viewers, and this is what they told us.
Christmas film. Christmas film. I'm sorry, it doesn't really fall into the Christmas category, but I gotta say Die Hard.
The Nightmare Before Christmas.
Home Alone, definitely.
Home Alone. Miracle on the 30th, 34th, any one of them.
Oh. White Christmas. Elf. Yeah.
Is Die Hard a Christmas movie?
No.
Sorry, say it again.
Is Die Hard a Christmas film or not?
Die Hard?
What?
I don't think.
Seen Die Hard.
I don't think I have. Sorry.
Well, that just makes you happy to be British, doesn't it? It restores your faith in society, and you ask someone what their favourite Christmas film is, and they're just unable to answer it. But there we go.
What's your favourite Christmas film?
The Grinch.
The Grinch.
I like The Grinch. I just think it's funny. It's funny. It's nice. It's good. It's a good concept.
Yeah, no.
A Wonderful Life as well. A Wonderful Life, actually.
A Wonderful Life. See, I haven't read that. I haven't watched that. So I need to do so. I actually like Love Actually, and you're going to judge me for that. I know you will.
It's a good film.
You like it?
Solid film.
Oh, good.
Solid film.
Now, here's a man who's on TV a lot more than Noel Edmonds. It's Aidan McGee. He's here to talk us through the latest sports news. But first of all, what's your favourite Christmas film?
Let me think. I do like Love Actually. I watched it recently.
Yep.
The Holiday is my favourite. And if I could just get serious for a moment, I'm interested in The Holiday because the house came up for sale about 3 years ago. I was interested in this is
the one.
No, it was I believe it was in Surrey.
Oh, right.
600 grand.
Really?
I was quite surprised. I thought that's not bad value considering all the historical context. Now, when I watched it the other day, I started looking at the spec of the property and thinking, what do you actually get for your money? And then I realised it's probably only a 2-bedroom, so 600 grand is a bit of a rip-off, actually.
Yeah, I was about, as you started that, I thought, no, it's quite pokey.
Yeah, it is a little bit. It's probably a little bit of a Wendy house. In fact, when I went to Coronation Street many years ago and had a look down the cobbles, you actually look through the letterbox and it's not actually a house.
What?
Brookside, yeah, it's not actually a house. Yeah, it's just...
it's just a facade, isn't it?
Yeah, it is pretty much, yeah. There's not much behind it. You go to Brookside, for example, they filmed that entirely on location now, real cul-de-sac houses, red brick properties built in the early 80s for the purposes of that show. Yeah, you look fascinated.
Was Brookside or was it Crossroads? Crossroads was the one where when they slammed a door, the set would shake.
I think that was El Dorado, wasn't it?
Oh, maybe. There we go. Right, well, I think we can all agree this is gripping. But let's, just before I sneeze, let's do some sport, Aidan, and possibly get me out of vision as well.
Yeah, possibly, yeah. Look, Lionel Messi, we saw a huge performance from him during the World Cup. I think PSG, his club, looked at that and thought, here is a man who is still performing at the very, very highest level. Can we commit him to another contract? His contract currently expires, his present deal expires at the end of June of 2023. They're going to extend that to another year with the option of another year after that. He could be staying in Paris, Patrick, until he's 37. Can he still do it when he's 37? I'm not really sure. Cristiano Ronaldo will be there. You've got a tear in your eye. You're getting emotional about Messi staying at PSG.
Look,
that's incredible.
I'm an absolute mess. Not only have I started to come down with quite an aggressive cold, which you've got that to look forward to.
No, I had it last week. I gave it to you.
I've just eaten an incredibly spicy breakfast curry, and just before as well we had Pandora on, and I had a bit of an itch. I managed to scratch my eyeball, and to be honest with you, Aidan, Christmas can't end soon enough.
Really?
Yeah.
Even with me around?
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, listen. So Lionel Messi could stay at Paris. It looks like the offer is on the table. The deal was done in Qatar while he was at the World Cup because obviously Paris Saint-Germain are owned by the Qatari royal family. So he looks as if he's staying put. So we could enjoy him his talent for a bit more. It also gives him the option of staying there and possibly even winning a 5th Champions League. So every question when someone wins a World Cup like that, where's the hunger? There's a little bit of hunger still left there. I think he wants to win another Champions League with a different club because all his previous 4 have been with Barcelona.
Should we talk about Arsenal?
Yeah, why not? I mean, look, they're 5 points clear at the top of the league. Ellie, Christmas number ones, as we were told, 5 weeks ago, it seemed eons away with the World Cup on the horizon. But, yeah, 5 points clear. They haven't won the league since 2004. Can they do it this time? It depends on their belief, because they've been in this position a few times before, not necessarily recently, because obviously City and Chelsea have been very powerful, even Liverpool as well. So I just wonder whether the teams around them will be looking at their mentality and looking at how they faded away at the end of last season. But I think with another year, these players can really kick on now. But it depends whether they can replace Gabriel Jesus in January. You think they'll fall away, do you?
I think they'll fall away, but I think they've got no excuse not to spend big, though. Seriously, the question is who.
The problem is
because you could argue they should have brought in the likes of Aubameyang.
Yeah, absolutely. But sometimes I look at the teams at the top of that league and I think they can make money without actually signing players. And I wonder, where's the incentive for excellence? Because Arsenal are a cash cow financially. United are a cash cow. You could argue about United, your team. You could say, well, have they spent enough to compete with Manchester City in the last 5 years, given what they generate off the pitch? Where's the wisdom in spending 80 to 100, 150 million pounds in a striker when that could wipe out your profit for a season and he still might only get 5 more points and still finish second?
Yeah, no, I get that. I get that, absolutely. But I just think Arsenal, their fans will want some action, right? Because I don't think they're going to be able to rely on, and Nketiah's not the same as...
No, he's squad player, but also City have the squad. You know, they've got 8 games coming up in 3 and a bit weeks. It doesn't seem to matter that Calvin Phillips is going to be a little bit overweight because they've got lots of other players to compensate for him.
Sorry for Calvin Phillips, actually.
Fat shaming. Yeah, I called him Calvin Robinson yesterday when I was with Calvin Robinson.
Really?
He got a little...
call you out?
Yeah, he did a little bit, a little bit. I said, look, he's 6'4", Calvin Robinson, so I wasn't going to argue with him.
No.
And I thought if anyone fancies a player in January, then they might fancy a big man up front.
Big man up front, there you go. All right, good stuff. Thank you very much, Aidan.
Quickly, big day of racing tomorrow as well. Fontwell, Leopardstown, Kempton Park, Market Raisin, Wincanton. Huge day tomorrow. 7 races at each one. We've got the King George's as well, so keep an eye on that. No tips from me, though.
And just one quick word on your jumper, please, if people...
Yeah, Queen's Park Rangers. Bought it a few years ago. Love my club. I was born in the hospital next door to where we're sitting now, just a few feet away. Keeper's my local club, and that's why I wear it every Christmas.
Lovely stuff.
And I'll be making cocktails in a bit.
Woo.
Yes, apparently Aidan's going to be coming in and making cocktails for us, which will be lost on me, but I'm sure it'll be great fun.
I've got one for you as well, Pat.
Have you?
Yep.
Oh, and what's it called, Aidan?
I've got the Berries Royale, but I've also got the Magique, the Virgin Magique. That's MAGEE-K for Patrick.
Everyone's looked after.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Aidan. Thank you. Lots more to come. including what goes into making a delicious, nutritious Christmas dinner. But first, another one for the fans of the Friday night feast. Here is Patrick learning judo the hard way from Christina, his producer. Stay tuned.
One of your producers for you. We have got Christina, the producer. So, let's go. Just phone, please. I've had enough of him.
What? I can't do it. Hang on a second. I'm going to say, this is a stitch. This is how I get sacked, isn't it?
No, you're not throwing her. She's throwing you.
Oh, have a day off, mate.
Oh, so, remember what I taught you, okay? She already knows one of the techniques, okay?
How?
What do you mean
Because
how?
you was late.
Because you was late. You know how to land in all situations.
Yeah.
Good luck.
No, this can't be right, surely.
Every morning from 6 o'clock, we'll wake you up with GB News Breakfast with all the stories you didn't know from the night before.
So whether it's serious news, entertainment, or your own views from all over our great nation, we're here to kick off your day with a smile.
The national media should be reflecting and reporting what's happening here. You will notice the northwestern accents.
Whether you're with us on TV, radio, or online, every morning, it's breakfast from 6 a.m. Hope you can join us.
We are GB News, right across the nation. You can get us on television, on radio, on digital. We're absolutely everywhere.
Amazing! You see, amazing!
You remind me of me in the European Parliament. But here's the most important bit. We are not part of the mainstream establishment. We think and speak just like you do. We are the People's Channel.
Magnificent. That's really, really thoughtful.
Come and join us on GB News, the People's News Channel.
My name's Tom Harwood and join me 9:30 a.m. every weekday for The Briefing, your one-stop shop for everything you need to know about what's going on in politics today.
I wonder if this is a deal that might need to be like the biscuits in this factory, twice baked.
Is there not an opportunity here to win out against the extremes?
Tom Harwood, GB News.
What are you going to do about it?
Things should have been done differently, and they certainly are being done differently.
Don't miss it. The Briefing with me, Tom Harwood, 9:30 Monday to Friday on GB News.
Join me, Nana Akue, Saturday and Sunday afternoons on GB News. Expect fiery debate and passionate discussion as me and my panel tackle some of the biggest topics hitting the headlines. It's a place for everyone's opinion. No one gets cancelled, but no one gets an easy ride.
Oh, she's on it today!
Be ready for conversations that are fierce, frank, and of course, fun. Every Saturday and Sunday afternoon from 4 p.m. on GB News, the People's Channel.
Hey, happy Christmas, everybody. Welcome back. You're watching and listening to Breakfast with me, Patrick and Ellie.
Now, lots of you have been getting in touch, showing us your Christmas trees, your prep, your Christmas pets as well. Steve from Bracknell has been in touch. He says, hi, I've got you guys on the TV as usual. Sadly, we lost our dog Max 4 weeks ago, so we have a little remembrance plaque on the tree. Happy Christmas, everyone at GB News. Oh, that's so sad, isn't it? The loss of a dog is honestly one of the worst things. Yeah. Especially at Christmas. Do you like dogs?
I like dogs. I love dogs, yes.
Oh.
I used to do a feature on Friday Night Feast where we tried to rehome a rescue dog. Dog of the week. And we managed to get one done just in time for Christmas.
Oh, that is lovely.
Yeah.
That is lovely. But honestly, losing a dog is one of the worst things. So really thinking of you today, Steve. And Merry Christmas to you. I'm sure you'll be remembering Max today. Yeah. Thank you for sending in that picture.
Lynn and John from Cyprus, my motherland.
Yes.
They say, Dear Ellie and Patrick, here is our tree with both of you on TV with Aidan. Fantastic, yes, lovely stuff. We don't have a dog, but I have had the little Scotty.
Well, I think you're struggling to read that one, aren't you?
Well, I'm just not sure what that means. Oh, in front of the tree.
Dog, maybe, in front of the tree.
Oh, OK, good. Well, fantastic. Well, say hello to Cyprus for me, and I certainly hope that you get something... get some nice food and maybe go to the beach a little bit later on.
Cyprus, that'd be nice, wouldn't it?
Cyprus is fantastic. Yeah.
Never been.
Oh.
Vicky's been in touch. She says, here's Santa Sam. Oh, look. It looks like a little Santa onesie, is that, would you say?
Yeah.
Pet Santa.
Can I just say, don't want to rain on your parade, Vicky. The dogs never look that happy to be wearing them, do they?
I don't know. I think it depends on the dog.
Have you ever seen a dog in it, a dog in it, where it looks just delighted that its owner's put it in a sock?
I do, actually. One of my friends got a pug who loves being dressed up. Jumps into it. We've got time for one more, we're being told now. Mandy, you're the chosen one. Merry Christmas from Bob. What a great choice.
Bob's up for it, isn't he?
Yeah, look, Bob's happy to be in the
like,
set.
where's dinner? Yes, good stuff. Thank you very much.
You're getting in touch on email as well. So this is from Barry and family in Weymouth. Dear Ellie and Patrick, whoever decided to put you two together this morning needs a giant pat on the back. Having channel hopped this morning and seen utter boringness and tedium, the GB News breakfast has been fantastic. And I must say at this point, that's mostly to do with the team behind here. Been working really hard overnight.
I don't know, I've done a lot.
You've done a lot as well, Patrick. You've been great. Great quality today.
Yeah, spot on.
They say, our family has been laughing all morning. You've been brilliant entertainment and wish you both a very Merry Christmas. Well, Barry and family, Merry Christmas to you. Thank you for getting in touch.
Merry
That's
Christmas.
really lovely. Emma says, huge fans, loving the show, Patrick and Ellie. Thank you, stars, loving and laughing.
Oh, there you go.
Very nice. Oh, and just one quick one, if we've got time. There's a really nice one here that I starred.
Oh, you did? This is where the prep happens. I just sit here, really.
Oh, this one's nice. I'm going to star it. This is from Gary. Merry Christmas, Ellie and Patrick. Thank you and your team for a year of news. Can you please give a shout-out to all of the carers who are working today? Very important,
Well,
isn't it?
happy Christmas, carers.
And those in the NHS who are working today. Nurses, doctors, A&E.
Yes.
Yep,
Shout out to everyone who's having to pull a marathon Christmas shift. Anyway, we are going live now. No, I didn't mean it like that. I guess I am working.
Including
I'm
you.
happy. Right, OK, we are going live now to Santa Track. Now, last time we looked at Santa, he'd moved on from Vegas and he was in Alaska.
Where is he now? Look, I've taught you how to read the map.
I don't know where it is.
Top left corner, come on.
I can't read it from there, can you?
It's in Hawaii.
What? Santa's gone from Vegas to Alaska to Hawaii?
Yeah.
What a legend.
He's having a good time, isn't
he?
If I were him, I wouldn't move now. I'd stay where I was. Shall I tell you what the time is in Hawaii?
I'd Vegas, to be fair.
Would you?
Yeah.
You wouldn't have left. 20 to midnight in Hawaii. Does that make sense?
Ooh,
All the kids are asleep in Hawaii.
Oh, there we
Right,
go.
should we talk Christmas dinners?
Let's talk Christmas dinners. Whether you go for a traditional turkey or a meat-free nut roast, there's plenty that goes into making a hearty, festive meal. And because GB News is the People's Channel, we took to the streets to hear from the general public about their Christmas treats.
What's the best Christmas food for you?
Probably potatoes.
How do you do your potatoes?
Mashed, definitely mashed.
Let me think. Mince pies. Christmas food isn't my favorite. Anything Christmassy, I don't kind of, like much. So, I don't know, the pudding?
Christmas pudding?
Yeah.
Probably. I don't like Christmas pudding, so I won't be having that.
Oh, they do these little sausages rolled in bacon. I think it's an English thing because we don't do it in Australia. So, yeah, probably that.
And what are you guys going to do on Christmas Day?
Well, just eat. Eat.
I'm with him. So are you.
Yeah, I am.
You've already tucked in.
I cannot wait for my Christmas dinner. I cannot wait for it, anyway.
Yes. But it's not always the healthiest. But who said that Christmas had to be calorific? To share some tips on a nutritious dinner so you're not fearing the scales in the new year, we're joined by nutritionist Monica Price. Good morning to you, Monica, and thank you for joining us on your Christmas morning. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas to you, Patrick. Merry Christmas to you, Ellie. Good morning.
Merry Christmas.
So, I mean, it's now the time to think about healthy choices. Isn't Christmas the day for kind of stuffing our faces and not worrying about it too much?
Absolutely. And even as a nutritionist, I would say to you, enjoy your day. As you say, it's Christmas Day and there's lots of food already. Most people have probably already started eating that Quality Street or other lovely chocolates. But the thing I like to do is just make people aware because there's an awful lot of calories in the lovely Christmas dinner. And the way that I look at it is just, have everything you want to have. But it's all about trying to get those portions down just a little bit, and really just to make you aware that there is so many calories. The average Christmas day, we will probably pile on between 7,000 calories. So usually between 6,500 to 7,000 calories just in one day. So I like to just say to you, look, go for it, have a beautiful day today and eat, but just really make sure that you're aware that what's going on. And your lovely roast potatoes are actually the ones that are causing the most calories. They're around 200 calories per potato.
No! Monica, you're ruining my life.
Yeah, you see, I've actually also recently discovered the wonders of goose fat. So I've been adding to the calories, yeah.
Oh, Monica, we're going to be very bad students. But I was just saying, as you before you came on air,
you can have it.
yeah, but that's the best bit of the dinner, unfortunately. I was going to ask you, how do you go about, you know, that horrible feeling after your Christmas dinner where you feel so sick because you've just stuffed your face so much, you feel really unwell. Is there any way to avoid that or try and gain back some control from completely stuffing your face?
Yeah, I think what you should try and do is drink water. We actually forget the importance of water. So if you can try and just, you know, maybe intermittently put one of those glasses of wine or beer or whatever it is you're drinking and have a glass of water, that really helps. And of course, you know, after the Christmas dinner, you know, try and go out for a walk. You know, walking is one of the best exercises. So even if you go out for, you know, 20, 30 minutes, that will really just help everything in your gut just get going and make sure that your kind of metabolism keeps going. Because unfortunately on Christmas Day we do tend to just sit around and eat, which is a wonderful thing because I love my food as well. But it's just knowing that, you know, if you're going to sit around all day and eat, you are going to feel very sluggish. And of course, for those of you, you know, who are on medication and certain things like that, and of course some of you may be on a diet of some kind, you know, all these things come into play. So I would say to you, just try if you can, drink some water, try and get out for a little bit of exercise, because knowing that, you know, you're going to eat all these calories, you've got to try and, you know, have a balance. I like to say have a balance and watch your portion sizes. That's the thing as well. If you pile everything on your plate, you know, this is not only going to make you feel really stuffed, but also it's going to pile on the pounds.
Oh, well, there you go. I will just be tearing my way through Christmas dinner, I think. I will. And also, as well, to be honest with you, I absolutely appreciate the sentiment, Monica, and it's fantastic. And you are 100% right, but you are talking here to a chronic overeater. I once got asked to leave an all-you-can-eat buffet.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
He's admitted that. But you see, Patrick, the way to do it is say to yourself, right, I'm just going to make some good choices today. So just have all that you want to eat, but just not quite so much of it. Should we try that one?
Right, I'll try. I'm not making any promises, Monica. Thank you very much.
Thank you for trying, Monica. Thank you very much. Merry Christmas.
Tomorrow, Patrick, so I'll be asking you.
Yeah.
Have a lovely Christmas. All right, take care.
Take care. Have a lovely day. Take care. Bye-bye.
Oh,
Merry Christmas.
There we go. Right.
I can't believe
filled a pint glass with chocolate fountain.
You just had a nutritionist on the screen and you told her you got kicked out of an all-you-can-eat buffet.
I'll do it again.
Oh, dear. Oh, amazing.
Yeah. OK, right, now... Aidan McGee has re-entered the fray, hasn't he? Look at him.
And this time, he's going to make us some Christmas cocktails. We've been looking forward to this all morning, haven't we? So, Aidan, take it away. What have you got in store for us?
Well, I want to thank Lewis in Locks Bottom Sainsbury's yesterday in Orpington because he managed to find me an apron at 4 o'clock yesterday when everyone else was looking for sage onion stuffing. So thanks, Lewis. You've been an absolute star. You're going far, my friend. OK, all about preparation now. We've got the menu for my Christmas night. That's just a few hours. I'm nervous about that, you know.
Remind us.
Shouldn't you be at home prepping?
No, I prepped last night. It's all about preparation. I've cooled the glasses. So in a minute, I'm going to ask you to open the champagne, the mini champagnes for me, because they'll be a little bit tricky. In fact, you can probably start doing that now if I can hand you those. So this is for the cocktails. So we're doing 2 cocktails here. We're doing the Berries Royale, which is my alcoholic version. I know you're driving later on, Patrick, up to Manchester, so I've done you the Virgin Magique, spelled M-A-G-E-E-K.
That was actually my nickname at school, but carry on.
Was it?
No.
Was it actually?
No. So I've got a menu that I don't know if you can see there, number on camera 8 there. My menu for this evening, it's the Christmas night menu. Finger food mainly, because we're eating mainly this afternoon, but there is a cocktail to go with that as well, and I'll come to those right now. As I say, preparation is key. Now, I've got the mix in here, all about preparation, did this last night. Could I invite somebody like you, Patrick, to maybe give it a shake for me?
I'll give it a shake.
Yeah, make sure. How are we doing with the champagne, first of all?
Good, I've done one.
Prosecco.
This is number 2
Fantastic.
here.
We're cooking with gas here.
So what am I doing? Just shaking?
Keep it on top, though. Keep this
on top.
Yeah, give it a good... No, give it a good... Come on, give it a good...
Don't know, I've never
done that. Tom Cruise.
Up here by your head.
Tom Cruise in cocktail.
OK.
Up and down.
OK. There you go.
Now,
right,
in the meantime, I'm going to explain.
More.
Yeah, a bit more. Yeah, just get it down. So what we have in there, we have Martini Fiero, 50 centilitres, enough to do 2 cocktails. We have the Slow Gin from Sipsmith. Other brands are available, and then we have the blackcurrant syrup, otherwise known as Ribena. Then we look. Again, other blackcurrant syrups are available. We have a fruit lollipop as well. This is a slice of lemon, if we can see that. A slice of lemon sandwiched by blackberries, aren't they? Yeah, I've got bad memories of blackberries. I fell off a crate of milk when I was picking blackberries when I was 4 years old and left a scar on my eye, which is still present to this day.
It's gripping stuff, Aidan. Gripping stuff.
OK, great. Pass me back the mix.
Are we done yet?
Yeah.
That's good. So we're done shaking. Excellent. Now let's pour.
Oh. There you
Let's
go.
have a go.
Oh, here we go. Oh, great colour, Aidan.
This is the first one.
Gosh.
I'm going to try and distribute it evenly, and then I'll get to Patrick's in a moment. Now, this should be nice and cool because it's been in the fridge for a period of time. I'm going to leave that for now. We're going to take the Prosecco. This is where the fizz, the Christmas, the consistency, the coolness comes into it. We see the bubbles emerging at the top there. This is looking beautiful, if I might say. I'd like to say it's my own.
I love that colour.
And then we go once
You're just a man of many talents.
OK, well, I don't know. As I said to Patrick yesterday, I'll leave you to say that. I'm not necessarily disagreeing with you. So pass that down to Ellie for me. In the meantime, I'm going to work on Patrick's.
It's a bit full, so watch out.
So I'm working on ginger beer.
Can I try?
Yeah, why not? Yeah, tuck in, but reserve your mark out of 10.
Yeah.
So just a squirt of ginger beer there as well. And then we're going to put in some... I wanted to keep a berry theme as well, so I'm going to carry on with the raspberry lemonade.
Can I just come back
Yeah, go on.
some feedback on that?
Why?
Straight away, stunning. You can really get the blackberry coming through that, and the crispiness of the Prosecco coming through.
You can get it, can you?
Just to remind everyone, it's not even 10 a.m. But there we go.
Look, it's Christmas Day. The rules have changed, haven't they?
Says the man eating.
So we've got...
Well, there you go.
I wanted to keep a berry theme going in, so here's the blackcurrant syrup, otherwise known as Ribena.
Yeah.
And this is for you, Patrick, because I know you're driving, obviously.
Yes.
A little squirt in there as well. So you've got the same colour as everybody else.
Can I ask a silly question? Does ginger beer have booze in it?
No, it doesn't.
No.
No,
Why
it doesn't.
Is it called beer?
There you go. That's for you. You haven't got the same level of bubbles because I think that ginger beer has been in the fridge for about 8 months.
Version, yeah?
Yeah, non-alcoholic version.
Well, cheers, everybody.
Cheers, everybody.
Well done. Happy
That completes the masterclass.
And thank you very much.
Can I just say as well, I know you guys, for different reasons, have had difficult years, but I've been very proud of being your colleague. I want to wish you a complete Merry Christmas because I'm proud to be your colleague. I'm proud to be your friends. Merry Christmas with a cocktail. All the best to you.
Thank you very much. Aidan, you and your property portfolio have been an absolute revelation.
Don't talk about that.
OK.
But look, he's a man of many talents. There's nothing you can't do, Aidan. The cocktails are incredible.
Wonderful stuff.
Thank you very, very much. And you're going to do that for all the family later, aren't you?
I am indeed, yeah. Although, again, I happen to repeat the Virgin Magique bit for the younger members of the family.
Yeah.
Right.
Everybody's catered for. Nobody gets excluded in the Aidan McGee Christmas.
Oh, good. Good, absolutely. Well, Aidan, thank you very, very much. I believe you and I are doing a show together later, are we?
We are, yeah, very shortly, yeah.
Now? Is it almost now?
Pretty much. I've just got to remove the apron.
At 10 a.m.
It's the next hour.
And do you know what you have in store? Can you give us a little preview?
No.
No?
No, we can't actually. We haven't. That just means we haven't thought of it yet.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see how we go.
More of the same, I think we can expect.
Yeah.
Festive fun.
Good.
Yeah.
Good stuff. Fun, yeah.
And lots of laughter, I'm sure. Thank you so much, Aidan. You're fabulous.
Cheers, Ellie. Nice to see you.
I'm going to share a few of your emails because you kept them coming in thick and fast. Kay says, hi, Ellie and Patrick. My favourite Christmas film is The Bishop's Wife. It's the best Christmas film ever. Merry Christmas to you all from Kay. Never heard of it, but I do trust you, Kay. I'm sure it's wonderful. John says, Merry Christmas to you two. Thank you for a great start to the day. Merry Christmas to you, John.
Merry Christmas.
The wife and I have spent £1,500 on 2 grandkids, 2 daughters, 2 sons-in-law and a mother-in-law. We don't think we've done too badly.
I think that's all right, yeah, actually. I thought you were going to stop... I mean, it's a lot of money, obviously, but...
that's a lot.
But that's because you love them. Well, there's a lot of people, though, he spent quite a
no,
decent amount
that's
of money
true,
on.
that's true.
I'd say well done. Yes, we can finish with some pictures.
Yes, he's happy.
Fantastic. OK, so we asked for you to send in your Christmas trees and pets.
Yvonne says...
that's George Clooney, so thank you.
Is that George Clooney? Oh, yeah, so it is.
It's a version of George Clooney.
Yeah, Yvonne says, I'm loving the programme. Here's my Christmas decoration.
Oh, there you go. Ian's been on. Ian says, good morning, Ellie and Patrick. Merry Christmas. Here are my seasonal vegetables. Best wishes. The best wishes from County Durham, seasonal veg. Love it.
I just love our viewers, don't you think? It's just the best. Yeah, your seasonal vegetables are wonderful. Thank you so much to you, Ian.
And what else have we got? What else? Justin just keeps it simple. Justin, I like you. He says, happy Christmas to all at GB News. And that is a wonderful shot of what appears to be Justin's dining room and Christmas tree. Well, thank you very much, everybody, for, well, putting up with us, really, this morning.
And the chaos. But
yes.
That's what Christmas is all about, isn't it? Family and chaos. And you have been the GB News family today. You've kept us entertained. You've kept in contact with us and you've given us some great content. Thank you so much. You've got another show now.
Apparently so, yes, absolutely. Well, look, thank you very much, everybody. I just wish you a very, very happy Christmas. I will be seeing you again very shortly with Aidan McGee. Lots of love, everyone.
Yeah, Merry Christmas, and thanks for joining us.
You can all see, ladies and gentlemen, that is Challenge Christie's yet again just knocked out of the park. You really are going to have to start challenging me at some point, ladies and gentlemen. It's getting a bit too easy, this, frankly. But look, the whole time I've been here at this wonderful pottery workshop, there's been something on my mind.
Head to today's weather, and the UK is looking mild but windy with sunny spells and showery rain, more persistent in the southeast. Let's take a look at the details. Taking a closer look and starting off in the southwest, here we can expect frequent blustery showers, especially across Cornwall, though some sunny spells in between and highs around 12 Celsius. Meanwhile, a spell of persistent rain is set to push across southeastern England as we head towards lunchtime, turning heaviest around Kent and Sussex. Heading back to the west and across Wales, we can also expect a scattering of showers. Eastern parts have the greatest chance of staying dry. A drier picture for the West Midlands. A few showers will edge in during the afternoon, but for many it'll be dry with bright and sunny spells. Blustery but relatively mild. Looking across northeast England, and here there'll be something of a mixed bag. Around Yorkshire and Lincolnshire it'll be mostly dry with sunny spells, although showers will likely form further north. Also some showery rain for southern Scotland this lunchtime. Drier for a time further north, but cold air will feed in, bringing sleet and snow showers later in the day. Meanwhile, across Northern Ireland, it will turn pretty wet as we head through the afternoon as a band of shower rain pushes southeastwards with some heavier bursts and blustery winds. The changeable pattern continues through the end of the day with showery rain for many and snow showers for Scotland. And that is how the weather is shaping up for your Christmas day.
I'm Mark Dolan. Join me at 11 on GB News for Headliners, in which I'll be joined by two of the UK's top comedians discussing tomorrow's papers. If it's an important story, we'll cover it, but we'll have some fun along the way. Headliners, the late night paper review that won't send you to sleep like the others will. 7 nights a week at 11 p.m. on GB News.
Hello, I'm Michelle Dewberry, and you can join me every weekday 6 till 7 on Jubes and Kerr. Me and my panel will get stuck right into the day's events, and I can tell you, in fact, I can warn you, expect some robust debates, some strong opinions and perspectives from both sides of the fence. It's about you at home as well. I love to read out all of your comments, or at least as many as I can. So join me, Michelle Dewberry, Monday to Friday, 6 till 7 on Jubes and Kerr.
I'm Mark White. As GB News Home and Security Editor, I cover those key issues that are so important to you. Our authorities, our communities doing all they can to combat violent crime. With the public services under unbearable strain, why are we still failing to control our borders? Defence, the first priority of any government, has been continually hollowed out. Can we trust our politicians to protect the armed forces? Join me, Mark White, on GB News.
We are GB News, the People's Channel.
And right across the United Kingdom.
You can find us on Sky Channel 512,
Virgin Media Channel 604,
Freesat Channel 216,
Freeview Channel 236,
and YouView Channel 236.
You can also take us with you on DAB+ radio
with the GB News app.